wall. Ashe Zyra, incredibly potent lane. I think we'll definitely see more of it throughout the day.
We saw a bunch of it yesterday, yeah, but not every single team has maybe caught up yet. That seems to be the trend currently. Victor was picked up for the mid lane, so we will actually see that Victor-Lissandra matchup, and Janna was brought into the bot lane, a very oppressive lane with Caitlyn.
Yeah, very defensive teamfight oriented comp here though, so they want to group later on in Siege, because Victor doesn't want to play on a side lane, Caitlyn doesn't play on a side lane, so you're looking at least at 4-1. Obviously the top laner will decide that. But then they don't have any hard engage, so it's all going to be purely poke and zone from traps and gravity field. So if Roccat fall behind, they have a very hard time getting back into the game. However, if they can take control of the map, they can just inch forward on these objectives, on these turrets, and try and get a massive gold lead. They will likely need like a Baron to close out though, because Vitality is going to be very slippery.
Vitality, interesting last two pickups though. Ashe comes out for the bottom lane, so we'll be laning with that Karma, because of course we have the Lissandra in mid lane, and then Graves into the jungle. Seen a fall off on Graves, but is occasionally still picked.
So Ashe Karma has a similar lane pattern to Ashe Zyra. It's just a little gated towards accelerating your teammates a little more rather than disengaging. Karma has very little disengage, but can aid in the engage, and that seems to what Vitality want to do. Overwhelm, flank with Lissandra, flank with the Gragas, body slam flash in and engage. Roccat, they'll be on the receiving end of disengage, and they'll need to reset with Janna and hopefully kite with some traps. Yeah. Then have Echo just dive backline, take out this Ashe.
And that final pickup was Echo, as you just mentioned, going to the top lane here for Parang. And we have the full compositions now locked in. So yeah, Mighty Bear on this Graves as well. He's going to have to wait for his lanes to facilitate him rather than the other way around. But definitely impressed with his performances yesterday compared to week 1, of course. I think the jury is still out, though. Yeah,
they'll need to threaten the dive from the side of mid lane if they ever want to get access to tier 1 mid. If not, they'll definitely be looking on sideline turrets. Cool breaking point could be maybe Mikhail's on Raze, because there's already cleanse on Betsy, who can definitely get out of the CC layering then. But definitely a very distinct, or a very different, big difference in compositions rather. Both cater towards big fights, so we could see an explosive game.
We could see a less action-packed early game as the teams start to scale up, and it also depends on first couple spawns of dragons and if there's anything really to fight over for these two teams. But we can now see the full lineups, all the players, all of the pickups, and Rhea coming into this lineup as well. Very aggressive yesterday, has picked up the Ashe this time, so will be part of the engage for Vitality, so we'll be playing a little bit different in terms of play pattern. Do not be thrown off, there is no fiddlesticks in this game, nor Nasus, unfortunately.
That was our test game.
Yeah, that
earlier today.
It was a fantastic bot action.
Yeah, Fiddlestick bot really took the crown there.
He did. He was going ham, man, but we're about to get into game with Vitality and Roccat taking to the first game of the day here in this studio. We'll see who will be able to take this one and get 1 point over the other. Reminder, both of these two teams, 3 ties each. So we'll see if the prophecy rings true, and we'll have another tie today. But both of these two teams really looking for those 3 points, because over the last games they've only accumulated as much of those 3 points. So they've been doubling up right now.
Yeah, very similar bot lanes too. Slightly poke-oriented, high-range AD carry with a shielding support.
Indeed. So we see this fan out coming currently from both teams. I'm not going to see any lane swap shenanigans just yet. Just placing down towards down the river. So trench warfare, nothing really happening. Taking a look at the starting items, nothing really out of the ordinary either. Both the range supports, of course, going for spell thieves. Top laners both going for that corrupting potion. Mid lane, as per usual, lots of biscuits, lots of refillable potions.
Lots of biscuits.
Many biscuits.
Love me some biscuits.
Yeah. Very useful in lane, but Roccat now sending their bot lane to top lane, so we are going to see a lane swap coming in, initiated by Roccat.
I wonder if they feel weaker in the matchup. The poke from Ashe and Karma is a little annoying to deal with, and Caitlyn's poke is much so easier sidestepped. So maybe that's why Rocket's just going to say, you know what, we'll head up in the top lane, weather the storm.
Potentially. In this game, we can see some of the keystones coming up. Betsy picking up Storm Raider's Surge. More and more mid lanes picking up that nowadays. Trying to get in range, land their combo.
So I'm not a big fan of Rhea invading with the support here. Like, look at what he's done now. He's walked off, done a volley.
Yeah, which didn't even hit anyone. Kasing's going to continue here. We'll actually pick up the Wolf, so 16 gold and a bit of experience.
Luckily, he doesn't lose creep in lane, and he can still influence the wave however he wants.
Yeah.
Gets all CS, but 1. He went for the greedy, let's say AoE all 3 keeps at once, and missed 1. So, Rhea, down 1 CS already.
Yeah. a big body blow, I'm sure, to Vitality.
Yeah.
Mid lane, Nuke Duck and Betsy going toe-to-toe. I mean, it's Lissandra Victor, so there's going to be a lot of wave clearing going on.
Yeah, it's all about pushing. Lissandra should be able to push in Victor early, because Laser is just too mana intensive to spam on creeps. The good thing about Lissandra is that she, once she gets a little bit of mana back once in a while, or free spell rather, and she can kind of harass while pushing. I guess so can Victor, but it's a lot easier to angle if you're Lissandra, in my opinion.
Exactly. Slightly faster projectile as well. Top lane, Roccat is going to be sitting in this tower, taking away the minions. Nothing really to write home about in the first phase of this lane swap.
Nope, combination of top jungle, or top support, AD carry, Waller, all have a wealth of AoE on both sides, so we have a pretty accelerated lane swap.
Indeed. And they will continue their push.
Lost the counter.
Yep. Yep, that hurts to see. Mid lane, Bessie's going to get it though. He's good to go. Airwax, of course, taking the buff on his strong side. You don't want to be invading elsewhere. Mighty Bear's going to do the same. And also took away the crab. First dragon of the game is going to be Ocean, so we may see some contest over that.
You think?
Maybe.
Maybe, yeah. If Ocean Drake is kind of the one where you like, I guess we're in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Let's stop here.
I mean, still higher priority than Cloud Dragon, where it's like we could be in the neighborhood, but we're going to cruise on by. Because, yeah, that's
not that great. Yeah, definitely both teams here doing the standard bounce. Yesterday we saw Fnatic go for a push in the position where Perang is right now. These teams don't want to go for that play pattern. So full-on standard lane swap. We've explained it all before, so we don't really need to go into in-depth. The only variable is maybe some cheeky ganks mid. But because Betsy is pushed in as Victor and Lissandra always has access to the claw, it is unlikely that both these supports roam. As well as the fact that once we keep shifting towards these ranged supports that have good utility and sustaining lane, they're actually very poor roamers. That's why very often we see them holding their AD carry's hand, so to say, in the laning phase. Whereas a Thresher or Braum would maybe peel off now, go for a cheeky roam mid. There's not much a Karma can do than show up and it's like, aha, surprise! I will now shield my mid laner.
Yep, there's not a lot going on there, and the junglers will keep on jungling, the laners will keep on laning. Of course, we have Vitality going in the top side, trying to push in this tower, so not a lot really happening in this one. I just want to see what happens when we get to mid-game, though, because that's really when we'll start seeing teams open up into more skirmishes, more fights. Maybe start fighting over those dragons, objectives.
We're in phase 2 of the lane swap right now. They take a tower, they swap, and they go to different sides, so I was in the office this week, Pulse. How was your week?
It was quite good. We were talking about the possibility of certain picks coming into the meta. Talking about specifically Illaoi. Yeah, Fisher called me over and was just like, Pulse, explain Illaoi. I was like, my time has come.
It's like, I was born for this moment.
And I wasn't even on the game. But also lost, so.
Yeah.
Hopefully at some point we'll see another Illaoi. And we do have Unicorns of Love coming up later today on this stream. So
very well.
Stay tuned for that one. We'll
against a chaotic game, they play Giants.
Yeah.
So against a team like that, it may actually work.
That's true. I mean, it's still 1v1 kill to Maokai. Then died 3 times, but got that 1v1 kill. So one of the many new picks that we're seeing coming out recently.
All right. We see Mighty Bear here joining with Vitality as we go back to the lane swap to kind of even out the tempo, as we call it. Roccat's doing a dragon here. If Vitality's aware of this or they read this correctly, they could have actually pushed into the next tower and maybe gotten a teleport advantage. Instead, they're just really choosing to get that priest from Tabla shard. Would have actually liked to see them push. It is expected if it's a slightly favorable dragon for teams to take that up. You could use that time to maybe push in an extra wave into the next tower, chip away at it, leave a deeper ward somewhere. But that's nitty gritty. Right now, because Roccat executed the lane swap slightly quicker, they pick up a Drake. Comes at a slight cost of their top laner.
It is nice though for the early game because it's a combat with champions, and because you're not doing much of that, especially in this game. But you are hitting champions and you are hitting monsters, and those don't deactivate your buff, so we'll be gaining a lot from that one.
Guys, you got Ocean Drake, let's stall for late game.
Yeah, we've got it. That's our game plan.
If only that existed in Season 2, we have some more excuses.
Yeah, unfortunately not. Very recent addition. Maybe 4 years too late. But
yeah, there we saw the good old regeneration of the pink wards. Very deceptive if you're not used to that change. Makes you think you suddenly have amnesia. Because you're like, I swear I hit this. Did they replace it?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
You place another one for that, really? But yeah, it's annoying because if you get it down to 1 and then come back later, you have to do the whole job again. Better though for the likes of Graves and Jin. With,
very happy.
With it being 4 now, Jin had the worst time with pink wards. Now only 4 shots. Airwax are going to go ahead and invade alongside Raze.
Yeah, so supports kind of working together with an ally, whether it's the AD carry or the jungler right now. Janna on her lonesome can't really achieve much, nor can Karma. Karma can escape ganks a tiny bit better, because she at least has a movement speed steroid. But yeah, they need to be very wary when they invade. That's why you all see them pair up with jungle or AD carry. But it does make for a lot more of a passive game, especially in lane swaps. The intricacies and strengths of some of these ranged supports with AD carries really come to fruition in laning phase, when they can whittle somebody down, out-sustain them, potentially get them a dive. But if they're not fighting anybody, their strengths are completely negated, and the lane swap kind of neutralizes a lot of their effect.
So with these two supports in particular, Karma and Janna, who do you think does better as they transition into team fights mid-game? Is it comp-based or...?
I think you need to look at... It's hard to gauge what a Karma really does for a team, because it's almost invisible to see your impact, because a lot of it goes down to Mantra E. You literally just cast a shield on your entire team and speed them up. That is now your role as Karma.
It's kind of the Ghetto Civ ult, but still good. Sometimes we even see both, and then you run super fast, but...
Ghetto? Yeah. Discount Civ ult.
Discount Civ ult.
I used to call it Ghetto.
My term.
I used to call it Ghetto Civ ult.
Yeah, I'm used to that term from my RTS days. Wax is going to come out here and just farm away these crabs.
He's looking for marks. Let's see where he's at right now.
One. He's on 2 currently, I believe.
Yeah, 2 marks currently. Yeah. Obviously, Kindred got changed a little bit. As the game progresses, the marks get put in different locations. They start very easy with some of the easier camps in the jungle, and they end up, I think, around 7 marks, 9 marks. You can only get them from stuff like Dragon or Baron later on, if not the Rift Herald. So the game puts a natural cap on your snowballing.
Indeed, that is a true statement, Crapo. First big item has been picked up by Nuketox. It's going to be Rod of Ages. 9 minutes into the game, because all the mid laners have been doing is farming, so they have a lot more gold.
Oh, the straight Rod of Ages, no boots here.
Yep. Even went for the refillable potion. Got the siege happening in bot lane, got the small trap setup and the zoning coming in from the Echo of Parallel Convergence. Rare gets knocked up, and Sing's getting chased down by Airwax. With this red buff doing a lot of damage, and is going to have to flash away. Aggressive flash by Airwax. May have gone a little too deep. Rare will get a bit of punishment down onto him as he backs into the top side.
And
Cabashard's coming in. Flash E, first blood over to Cabashard and Vitality onto Roccat, I should say. Nuketox coming in to this fight as well. Parang charging up the Parallel Convergence, going to slow down Gragas. And he's still coming in. Big cast right onto Parang. He's going to have to flash away. Phase dive over the wall. Meanwhile, Victor's coming in for moral support more than anything.
So yeah, this fight started off by Roccat putting the emphasis on a 4-man siege in the bot lane. Cabashard was freezing the top lane, so Roccat was forced to make a move. But instead of prioritizing the objective, which was the tower, which they could have easily gotten away for, Airwax made a really bold dive, almost over-aggressive here, and then Nuketox keeping in the backline. Watch this. At this point, Airwax can simply peel off towards the tower, and they have a favorable objective trade right now. But look at the double TT coming down instantly here. Lissandra has been in this fight, kind of shutting off the backline for absolute ages here. Surprised that Nuketox doesn't take more damage than just this. He gets pretty low. And managed to get out of the fight. At this point, he still has Tomb available at all times. And then obviously the re-engage comes in from Vitality, so I think Roccat made a decent move, understandable. They couldn't move to the top side of the map to break the freeze on Cabashard, so they just went for the objective. But that mistake was entirely Airwax and Airwax alone.
Airwax just going a little deep there. Roccat kind of getting itchy to make something happen, but as soon as he flashed under that tower, it was at that moment Airwax knew he had screwed up.
Yeah, it was at that exact moment. The realization synced in. Like, perhaps it was a mistake to flash for the support after he used flash already. Because even if he gets a kill, I mean, it's just wasting so much time.
Exactly. Well, level 7 now. Kasing's still level 5. Mid lane, pushing in here. Got the blue buff.
And look at the timing as well here. If they can avoid this little gank here,
Round 2.
Will be in a good spot. Okay, he survives that. Look at the timing. Pushing the top lane, which means jungler and top laner can path down towards the dragons, what I would say, but they're actually going for a very early herald here. They're not tracking that the next dragon is an infernal.
In just 12 seconds from now, and herald is going to be traded, given to either Cabashard or Mighty Bear.
I must be Cabashard at this point.
Yeah, more solo, and obviously it makes sense for it to be Cabashard sitting in that side lane.
Yeah, Vitality's actually I think Roccat wasn't aware. The second they hear this Rift Herald go down, they will instantly start Dragon. So you saw them posturing, right? That's because they expected Vitality to be in base and running out of base right now. They were scared of the enemy jungler and top laner to randomly show up. The second they hear the shriek of the Rift Herald, they will instantly go for Infernal. So that is likely a mistake from Vitality. They could have pathed down, secured the area, worked with a nice Ash Arrow to set up a pick, while Parang was trying to desperately catch up in farm in the top lane. Instead, they yield Infernal and they traded for a Herald. Not worth.
Really interesting. There's honestly not been a lot of priority on Herald for anyone. You take it if it's there, but we've seen so many teams take it like 19 minutes and then for it to despawn.
Yeah, there is a reason why they take it late though, because the buff, obviously, percent buffs carry more weight as you get more stats. So relatively speaking, the later you take it, the better it gets.
Sure.
That's why if you have control of the map, taking a Herald at like 18 minutes allows the buff to last as long as you want, up until the phase where you're actually really going to be dueling and split pushing on the side lanes. So that's partly a reason why it gets taken later.
Because if you take it early, then 20 minutes goes by and, well...
Time flies.
Time flies like an arrow.
Fruit flies
like a banana. Damn, there's no Zillion in this game, otherwise that would have been perfect. Oh well. I'm glad you know the quotes though. Ray's going to carry on pushing the bot lane. How are we doing in terms of farm? Steelback slightly ahead. Top lane Coward Shard slightly ahead to make up for that. Actually significantly ahead, about 700 gold on that one.
Yeah, he had a larger gap at one point because this wave is now stacking up. So Parang did catch up. So that was also a downside of the Herald play. They allowed Parang to farm for free, so they added that into the Canada trade. So definitely a favorable trade for Roccat. Enough dwelling on the past though. In these passive games, it's where we start judging mid laners for dipping under 10 CS a minute.
Yep. So what are we on currently? Just past the leap mark on the timer. And Nukduk is going to even up, so 1 CS advantage to Betsy. GG.
Is this Froggen's wet dream? Yeah. What do you mean? Lane swap into match, into swap, into swap? Alright. Far mid lane, uncontested.
Let me break some records.
Yeah. 600 CS, baby. Here we go.
Let's go. Everyone just keep doing what you're doing. Elwax is going to invade here, clear out some vision. We've seen that a lot from the junglers, also paired up with their supports, but the vision control has not accumulated into anything.
Yeah, it's also with compositions like this. We may see a little bit of action here. Kindred went over the wall. Teleport on Parang too. This may break out in a bit of a scuffle.
Rhea took out Steelback. We'll have to investigate the crime scene later, Crepo, as Airwax is still on his way out. Raze is getting chunked down by Nukdog. He's going to have to flash away before Nukdog also turns tail and runs back to his team, or to find Airwax, who happens to be here. Kassim will get the speed up. Mighty Bear coming in from the top side, looking for end of the line. Flash away from Airwax. He's still trying to kite off, but I don't think he's going to be so lucky. Kassim with a flash and a kill.
Yeah, Kassim surprises him before he can even put his ulti down, with that projectile coming from pretty much darkness, you know, out of the smoke screen. Gets the kill though, I'm not sure if worth. Let's watch this again. So, Mighty Bear kind of hit in the brush, and whilst Roccat was trying to attempt a pincer, they didn't have any CC to make it work, so they really needed to hurt the cattle there. Nukdog goes in. Really good exhaust here by Raze too at the very end, I think, saving his life. But yeah, this is Roccat again, attempting a move without checking all the boxes first, you know, always make sure that every individual member that is flanking can't get turned on, because then everything falls smithereens pretty much. And this composition as well from Roccat, this is how you get a name to be a team that only plays late game very well, because, I mean, what are you going to do in an early game lane swap scenario? Super long lanes, 0 CC, no offensive prowess. You got some objectives, but they got traded for enough farm that Vitality is still strong, and all the proactivity is on the side of Vitality. E-Flash Gragas, you know, Lissandra flanking, Ash Arrow, speed up from Karma. None of these tools, none of these things exist on the side of Roccat.
Well, we need Vitality to cultivate that into something more as we get into later on into this game and try and close this one out before Roccat does get the chance to get to the late game and really play where they're strong. Yeah.
Nukdog slightly overextended though. He should probably be dead here.
Yeah, he's getting chased down by Airwax, and he has enough mobility in this long lanes just to straight up kill him. Flash away by Nukdog, but he's still getting chased down. There's Ace in the hole. Will be enough. Not quite. Airwax, he's so close. I think it will require 2 auto attacks, and there's the ultimate from Nukdog burns. Raze is going to also try and back him up, but it was enough healing. Airwax is dropping low as well. This time he escapes with his life, but that will result in a mid push coming in from Vitality.
I mean, they could have taken him down too if they just used the ulti creatively there, so not on the same page whatsoever. Nukdog with a fantastic, I guess, right click away, escape, and Vitality capitalized on the other side of the map. 3-0 up now, leading in objectives as well. you can see Roccat, they're grasping at these opportunities, but they can't quite catch them in the palm of their hand because they're really lacking the necessary element, which is the crowd control effects.
And the next dragon will be Cloud coming in from the map. I was going to say from the team, but that's not how it works. If Roccat
the map gives, the team
map
takes.
Yeah, exactly. They will pick that one up, hopefully, one of them. But Roccat don't really want to be eldering that one up because not the greatest buffs out of the others. But the other two that spawned, very good. We're not going to see any mountain dragons this game, though. Yeah, that's for certain.
4 is a crowd.
4 is a crowd, and 3 is just enough, so you get those stacks coming in here.
3 is the right company.
It is.
I like what Vitality are doing here as well. It does make sense. They have double TP. They're playing one of each on a side lane because not only is it much safer for Ray at the farm, both these champions do incredibly well if they can flank and engage a fight later on. Lasana TP from one side, Gragas from the other. We've seen it before, how useful it can be. It also forces the Victor quite the annoying position. Get back to that later though, because they're fighting.
Yeah, Betsy is trying to get back to lane. Here comes the TP out from Cabashot in from base. Got a collapse coming in from Nuduk as well. He does have the ultimate. Airwax will pop down his own ultimate. Knocked out of the circle, back in. But he's not going to survive. Nuked will finish him off easy.
Yeah, and unless Roccat is grouped, they have a good disengage from the Janna ultimate. There is nothing they can do against these fights, because every time they see one TP come out, and they don't even see where Nukta comes from, suddenly you see an Ice Claw on the screen, and it's too little, too late. Airwax even gets his ulti down, but the only thing it does rather is buy him time. And at this point, Roccat need more than just time.
Yeah, they need a lot more than that. More than seconds, more than minutes. But let's take a look. And
let's also look at how it's Roccat initiating this play. Their teleport goes beyond, behind their offensive line. Betsy has to flash out. Airwax gets singled out. I mean, this is a team that's not on the same page. They're desperately going for plays with limited vision. We get the indicator that next dragon is going to be an Infernal Drake. But again, Roccat, they see a hero, it's like, okay, I guess I'll start trading. Suddenly 2 teleports come down. It's almost as if you're playing solo queue versus dynamic. It's like, these guys.
They're everywhere.
They're them, using their summoner spells optimally.
Yeah, playing very well as a unit currently, but 19 minutes into this game, 4 kill advantage. That's resulted in a 4,000 gold lead, plus that extra tower you can see over to Vitality. Roccat still, of course, trying to gun for that late game with the Caitlyn, with the Victor. And Echo actually building a little bit more AP this time, going for the Rod of Ages versus just straight up full tank.
Yep.
So going to get that one in here. And on the opposite side, Nukduk in a very good place, 2 item power spike.
Yeah, now we can track what Vitality's strategy is, largely from just following Kasing, honestly. See where he puts his vision. Limited access to wards. Half sights on left, 2 stacks. 1 stack by now. So we're going to see if he actually goes for the approach where you place a couple of wards, base again, and then move up your ward lines, or if he's too afraid to kind of drop there. We see a familiar sight here. Roccat tries to pick off.
I have seen this exact scenario before. Betsy's going to chase him down, Chaos Storm, auto attack, and Airwax is going to kill him.
And that plays into what we were talking about just now, because Kasing is focusing his vision on the top side. It is incredibly hard for Nukduk to overextend and push on the bottom side. If he wants to take that approach, that pattern of play, he needs to make sure that Vitality can get something on the other side of the map. Right now, all they're getting is some vision. That's not worth a death. That's not worth yielding the pressure in the bot lane. So in essence, that is a macro mistake of Vitality, but it also shows you how hard it is to play 1-3-1 efficiently right now in this current meta with so few wards.
Exactly. Well, Dragon is going to be Infernal next, but the Baron has spawned. Seeing a lot more early Barons. Generally not exactly at 20 minutes, but within the 20 to 30 minute mark, we're seeing more Barons picked up. Could be the result of getting those Mountain Dragons as well, but also how the game state has kind of changed over the current couple patches. Either way, mid lane, Vitality is going to group up as 3, carry on pushing, look for another objective to go for.
I mean, and Rocket's kind of... They're stunting their long-term growth by opting in for kind of short-term measures with the 4 boot trinkets. Yeah, it helps you avoid picks, but it's vision that doesn't last. It gets cleared out very easily. So they really, using band-aids to patch up bullet holes at this point.
They are, but not really sure it's going to fill up that blank space, but getting later into this game, Roccat are still alive. And that's what they want to do when they get to the 30-40 minute mark. Yeah,
Vitality made a kind of a change of their own. They realized that their weakest and most easily exposed member will be on the bottom side, so that's why they're swapping Cabochard there. He's tankier. It'll take a lot longer for Airwax and Betsy, for example, to chase him down. He will then be matched by Parang. And it gives you a lot easier access for Nuketook to kind of invade the enemy jungle, be guarded by Kasing, and also be helped a little bit with vision. Obviously that means you're not lacking a tank if you truly want to go for a Panic Baron here. Not really a Panic Baron, just a Sneaky Baron rather. But it is the best distribution. Later in the game, you definitely want to move your tank to the bottom side of the map. Get him in for those flank TP wards as well.
And Cabochard also has that Glimpse of the Void, so we'll be dealing a little bit extra damage, 5% damage reduction against Parang. And Nuketook heading to the top side now. We'll probably be met by Betsy, who's going to also clear out the wave. And we'll see a rematch from mid lane, who can clear more efficiently. Currently Betsy, he's 250 farm at the 22-minute mark.
Yeah, Betsy trying his hardest to stay relevant in these teamfights later on by just farming. And poor Raze's gameplay pattern has been reduced to place wards, base, place more wards. Rocket's done a great job though. Look at the 3 pink wards in their jungle. I think it's 3. There should be 1 hiding under Victor's portrait. Yep, that's still there. 3 pink wards right now in their jungle, which means they actually have information and security about what's going on over there, which means they can at least face check their jungle up until that point and then have relatively easy wards into the Baron. So if Vitality want to get access to this Baron, perhaps launch a bait, not only do they need to deplete all these blue trinkets, they need to get rid of the trinkets in the enemy jungle. The pink wards rather.
And Airwax has looking for the ward. Something popped his razor sharp and is like trying to figure out where it was. Trying to take away that one, but didn't get the one in the bush, just to the size of him. But lots of vision being traded back and forth right now.
Yeah, and it's very hard to make picks like this if you're playing against a good team. That's why sometimes...
Oh, there's a ward at the back of the pit.
Yeah, probably not spotted. Yeah, it's not spotted.
Just out of range, yeah.
Yeah.
But they saw Airwax over the ward that they had placed, so they immediately decided to back up. So they know something is in that pit for them to back away, and then Roccat will be fine with that.
Yeah, I wonder if that's range influence or if that's one of those little pesky little wards that's stuck in the wall.
Yeah, not entirely sure, but has been no pause either way. Vitality are going to back in to their jungle. Steelback is currently sitting on those 2 items, and so is Rhea actually as well with the Essence Reaver. So hasn't gone for the Infinity Edge yet, actually picked up the Hurricane on top of that. Essence Reaver is very good as a early item for Ashe, of course, the way her crit works. She gets a lot of mana back on pretty much every auto attack from the Essence Reaver, and then also the Hurricane has those fancy particles where it looks like you're shooting a million different arrows out, so pretty cool. Coming in to the bottom side of this river, Airwax still roaming around. The Infernal Dragon is live, so teams trying to posture around that one, but vision from both teams.
Alright, right now the rotation mid possible Vitality. If Roccat step in, they could eat an arrow here, and that zone alone is going to make them take the long route, and then Vitality can go back to the Dragon here. So instead of trying to contest the area, they contest it by means of pressure. You say, you know what, it'll take you too long to do this Dragon, we'll just go mid. The opposing team will then have to say, you know, do we sacrifice mid, potentially second tower rotation top? Nope, we'll yield the area, and now Vitality can freely walk in. So without fighting, a more political way of dealing with things here.
Fighting without fighting.
Yeah.
Vitality onto this Infernal Dragon. Might be taking a bit of punishment though from it, as they haven't fully committed.
Yeah, now they can't do the same.
Step up. Roccat are just all over this one. It's going to be smited away over to Roccat, but immediately collateral damage will take down Raze. Steelback has been caught out by the arrow. Followed with the volley. He's still slowed down, but 90 caliber net will get him to relative safety. 1 kill over to Raze.
And Vitality, they were considering to do the same concept there, but obviously they needed to reset the Dragon entirely. Roccat did a great job of picking it up once it was in 2000 health. They traded their support for the uptime on a potential Kindred ultimate. That's debatable. Airwax did not want to save Raze there. But Vitality looking to sneak in the cheeky Baron.
Oh, Mighty Bear just straight up starting it.
And that ward has now expired, so Roccat have no knowledge of how low the Baron is. Obviously, they know it's being started. They're checking the Facebook rushes right now. And right now they are aware that it was on 5,000 health moments ago. Well,
it was down to 25% HP now with Airwax trying to get involved. Great cast coming in from Cabochard. Will completely deny the steal. Now they'll turn their attention to Steelback. Being dragged in by the gravity field. Parang will jump in. Chrono Break comes out. Betsy looking for the follow-up. So much damage out from the Chaos Storm. But they all managed to back away coming in from Vitality. Great defiance coming out from Karma. Nuketook outplay 1-for-1 kill in the backside.
Yeah, sloppy finish on Nuketook there. He was going to get trapped here. Raze could have channeled his tornado way longer. He went for the cheeky instanado after Zonias and missed the timing. If he was aware that the trap was being placed, Obviously, Nukeduck would have died without being able to go for the flash W2 combo, so that was a mistake on the side of Roccat. But the biggest mistake that we should focus on is the fact that Vitality engaged that fight after securing Baron. That was very bold, almost hubris, because Cabochard had just used his ulti defensively. He's now running for his life.
He's still running. He's done a big loop-de-loop of Summoner's Rift, and Echo's probably feeling a little bit annoyed that he's being outrun by someone 4 times his size, but who eventually managed to take him down, Parang with the kill.
It's all in the cows.
It is, apparently, yeah. Maybe he's wearing a bodysuit, I have no idea, but either way, that man is fast. Rhea getting chased down by the bullet, can't outrun that one.
Yeah, Vitality did a great job going for that Baron. Instantaneous call, but then they engage right after. Watch this again. Keep your eyes on Cabochard. How he sees the approaching airwax, boom, he shall not pass. But then right here, they can disengage, they greed to go in. E-Flash is a nice combo if they have follow-up. Nukeduck does a great job buying time because Betsy is almost 1v4ing the front side. And look at this right now, he goes on a trap, there's another trap placed, and raise that tornado right there. If you channel that just a fraction of a second longer, you can go for trap into nado knock-up, easiest one-shot of your life. Instead, his AD carry drops. It's in the details,
yeah,
but it's definitely important.
Those small details and those small mistakes and advantages all add up in the long run, but either way, Vitality did manage to pick up the Baron, still have it on a couple members, 3 members down the mid lane. Unfortunately, don't have it on Cabochard, of course, because he got chased down and died, so won't have it on the side lane, but they'll have it in the mid lane as they're pushing in. Kasinga's currently on a ward and is trying to take away the pink ward. Airwax is going to get a quick punish, while Raze is able to take away the ward there. Kasinga's still trying to get in range to finish it off, but is regenerating mid lane Mighty Bear and to take down the tower.
Tower falls. Vitality looking to take some more objectives with this Baron buff to increase their gold lead. Rhea always looking for some arrows too, but we're approaching kind of the point where Roccat does get stronger. Not only do their individual player strengths lie in team fighting, their composition is also catered around it. Mikhail's will soon be built up on Raze as well. We touched on it briefly in Champs League, but that's going to be another thing to remove some of these CCs, allowing Roccat to peel back a lot more efficiently.
Interesting to see when that Mikhail's gets picked up. Very courteous of you saying we, but it was definitely your point you made, Crepo. But we'll see what happens when we start hitting those breakpoints. Over to Steelback, picked up the Quicksilver Sash as well, so we'll be able to get out of Nukeduck's ult. Rhea's ult will not be able to get out of Cabochard's ult, but hopefully he can either flash that or get away. Doesn't have it right now. Top lane still pushing in. Cabochard's coming out there. Arrow is going to land onto Raze. Airwhack is also called out. He's in the Lamb's Respite, but Raze should be going down. That's a 2-for-1 on the volley.
Really good volley there to secure the deal, but that is Vitality. No hesitation. They're working together as a team here. Very aware of where they can go for the play or not. And Roccat overextending in their own jungle. They know that's the next goal, the next target there for Vitality, and yeah, they commit. They seem very disjointed this game. Roccat not working as a team at all.
Yeah, the trapline has been set up here by Steelback, but I am personally tilted by the fact they are not spaced correctly. And
Is your
my OCD
your
is
OCD kicking in?
Yeah. Well, what annoys me more is like they all just walked around it because it wasn't. It had big gaping holes in it. So hopefully Steelback can set that one up for the next push. I'd like to see that coming in from
Probably
him.
Triggered some people with OCD, because the one thing they hate is when you go like, oh, my OCD is kicking in.
Yeah, or maybe it's good for playing the mind games against Vitality.
Yeah, a really good arrow here that either went to Aerox and missed and went to Raze, or it was directly targeted onto Raze. But regardless, Nukeduck held his frozen tube long enough as well. He knew Aerox was kind of trapped within the restraints of his own ultimate. If he walks out, he's dead anyway. So he switched his target to Janna. Just awareness, very calm, collected fight here for Vitality, because obviously they had a time. They were 5 against 2.
Yep.
So it all comes down to the start where Roccat are kind of caught with their pants down yet again.
Very much the case. 30 seconds left on the next dragon will be Ocean coming out. 8 and 3 currently on the kill score. Kasim was like, do I block away? I can just shield him.
Yeah.
And then we'll mitigate a lot of the damage. And still setting up for this next dragon. Rockat's still trying to control the area with those wards, of course. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Cabochard still pushing. Will want to go back to base in the near future, probably for his mana pool. He's picked up the Guardian Angel, in fact. So he's not going down for a long while.
And Reyes so far does not seem like a player who's playing his 3rd game on stage right now in the LCS.
Yeah, very impressed by him as not being going balls to the wall aggression in this game, but slightly harder as Ashe, I would say, to do that compared to Vayne.
They're pinging Victor right here, but they are aware that he has cleanse obviously, so they'll need pretty much instant follow-up. There's no wave here, so you should always look at the wave, because you see like 4 members in a tower, you're like, oh yeah, they can push, they can siege, but obviously the wave is slowly approaching in the bottom lane. Vitality wear, so they path away. That's one of the bigger rookie mistakes of kind of lower tier players. They see an objective, they know that they're grouped, and it's like, okay guys, let's take this tower. And then they forget to track the minion waves.
And it comes back to bite them later. Well, in terms of how this game is going, it's been these small incremental advantages picked up by Vitality, has resulted in an 8,000 gold advantage, which almost cresting a 10,000 gold lead at 32 minutes.
Yeah, and they can rinse and repeat. They're definitely not running out of time in terms of closing ability. They're just waiting for the next Baron here.
Yeah.
If not, they'll make use of the next Elder. That will be their goal to close out. Their composition scales well enough into the late game. They're far enough ahead to make use of some of these liberties. To not really push on and start trying to siege their way into the base, because it's incredibly hard still to break open the base without a Baron buff against the likes of Caitlyn defending on one side with her traps and then Victor just evaporating the wave on the other side. So it will always boil down to the Baron. That's why a lot of these teams, we need to harshly judge rather, on their execution of Baron baits and vision control.
Very true, and it feels like Vitality kind of draws you into that type of game where it becomes longer, and Vitality, one of the teams with the longest wins. So really just draw you out into their own game.
Well, this time it is Roccat to blame though.
Yeah.
This is like you're
not wrong.
The CLG U comp. Yep. It's just like, guys, it's fine, we'll skip for late game, we'll hide in our base. Hopefully they don't figure out how to play the game in the meanwhile. And maybe we'll win. Then we'll get it.
Take him out. Ooh, Ash arrow down the mid lane will hit Raze once again. He has been a magnet for those things this game. Not going to result in the kill just yet, but Kasing, a dog on a leash. Race is going to go. Oh no! Cabashot knocks him away. He's still taking down from the ignite. He may be a dead man regardless. Got the shield coming up. Kasing wants blood, but Raze is going to knock him away with the ultimate. Cabashot now being locked down. Dragged back in by the gravity field. He's going to flash away. Guardian Angel still available. Parang jumps back into the fight with his own ultimate. Lamb's Spy is going to keep everyone alive for a couple seconds before people start dropping. Mighty Bear's dropping low himself, and Airwax will eventually fall. 3 for 2. This is an incredibly messy fight. Cabashot getting chased down. Triple kill. Alpha Steelback. Parang's going to chase him down for the 4th kill and the 5th kill of the fight, including the Quadra for Steelback.
Yeah, Quadra kill for Steelback, and all this setup from Vitality ruined because chasing a support. They chased Raze across the map. They must have been a great fan of Doa's casting, going all the way for that supportal combat, but it was simply too much, and I think Vitality realized it halfway through, but they couldn't kind of get out of that phase. They also used the Frozen Tomb on Betsy while he was still in Airwax's ultimate, instead of just going for the maximum defensive channel, you know, self-casting to Zhonya's. So questionable decision making there, but Vitality caught by their own greed. This happens so often where teams get a large lead, take home Baron, they get lulled into a false sense of security. This trap right here, slowing Cabashot down, basically starts everything. So that was a fantastic trap from Steelback. And right now Roccat is kind of eating away at the edges, while Raze so close to dying here. The Sing, obviously, Karma supports, they have very few points in Q, only 3 points in Q, so but look at how much damage is being done in the backline by people walking through the over chase here. The Nuke has his Zhonya's and ulti Betsy at the same time, but he still gets his ulti off for a couple of ticks. And Steelback is just untouched. So like this is the dream fight for Caitlyn here. Having a Janna being able to give you an AD steroid, keep people off you, and everybody else is hitting your allies instead of yourself. Yeah. So very easy cleanup for Steelback. But we have to question target priority on Vitality or simply just positioning on the map.
I mean, this is a big swing in the game momentum now over to Roccat. I mean, yes, they are still down 6,000 gold, but they're going to make a lot of that up in the next couple seconds.
Yeah, but this is for the first time in this game. They can now play the offensive part of the composition, which you'll see right here. Steelback's going to nail down the traps. The zone from Gravity Field and Laser can now be set up because this minion wave lasts longer than it does usually, and they have strength in numbers right now, so they're just going to breach the mid lane here. Look at the trap wall already being built.
Yeah, 3 traps going down there. In the bot lane, Nuke was split pushing, so he managed to take a tower, but in the top lane, Parang is doing the same thing. Nuke still putting down this pressure, but Parang will match it. Mid lane, they are kind of getting stalled out by Vitality. Roccat
yeah, but this wave,
quite get in.
This is going to be the wave where they're going to commit. They've already made up their mind. Parang's basing though to deal with Nuke.
Yeah.
Steelback's just poking away on the side. Not sure if I like that ulti. Smoke screen.
Not gonna happen just yet. Airwax was taking a bit of punishment there. The tower is very low, but Parang is trying to stop Nuke in the meanwhile. Gonna jump back to the glacial path set up by Nuke, so he is home and dry for now. We may see people close in around him. He just stepped over a ward. Steelback's still going to push down the mid lane, but the tower in mid lane did not fall for Roccat. They will pick up a consolation prize of Nuke Duck, most likely in the bottom lane. Nuke Duck, what tools does he have available? Flash ult is going to use both of those in just a second as he ult onto Airwax. Betsy is still following after, trying to get in range. There's the laser, buying more time. Gravity Field comes up, and also the parallel convergence will result in a dead Nuke Duck.
Yeah, and that's 20 seconds to Elder Dragon 2. So complete control. Is Roccat even tracking that? I really hope they are. Because we see the base, I think they could have just defended. Well, having both people in base here may be putting them at risk of losing the Elder, but it takes so long to do it. And as a 4-man unit from Vitality, you might see it come out as a Hail Mary play for them. But if Roccat right now push up mid, turn to the Elder, they're in a really good spot in this game.
That's a really weird sequence of plays, though. Like, the split push from bot lane takes the tower, and the second tower almost taking the inhib. And in mid lane, yes, they got a lot of damage down, but Roccat couldn't quite take that tower and couldn't push any further. Meanwhile, Roccat pushing down.
This was the hardest part, getting through that choke point here. 15 seconds till the Nuke Duck, though. It took Roccat quite a while here. All Vitality needs to do is just stall for a little bit, so maybe Nuke Duck can teleport to one of these wards.
Well, this is going to open up a fight for sure. Vitality are still pushing up, trying to find an opening into this fight. Trapline is still there. The Elder Dragon is very low. It's going to go over to Airwax. Now the fight opens up. Betsy with the ultimate. He will be staying alive. Knocked out of the circle, but Capuchon can't quite finish him off. Nuke Duck into the folly. Will pop his ultimate. Meanwhile, Mighty Bear over the wall. End of the line. Follow from Nuke Duck as well. Will claim a kill. But this is all going wrong for Vitality. 3 for 3 so far. Nuke Duck has gone down. He's coming back up because Singer's there to support him. But Parang should be able to finish off this kill and finalize it, as will Raze. 5, 4, 3. Roccat come out ahead for the ace.
Yeah, at the end of the battle, the Koreans are the ones that are left standing, as always in League of Legends. But what a fight overall, and we need to look again at Cabochard in his ultimate. He was so close from having the perfect pinball combo, I think, on Betsy to finish him off. So the arrow comes out, Betsy takes it, he cleanses out immediately. That's when it all starts. Really good defensive monsoon here too from Raze to secure the dragon. But right here, 4-man, he could have knocked them all away, but he's still not. I think Cabochard angled his ulti wrong. He was trying to just focus on Betsy and getting him out of the ulti, but it wasn't quite enough distance. If he kind of aimed it the other way, yes, he would have forced the enemies away from his team, but Nuke Duck could have came in from the top side and had a really good 4-man ulti there. So I think that fight could have gone a lot different, but this is obviously judging on very small windows of time, really.
Sure.
The Cabochard had maybe a fraction of a second to decide where his ulti was going. It was a beautiful 4-man E-flash that we have to praise, but I just would have loved to see a world where he actually ultied them out of the Lamb's Respite, and then Nuke Duck came in and just bodied them all.
Unfortunately, we don't have the alternate timeline to see what would have happened, but still 14 to 13. A lot of kills have happened in the last couple minutes alone. Elder Dragon over to Roccat. Remember, they have 2 Infernals and an Ocean. Those Infernal Dragons have started to result in a lot of damage onto this team, and they have all the AoE, this late game composition, with all of this damage. Looking for a flank to come out from Nuke Duck. It's going to be Parang coming in here. Mighty Bear is going to have to step away. Cabochard coming in from the backside, looking for the flank to go down onto Raze. He's going to get chunked himself into the gravity field, down into the Guardian Angel. Parang is still beating away at this front line from Vitality, but Cabochard is going to be left to the Wolves and left to Roccat to kill.
Roccat, yeah, they played that right. Cabochard, there was hesitation. He didn't even know what target he wanted to go for. Made a very meek attempt there, going for Raze, but it wasn't quite enough, and then they simply turned on him, kill him off the G8. Really good shift back in time from Parang, and Roccat looking to close out in the late game.
Well, they managed to take the Nexus turn. Nuke Duck's going to go into his own ultimate. Parang goes down into Guardian Angel, but there's so many low members coming in from Roccat. They will be saved by the Lancer's fight, but maybe temporarily. The Soul Flare doesn't quite land, but the shutdown coming in from Mighty Bear. He will be following after. Betsy looking to come into the bottom side here. Nice volley coming in from Ray. Will slow down his target, but he's getting destroyed by Airwax. Raze are going to assist there. 2 for 1 in total, but Roccat will turn away.
Yeah, really good Howling Gale there from Raze. Initiated and then called for the turn onto Raya. Couldn't sidestep it. We also see just how much influence in these teamfights these mages have later in the game. A couple of spells here on a couple of targets bunched up. Suddenly everybody's dropping low. So in the blink of an eye, these teamfights can shift entirely from one team to the other.
And only 18 seconds remaining on that Baron, but yeah, Roccat going very deep on this play.
Yeah, Airlock's kind of stood out to the left side. Nuke Duck. His Lissandra is a joy to watch. He gets the perfect opening, and then Rhea with massive AoE poke too, combined with Mighty Bear. So they're forcing Roccat to kind of group up. They're hurting the cattle, and then they're using their AoE abilities to see if they can punish the enemy team. Rhea here overextending, and obviously, Kindred in the late game still deals a lot of damage.
There's the maybe a little bit of over-aggression from Rhea. He can still make it work as Ash, going a little bit too far onto Roccat. But yeah, herded the cattle, but couldn't draw them to slaughter. There's 3 escaped on very low health from Roccat. Still, that is a Nexus turret down for that team. And now we are back to this phase where both teams are kind of posturing. Is of course live, so there is something that both teams looking to vie for.
Yeah, we're just a NATO channel into a choke point. Roccat can easily get this Baron burned down, especially with this line of traps.
And that's the spacing I'm talking about. The second one from the right is a little too far to the left, I feel, but apart from that, A for effort.
Oh, I like this. I like this a lot here. If it wasn't for the pesky little ward, they would have got away with it.
It wasn't for that damn pink ward, and Vitality too coming in for this engage. The arrow goes wide, but Steelback comes into the fight. He's knocked into the team from Cabashon. First casualty, not going to be anyone just yet. Mighty Bear's going to be backing away. Wax is looking to follow after he hasn't dropped yet. Nuke Duck will fall. Roccat pick up that kill, landing up the shot. And Mighty Bear is chased down by the bullet. Meanwhile, Roccat longing to pick up the kill onto Rhea, who is separated from the pack.
Yeah, confusion on both teams here. Roccat desperately trying to keep Steelback alive. Mikhail's was essential and kind of saving his butt. He flashed out. Cabashon couldn't punish him enough, even with the exploding cask. Roccat remaining members were trying to finish the Baron, but Mighty Bear steps in, gets it somehow. Maybe it was a smite. Again, so arrow goes wide, good sidestep, good flash from Steelback. Instant Mikhails to give him mobility again. Ray's peeling very well these fights here. On the right side, Mighty Bear secured the Baron, but then Nuke kind of re-engages. So at this point, if we could pause and call like a timeout, I'm pretty sure Vitality would have come to the conclusion as like, okay, we got Baron, let's get the hell out of Dodge. But they were so stuck in the fight that Nuke re-engaged, but still a good trade for them. They were so close to losing their entire claim on the game here, especially if we look at how desperately they needed the Baron to kind of make their offensive part of the composition work. Right now that's removed from them and they're put on the back foot again.
I mean, this has suddenly become a very close game from such a massive advantage from Vitality, which was kind of given back over to Roccat.
Yeah, they threw it back.
Yeah, and Roccat caught it. You know, you've got to praise the team for catching a throw, right? But
so you never surrender.
There you go, exactly. That's the solo queue tip right there. Anything can happen, especially in solo queue. But either way,
still prefer to surrender though.
Yeah.
The 1 in 20 chance that happens. I'd rather have the peace of mind of not having to play out.
The mentality,
yeah, of not having the mental loss of playing those other 19 games.
Yeah. And
that's just me though.
Follow up and you get tilted. Yeah. Depends how you are as a player, of course, but Roccat never going to give up, never surrender. That's a different team. But Vitality are going to clear away some of these wards. And still a while until the next Elder Dragon, but...
Yeah, first one's right after 35, and you're used to a pattern spawn time of 6 minutes, but after first Elder goes down, it's 10 minutes. A lot of time to wait. It's a long time.
It is. Longer than Baron. There's some high-quality analysis for you there, Crapper.
I mean, I don't know why I'm here anymore at this point.
Just take over.
All you need right now is just a slightly different second voice, and you can just do it all yourself.
Boom. Unfortunately, I can't do any other accents, otherwise I would take the show away, but Vitality, they're clearing up these ways.
The stage is set, Pulse walks up, like, no, not a different name for this
I do the thing where I like have different makeup on the other side of my face, and I just turn back and forth, and just 2 different people. But,
get a nice copyright claim while you're at it.
There you go, perfect. Well, I'm not going to say that word, so I won't get the claim, but Roccat in
You're like a superhero called Double Face?
Yeah, Double Face. Yeah. I'm not even going to go further on that one. Nuke Duck, he's sitting in base. He has teleport available, so he's potentially looking for a flank. But they are very much starved of vision around the mid-side of the map, the middle of the map.
The mid-side of the map, definitely Pulse. But everybody's moving around in packs, and Split Push isn't really there because the looming threat of a pick kind of punishes you too hard. That entire concept actually translates to what happened at MSI. A lot of people were big fans with like the 1-3-1 split push, but everybody was so afraid of kind of going for the extended 1-3-1 that what ended up happening is that everybody hovered around the river, just really desperate to make picks. Even supports like Mata out there were opting out for just waiting in bushes, trying to make a pick as opposed to playing purely the vision game. Something similar always happens in late game. When everybody starts for vision, nobody wants to face check to get more vision out. So you have very condensed maps where everybody's just kind of afraid to be the one guy that screws it up for the team.
Indeed, and right now we have this big lull in the action as Elder Dragon is up in a minute and a half. So most teams, most likely, both teams rather, going to be waiting for that
Lull in the action.
lull.
Where we prefer anticipation.
Anticipation.
You know, the
yes.
build up to the grand
yes.
finale.
Tension is building.
Yep. We're ready to see the crescendo here.
So it's all about how you frame it, Greppa. Oh, a lot of damage actually onto Rhea. This is welcome to late game Caitlyn, where she has a lot of AD and a lot of crit and does a lot of damage. And both teams still posturing, and definitely the tension is building as we gear up for this big final fight. And 47 minutes into this game. Feel like we're at this stage very often with these two teams, where we get into the phase of the game where it comes down to that last vital skirmish.
And it's at this point in the game where kind of roles take up a different shape too. If you look at Mighty Bear, he's another carry right now. If you look at his build, he has a really deceptively hard Graves build to kind of beat. Both Maw and Sterex.
Maw and Sterex. Great for just not being bursted down.
But I wonder if it's actually worth combining them still, but obviously... yeah, because they share a unique passive in terms of lifeline, so they can only get one of them, so it's not the added benefit. I wonder if Mighty Bear read that patch note.
Yeah.
Definitely the stats still great for Graves here.
It's got a client in English and is just, like, I assume these are different. Vitality around this area. There's a trap line, but very condensed trap line, so you can just kind of step around it. But still a wall that you can't pass over.
At this point, if you can force people into predictable areas, it's also good for Betsy.
Yeah.
It does as much as just a single trap will do.
Nuke clearing the bottom wave. Still has TP, as does Cabashard. Parang in the top lane. All the teleport users are in different lanes. Elder Dragon immediately started off actually here by Roccat. Vitality are closing in. Here's the TP coming out from Parang.
Nuke on the bottom of your screen too. Let's see if they're aware of this.
To find an angle.
They are now.
5,000 health remaining on the Dragon. That's going to be Nuke jumping in. The Airwax will instantly pop his own ultimate, keep people alive. Going into that Zhonya's again. Nuke is zoning so many people away. Parang down into the Guardian Angel. But meanwhile, Nuke will go down himself. Cabashard trying to back away. Roccat looking to chase after. Betsy up to the top side, looking to take someone down. Cabashard is going to be drawn in by the gravity field. He's got nowhere to go after the Guardian Angel itself. Actually, he managed to make his way out over the wall. But either way, oh, not quite. Betsy will finish him off in the end there. Dragon is still being taken out by Roccat, but they have split focus. Kasing and Rhea trying to put the damage down onto the encroaching Roccat. Parang jumping back to safety. 2 quick headshots will secure 2 kills. Double kill out for Steelback. Mighty Bear's now being chased down, and Steelback will happily pick up a triple.
Yeah, and that's it. Roccat, they take that fight. They don't take Elemental Elder Dragon down. Maybe they do at the end there. We heard the shriek. But the more important part, everybody else was dead already on the side of Vitality.
Yeah.
Roccat, they're moving as a team in and out of the fight, target selecting, switching, kiting. Vitality was doing none of that. Cabashard went in while Nuke was already dead, and that's going to be it. Final tower going down.
Well, what can we say? Roccat late game once again coming in supreme. Multiple good pickoffs, multiple good plays, and this is how eventually Forsley move on to the Nexus. Roccat will take game 1 over Vitality.
Yeah, I don't think either team is happy with this.
Yeah.
Roccat, they kept winning off major mistakes of Vitality throughout the entirety of the game. I mean, they fell behind. Their composition couldn't do anything in the early game. There was no proactivity. They weren't on the same page. Vitality kept picking them off, and then it was a gift. It was literally Kasing saying, you know what? Let's go on a chase here. Let's see how far we can get Raze to run. You know, he survives on 10 HP. Suddenly they're caught in the jungle, and they completely hand over the game to the other team.
I mean, it was such a massive advantage. We were literally calling it. It was like 8,000 gold advantage, all of these small fights building up and accumulating into this big advantage. And then, yeah, it was literally just that one play which pivoted the game around, and Roccat were able to capitalize. We have to hand it to them on that one. But you're absolutely right. You saw the faces from the players as well. Didn't look super happy from either performance. But still, 1 win to Roccat. If they secure another one here, they will break the curse, and they will get the 2-0 finally.
Yeah, finally a 2-0 or an 0-2 for any of these teams. It would be a change of pattern. Look at the Big Bang graphic too. I mean, we saw these picks, but more importantly, look at the Gragas and Lissandra. They were never in sync later in the team fights. We definitely would have to watch to see what happened exactly if somebody was being slowed down. But Nuke multiple occasions went in, had like a 4-man CC. Zhonya's kept a lot of people busy, but Parang was doing the same thing on the other side. But Parang wasn't taking any damage. Nuke was. And then Cabashard, he flashes in on a multitude of occasions. Well, it was already too late.
I honestly felt like Nuke was doing a good job in that game, though. Like, there was multiple times in the fights where he was able to get in, pop the W, pop the ultimate, and he was literally zoning 3 people for a good 7 seconds there in that last fight, but it still wasn't enough because he went down while, yeah, as you mentioned, Parang was going in there and just not dying.
But there's just too much damage here. If you look on the side of Roccat in the late game, and we have the damage graphs here on our screens too, an obscene amount of damage from both Victor and Caitlyn here. And look in the late game fight here. Steelback full HP right now. Just keep our eyes on him, see what happens here. He takes down Nuke in 2 shots, gets the Mikhail's out, untouched. Now he gets an arrow. His QSS comes out. And then Rhea is low. Betsy's still alive, has a Guardian Angel. Cabashot gets dragged in again. Look where Rhea is. Like, Vitality is so spread out here. Not peeling for each other whatsoever. And then Kasink flashes in. Like, this is complete disarray. Look where Rhea now. Now he's stepping back into the fight. So the late game in teamfight communication for Vitality is absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, I mean, that was down to individuals as well. I don't even know what Kasing was able to do there. Even if he got the shield down onto Cabashot, he was still dead. And it was easy cleanup from there on out. Steelback had such a good game. And I mean, a lot of that was, of course, from the fact that no one was touching him at all. So he just had to stand there and right-click.
It's his style, right? He's the cleanup AD carry. I mean, it was a bit of a meme, but that's what he does well. He plays at the outskirts of the fight well, and with a champion like Caitlyn, that's exactly what you need to do. You don't need to be in the middle of them trying to trap the backline. You just take tanks down first, especially when you have somebody like Parang on that Echo being a nuisance in the front line. Parang went 3 in 1 in 15.
Yeah.
It's like an 18 KDA on a disturbance tank guy that was behind in the early game. He was down 30 CS early to Cabashard, so Roccat, phenomenal job coming back. But let's be honest, it should have never happened.
No, it should not. But either way, that is that first win going over to Roccat. We're going to now send it over to Quickshot, who is going to take a look game 1 over in the arena.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I am going to talk about Splice taking on G2 over from the LCS arena. And straight out the gates, we had some shenanigans and picked some bans. G2 actually let the Rise go through, and it was picked up as a first pick by Splice. They then proceeded to also lock in the Alawi. Now, we got a little bit excited about the potential because it's Alawi. Why wouldn't you? We've got a replay package that I'd like to summarize some of the key moments in the game because Splice, they really took it to G2. First Blood was, in fact, picked up onto Kikis, and you can see just how much damage the Alawi tentacles are dealing. Kikis managed to survive just a few seconds longer before the return gank from Trashy. Unfortunately for Wonder, it went downhill from there because he got so heavily camped. Trick spent a lot of time in that top lane, and for the next 20 minutes, the game was very, very even. You can look by the gold. Splice actually have a marginal lead. Unfortunately, Alawi's impact in those mid-game teamfights was simply non-existent. And after G2 were able to pick up a convincing win at 29 minutes, they got their first Baron. It took another 7 minutes for them to close out because Splice, they were able to dig deep. They were able to follow up in a couple of Mickey Thresh hooks. And generally, it just felt like Wonder's Alawi was more of a hindrance than he was able to provide benefit. Now, the other stream is in an ad break. It should be ending shortly, and that means Game 2 will be commencing between Splice and G2 in just a moment or two. For now, though, we're going to head to an ad break, and when we return, we'll find out if Roccat can pick up their first 2-0 of the summer split.
Start dropping. Mighty Bear's dropping low himself, and Airworks will eventually fall. 3 for 2. This is an incredibly messy fight. Cabashot getting chased down. Triple kill. Alpha Steelback. Parang's going to chase him down for the 4th kill and the 5th kill of the fight, including the quadra for Steelback. The fight opens up. Betsy with the ultimate. He will be staying alive. Knocked down in the circle, but Cabashot can't quite finish him up. Moved up into the volley. Will pop his ultimate. Meanwhile, Mighty Bear over the wall. End of the line. Follow for Moved up the wall. Will claim a kill. But this is all going wrong for Vitality. Kasing and Rhea trying to put a down onto the encroaching Roccat. Big Parang coming back to safety. 2 quick headshots will secure 2 kills. Double kill out for Steelback. Mighty Bear's now being chased down, and Steelback will happily pick up a triple.
Welcome back to the European LCS for Roccat, currently 1-0 as they head into Game 2 against Vitality. Hello, Creflo. It looked like you were just like staring into my soul off to my side. But yeah, of course, first up, we need to talk about player of the game, which was Steelback.
Was I supposed to go for the drum rolls here?
I was waiting for the drum roll, but I didn't set that.
Forgot my drums. Yeah, Steelback. Honestly, it was a toss-up for me between Steelback and Parang, because I think a lot of Parang's work went unnoticed. Or were just kind of off-screen because he was peeling, but it was all to facilitate this guy on the screen right here. Steelback, just really good clean-up AD carry overall, and just good positioning. When we say like clean-up AD carry, it almost feels like a disservice. It's like, yeah, this guy is really good at picking up the scraps, but that's not what he does. You know, he just is aware of positioning, turns targets, had some really good traps both in the setup as well as mid-fight. The whole chase that ended up where Raze survives with 1 HP started with a really good trap from him, for example. And then, of course, there was the quarter kill. Yeah,
of course. I mean, when you get into those fights as well, you see the way he positions, because he was flashing aggressively when he needed to. He just stays in the right zones where he can stay safe and he can deal the optimal amount of damage.
And he started his fight with a good trap onto Cabashart, and then just keep your eyes on where he's positioning. Just always, right after your attacks, a step back, and then he's not afraid to flash in once he sees the opportunity on Rhea, and at that point, the fight is over. We have to also commend Raze on doing a great job keeping him alive. So this is a team effort. You know, whenever a Caitlyn goes off, it's not like this Caitlyn player just found a new way to play the game. Or go for a massive outplay. It's a team working together and enabling him. And yes, he gets the larger part of the spotlight. And yes, there is only one player of the game to be awarded here. Steelback definitely deserved it, but it was a combined effort from the entire team. And Raze and Parang definitely deserve an honorable mention.
Yeah, the praise should definitely go over to Raze. But still, interesting to see how that
What's in the name?
Yeah, it is. He deserves a raise. But yeah, coming into the second game, I want to see how it goes, because really Vitality had control over that game.
Oh, by all means,
they should have just won and closed out. But maybe it will happen in this game, and then the curse will continue, and both teams will tie once again, and we'll have 4 ties each. But,
I mean, I want to see teams punished for this, because I don't want Roccat to develop a playstyle where it is deemed okay to have drafts like this, playing the way they did, and then rely on a show to get back into the game. Whereas Vitality, I think they should be rewarded for having some elements of crowd control in their kit, and then playing towards that, you know, advantage and making use of it, and then getting that slight goal lead larger by focusing on objectives and Baron baits. That is, for me, a really good way to play the game currently. If you have nothing of all those things in your arsenal, then you need to play defensive. Then you can't do the moves that Roccat made in the early games. Like, oh, this guy's right here, let's start trading, see what happens. Oops. No crowd control, I guess we're dead. Again, and again.
Yeah, at the same time, you've got to get punished for making those mistakes and ultimately giving the game over.
I was on that shot. It's like, oh, we're trapped in a box.
Let me out. We are going to get out of that one. And into Champion Select, there we go. So first ban is going to be Nidalee over from Roccat, taking that away from Mighty Bear. And looking towards what Vitality want to take away. As you mentioned before, in the first Champion Select is more about not priority bans, but like taking away the comfort picks and taking away what bothers you. And then, of course, you need to take away the Vladimir, take away the Rise, and pretty much the general consensus on what's strong.
Yeah, if you're new to the series, Olaf was played by Cabashart yesterday, twice banned that last game as well, so they don't want to run into that. Nuclear had very early priority on Lissandra last game. You may see a shift there, though, as Vitality have the counter picks in the mid lane potentially.
Very possible. Looking towards the next ban from Vitality, it's going to be that Rise, so taking both of those off the table from themselves. And last ban coming in from Roccat.
I wish the players had this music in their headsets too.
Yeah, it would make would make it a lot more intense.
I mean, Sean's words must be, you know, a lot more inspiring.
That's true. You can really sell the speeches that people make. Of course, we had the great ones from Yamano Cannon. Would love to hear more from the coaches with this music, but unfortunately, I don't think it does quite the same job as White Noise, because sometimes there's a drop and it's just, oh, hey, how's it going?
That's the other team's thinking right now. Great.
Fantastic. Well, last band's going to be Aurelia aimed at Cabashart, taking him off the carries, kind of, get rid of that problem before it starts, because Cabashart coming into a meta where carries are a thing is a scary thing indeed.
Yeah, he still has the likes of Nar, and he actually played a decent Gragas. It was just more, it was not about his individual ability to play the champion, it was more so about syncing up the engages with the rest of his team. Trundle right now eliminated too. I think Vitality did the same last game. Trundle was definitely banned. Just a strong individual 1v1 pick. Plays well to split pushes.
first pick is going to be Caitlyn coming in for Roccat. Steelback had a killer game last turn.
Yeah, I would just love to see like Vitality draft Ashe Zyra instead of Ashe Karma. I feel that lane is just annoyingly strong right now.
Yep, Zyra still available. Of course, has not been banned out in this game. Saw a bunch of it yesterday. Vitality looking for their first rotation. A bunch is still open. What are they looking towards? Played Lissandra last time onto Nuke had a really good performance. Unfortunately, just couldn't quite make all of those team fights work with the rest of his team.
Yeah, they can steal away the Kindred at least this time, because that was annoying later in the game.
Yeah.
It just simply bought too much time. 4 seconds in that Kindred ulti is a long time to have to stall around. And they're still looking to lean on the core of their composition with this Lissandra. Oh! That's just a tribute to Parang.
Yeah.
That's like,
And
yeah,
it's like, hey, do you
some
wanna
guy in
play
this team plays
game?
Jace.
Yeah. Would that be helpful? No, not this time. Going to be Lissandra and a Kindred eventually locked in there, so Nuke just also taking that one away, and also great to see the Kindred denied from Airwax in this game. Roccat, next 2 pickups for them. What roles are we looking at? Well, we only have the ADC picked up right now.
I mean, usually you match jungle and pick support here, unless you really have a priority on top lane.
Yeah, and they are going to do just that. So Gragas picked up, and the Janna Caitlyn, once again, great peeling, and similar to last game, but this time more knockbacks, lots of knockbacks. If the first one doesn't work, throw a second one in. If that doesn't work, then run.
I mean, the value of Janna goes up a little bit because you can predict a tornado on where the Ice Guard is going to land, and you can actually knock up Lissandra, and then you either step away from her or you one-shot her, or you can just instantly ulti her out, knock people out of the ultimate from the Kindred too, so really good pick here. This time I like it a little more, also because you already have a little bit of engage built to like Gragas. It's not full on defense.
And then Vitality really using all the time that they can use in this champion set. Only 10 seconds remaining on their next 2 pickups. How will they match Roccat? I want to see what Rhea picks up this game as well, because last time had the Ashe, saw the very aggressive Vayne yesterday. We'll lock in the Ezreal alongside Bard, so more of an aggro bottom lane.
Yeah, aggro bottom lane. It's still pretty hard to play into Caitlyn Janna though. It all depends if the Bard Qs connect through creeps or not. That's going to be the decider. Ezreal should be able to farm maximum distance. Let's see if they put enough priority on actually hitting the minions, generate the push, and then start poking on the tower. But there's a lot of options in terms of setup when you have Tempered Fate available. Lissandra's loved, playing and combining with Tempered Fate, as well as portals to just move around, Ice Skulls over the wall. A lot of hidden mobility already in this Vitality lineup.
Yeah, kind of disappear for a second and just appear in the middle of the enemy team. And Roccat, last 2 pickups, 20 seconds remaining on the clock. They have a mid laner to pick up and a top laner, unless they flex the Gragas up there.
I mean, they could just go Victor Echo again. I liked what they did for the team later in the game. They were just lacking a little bit of engage, but I think Gragas at least solves it just a tad.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically the same composition, but because the Kindred was taken away, they'll pick Gragas instead. And yeah, so Parang going to be on the Echo once again. Betty had some fantastic ultimates in that last game. Also really great gravity fields. Lockdown, Cabashot, a bunch in those fights. And waiting for that last pick from Kasing, paying tribute to Zillion, of course.
Now, what is Cabashot looking at? I mean, Maokai is still available if you really want the team fight champion.
Yeah. Or will he put on his carry shoes? I don't know what shoes he's wearing today.
He's wearing the same shoes as yesterday, the green ones.
The green ones?
The ones
That
with,
would suggest Maokai.
50% win rate. Right now they have a 33% win rate.
No, that's not good. Those are some unlucky shoes. Should
Wait,
probably
he
look
locked
for
that?
the
No.
neon
Oh,
ones.
he's still picking.
No,
It's
still
like-
picking. Yeah.
It's like I heard somebody in the crowd making noise, disappointed at Rammus, and I
Yeah.
was like, no. Okay.
Maokai. He's going to match his shoes. They are not carry shoes, apparently. They are tank shoes. And that will be the full composition locked in. So, okay. Basically the same comp from Roccat.
I'm a little scared for Vitality, because do they have enough damage in the late game? People are like, yeah, of course they have, but like, Ezreal takes a while to get going. Lissandra falls up a fair amount, especially compared to Victor, Of course, these guys are going to have a lot of damage. I guess the Kindred can make up for a lot of it. But I'm just afraid that Steelback goes untouched in the backline. Once again, he gets a QSS and Mikhails gets picked up.
I mean, Maokai can get on him once, but then there's a Gragasol, there's a General, there's Mikhails. There's like so much to get everyone off him, then
Yeah.
I feel like we could see very similar fights to what we saw in Game 1.
If it goes to 45 minutes. But I think before that, Vitality definitely have an option to winning the game. I mean, double teleport comp with Maokai Lissandra, the mid-game spike on this team comp should be enough for Vitality to at least take an option on closing out the game. They
Yeah,
should have mid-game advantage.
I mean, for sure, they'll have that advantage, but they need to push that advantage and actually close out in the mid
Yeah,
game.
not chase the support.
Yeah, not chase the support and not just lose a massive fight and lose Baron, because that will result in what happened last game. So,
I mean, you could chase the support,
yeah.
take a risk. If there's no Baron up on the map, you know, Elder
Yeah.
Dragon, you know, both objectives so good for these guys.
Very, very risky. Well, we have the team conversations once again. Jump on Twitter, use the hashtags, hashtag ROCWin or hashtag VITWin, who you think is going to take game 2 in this best of 2 between Vitality and Roccat. We'll be heading on to the Rift once more and see if this will result in the 2-0 for Roccat, or it will go 1-1 once again for these two teams. Vitality, best case scenario for them is to make that happen. Everyone off the starting block and will be fanning out into their jungle.
Like a fan.
Like a fan.
Are you a fan?
I am a fan. Well, I'd like to see more action in the early game, so I guess I'm not
So
a
you're
fan.
not a fan.
No.
I'm also not a fan of the early game that happened last game. Personally, would like to see more blood.
Indeed, that would be fun. Because it all kind of happened all at one time, like in the late game, everyone started fighting a bunch, and then it was...
Yeah, the uneven distribution
the
of wealth.
Yeah, pretty much. I keep saying a bunch a lot. I don't know if I'm thinking about bananas, but I don't know.
Is that what a troop of bananas is called? A bunch?
A bunch of bananas. I don't know what the collective term for bananas is. Is it a troop of bananas? Now I'm just thinking of like a circus act with bananas. The Wandering Circus!
The wandering circus of bananas?
Yeah.
Well,
hopefully no
it
one
would
gets
be more
poisoned.
entertaining than another lane swap. Come on, guys. Give
Damn
us
it.
some lanes.
Yeah, please. Kasing and Ray are in the bottom lane, and it's going to be Steelback and Raze in the top lane. So, yeah, once again, lane swap initiated by Roccat.
Yeah, this time I feel like
Nice.
they're blind swapping though, because I think they have the edge. Although it's hard to judge with these guys, it also depends on just how good they are in these particular matchups.
Yeah.
Again, though, Roccat benefit from slowing the game down, opening up the map. Sincerely, like if they can avoid just any pickoffs and fighting and just trading objectives to get to the late game quicker, obviously in their favor.
Yep, that is a true statement, Trevor.
Especially since it keeps Bard down too. Bard in lane swaps is so annoying because a lot of his value is kind of gated around him being level 6 and then roaming mid. And then you like, eventually he'll get level 6, sure. But if he has to approach mid when he is level 6, enemy mid laner is like 9 or 10,
Yeah.
you just get blasted when you walk up. If you're like level 6, enemy mid laner is like barely 7, you know. If you have a really good game going on, or maybe just 8, then obviously you can do a lot more.
Let's see if Kasing gets those roams off. Tornado up into Cabochard will slow him down by 1.5 seconds.
And get that stack, you know. Spell
Yeah.
keys, all
So
stacks matter.
All about tempo in this lane swap.
That's not tempo. We may use tempo for literally everything in the game.
Look at this tempo that Alex is going to gain over Cabochard by taking away these
Airax stole the tempo raves.
the small chickens.
Yeah, the tempo raptors are down.
Yeah.
That's how you trigger Probably too.
Oh yeah?
You just call everything macro.
Good to know.
He's not really a biggest fan. We talked about this yesterday too. So if you're hearing the story twice, too bad for you.
Yeah. Have to sit through it again. I haven't heard it, so.
Yeah, he just hates the word macro being overused. So whenever you talk to him, it's like, "Do you like that lane swap?" From a macro aspect, how they took the macro CS and then they took the macro tower, and he just goes like, "Screw you, Crepo." I'm like, okay.
Well, it's interesting how like MOBA lingo has kind of evolved, because it means one thing, but then because something is so similar, you just call it like the term that you already had rather than make up a new term. So it's kind of hard unless you have like a thesaurus. But
Ooh,
Nuke Duck
is
is
stuck
very
here.
overextended in the mid lane. Airwax is going to line up the E flash, but he's
Oh,
going
hit
to
the
jump to
creep, I
safety.
think.
Mighty Bear's going to come in, and neither of them are going to die. Mighty Bear gets a bit more damage down, but
He hit a creep. He must have hit a creep. There's no way that Nuke Duck survives this. That is a pretty big mistake right here. Out of nowhere here, breaking the lane swap pattern. Suddenly Jungler with double buffs paths in mid as we were talking about macro. But then he makes a micro mistake instead.
Oh man. Oh, Mighty Bear, he's going to take away this, but Raze is going to try and contest. That was a little too close. Smite goes down at 27 HP as the tornado comes in, but Raze was not able to secure it. And Mighty Bear will back off. Let's take a look at that mid lane gank again, because
Alright.
Nuke Duck is very far extended. Does he
He's
get a
low.
minion?
E flash here. Yeah. Enhance.
Oh, he hit him.
Yeah. No. Was that Nuke Duck? I'm pretty sure that was still a creep next to it.
No, Elwax definitely bumped backwards.
Then he has no damage.
Oh, bot lane, we're enhancing on this action. Got a TP coming in from Nuke Duck, looking to claim a kill onto Steelback. He's going to come back in, try and finish off Cabochard. Not quite going to happen. First blood to Nuke Duck.
Yeah,
The Duck
ain't
gets
no
his
party
revenge.
like a bot lane party. Double TP comes down, Steelback cornered out. Tower dropped here. Really good play. And first blood on the side of Vitality, despite Nuketook almost dying there in the mid lane.
Kasing, 1v1 against Airwax.
So satisfying.
Yep.
Just like the motion.
Throwing the penguins. Yep.
It's all in the hip, you know? The Bard autos.
All in the hip? Interesting. Not from the wrist. I feel like there'd be a lot of wrist action going on with the...
At the
I
end.
actually don't know the optimal way to throw a penguin. I've got to be honest.
I actually never noticed he throws penguins because I hate that skin.
Really?
Yeah. Not a big fan.
What
I
is the
think
best bard skin, Crefo?
I don't even know what it's called. It's like the second one.
The second one? What? Elder Wood?
Yeah.
The foresty one?
I mean, you could call it whatever it is. I'm gonna be like, yeah.
Yeah.
If you call it Banana Bard, I'm
Come
like,
on,
yeah,
I was
that one.
referencing the Bard Master himself. You don't even know the name of the skin.
No,
the skins?
just lock it in every time.
That's disappointing. Well,
I'm not one for cosmetics.
okay. I mean, I can understand that. But you still go for the skins. You're not like Faker, where he just like straight up goes for the classic skins all the time.
No, because I hate the animation on the health pack on the first one. It's so hard to tell when it's done.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of Coco. Can I say? I'm not in love.
That just blows me away. You don't like penguins. You don't like Coco. I can
not in love
understand
with
why you don't like
Coco.
the skin, but that's just messed up. Oh, and Capachard is in the top lane rocking the Meowkai skin.
No, that's a nice skin.
Now that is a good skin. I think we can align on that one, Crepo, for sure.
Alignment.
Yeah, we do have alignment here on the casting desk. Mighty Bear, he's on his way into the top lane. He's on the prowl. Bear's not necessarily known for the stealthiness, but currently he is unspotted, unseen. Now he's seen. He goes up to the tower and will take this one away. And Rhea's there as well. We have a lot of animals, actually, on the Vitality squad. We have the Danish Shrimp coming in with the bear and penguins from Cabashard.
With like a
They're
zoo.
just throwing a zoo, basically.
Gotta be careful with that nomenclature in solo queue, though.
Yes,
a lot of high-elo
indeed,
players
yeah.
throw that around, but not for different reasons. Anyways, this lane swap kind of split up. Steelback and Raze are dealing with the tower on the bottom, as opposed to Vitality, you know, moving more so as a team. Gotta keep track of experience right now. Parang has a small lead on Cabashard, mostly because obviously the teleport play that Cabashard did towards the bottom lane.
Yeah. Cabashard also got the 400 gold from the tower as everyone left him, so team playing around that, giving him the extra gold. Has also gone for the corrupting potion. Bot
But
lane is slowly being pushed in.
But look at the gap though between Steelback and Rhea. A lot of CS lost here and shared within the team for Rhea. Nuketook now taking a lot of damage. She'll be fine, but just got chunked out. But Steelback is 26 CS ahead. Or 24 rather at this point.
He is. That's some good maths.
Yeah, I was just double checking in my head. I'm like, don't, if you correct yourself, you better be right, boy.
Yeah.
Still 24 CS ahead, so that is nearly doubling what Rhea has put together on an already slower carry here. So Steelback's going to be happy. He probably has BF sword in base again, and then go for the really smooth BF into Hurricane build. No budget shenanigans where you go like pickaxe into Hurricane.
Yeah. None of that.
None of
It's
that.
going to be the BF sword.
It's going to get the
Hurricane.
premium cut of AD carry builds, the filet mignon.
Not the rump steak of ADC builds. I actually saw a game yesterday where people were like going towards me and it was like, oh yeah, Hurricane exists. And then picked that up later. But yeah, that is the most optimal pickup. And the call as well for Steelback. You can see Rhea's doing what all Ezreal players do, which is pick up the tier. And we'll get that one stacking up. My tiers are fully stacked right now. There's not a lot happening. There's a lot of lane swaps, a lot of macro play going on in this
I mean,
game.
we had 2 fights already. I think we need to be readjusting our expectations.
Oh, yeah.
This, you know, you learn how to be happy with less in lane swaps.
That's true.
You learn how to truly appreciate the brutality of a 5-on-5 fight in the early game.
Very true. Very, 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 very true. Airwax, he's in the bot side taking away the Krugs. Now he's going to stealth his way into this bottom lane.
Yeah, not spotted.
Nope. Call him... I don't know. Call him Solid Snake? I'm not sure. I'd make that statement if like Callista was in the game and then you have the Sentinels. It's like, oh.
Not quite sure that one.
I don't know either, Crapo. I've kind of lost it. But Betsy, he's still farming up the mid lane, has the CS advantage again, like we saw in the first game, but it was a whole lot of farming, and this game is not going to be too different.
Yep.
Kasing rotates into the mid lane and will take away this ward, and Nuketook will get his blue buff as well, so going to be happy with that.
Vitality just biding their time. Once Kasing hits 6, he can always roam mid and just put the ulti on Betsy. You know, he still have to use his flash, maybe cleanse out later. Can't go back into that portal. It's a one-way street only. That would be a little annoying if you bump into each other mid-portal.
Yep. High five on the way.
You can actually cross portals. If you have enough
Really?
CDR, it happened to me once.
What happens? Does the universe explode?
No, you just put down 2 portals.
No.
But if you put him in C, you can actually jump from one to the other. Oh, it bugs out sometimes.
Really?
I don't think
Interesting.
it's intended, but it happens.
Ah, well, we'll call it a feature.
Feature.
of
Creative use of gameplay. That's what they used to do in World of Warcraft. Anyways, teleport coming in at the bottom side. Who is it?
It's going to be
both of them.
Cabashot and Nuke coming in here. Mighty Bear clothing from the top side. Steelback is so dead. Airwax is going to have the ultimate on top of him. Good ultimate will zone away the rest of Vitality. Here comes the portal, but no one wants to take it.
Yeah, that's the power of double TP on a single ward. You'll see it coming out. You're gauging, can we survive, you know, in a scenario where an extra person gets added to it, and then of course two come out, your expectations get shattered, and you have to really think quick.
Yeah.
But no amount of quick thinking could have helped there. Vitality with another good opening. And they get Parang's teleport down too, so that's a really good play by them.
Oh, Airwax. I mean, all he wanted was the big chicken, but he's going to go away hungry. Airwax is actually going to live. He's good to go. Mighty Bear and Kissing couldn't finish him off as the rest of his team was coming in there.
Just good poke there, asserting their dominance in the jungle. Ray is catching up 2 now, 14 behind. Like Cabashot lands first, Nuke second. And another, like, Vitality is definitely sending a message with these plays. It's like, steal back, you know, you got player of the game. Right now, if you want that, you'll need to carry hard because you're already 0-2 in O. So definitely needs to be a little bit more wary of all the attention Vitality is giving him.
Yeah. Like, you feeling good about that play of the game? Player of the game? He did make a play of the game last game.
Multiple plays.
Yeah.
Also in the game.
In the game, on the day. Rhea will take away these crooks. Small one first. Often play.
Yeah, Kissing's still looking for level 6. And that is just, it's so annoying for supports in the lane swap meta when you constantly have to step away from lanes because you don't want to soak experience because you won't come back to influence the matchup that you're stealing from. So if you're stealing from your top laner, you'll never come back to help him and he'll just slowly snowball into oblivion. So you're rendered quite useless. Definitely wants to pick up some extra chimes, get to 6, and then he can go mid, but at this point, by the time he'll reach Betsy, Betsy will be like level 10, 11, and then, yeah, you just get blasted.
Oh, Kissing. It's like, help me with this drop. Give me some experience, but unfortunately whoever
working
kills
anymore.
it, yep. Maybe Kissing will pick it up. No, Mighty Bear wants to stack, so.
The equivalent of
away.
a smelted delta, but then for jungles.
Yep. Whoever jungles gets the camp. Raze is over a wall, over a ward rather. 12 minutes into the game, and Vitality with not a lot going on the map will prioritize the Herald here and will give it to someone. And who's it going to be, Crepper? Who's going to take the Herald?
I mean, it almost must be Cabashard at this point. Every single observer is just like, tick-tock, tick-tock. Yeah, Rift Herald
Meow,
buff.
meow.
You can read up on the changes to it right there. Mini static shift building, as well as damage reduction when isolated. Obviously, that's going to be for the top laner split pushing in the side lane. Maokai also got a little bit ahead of counterpart Echo right now. Parang was ahead earlier, but because of the good teleports and the fact that Parang was forced to match, Cabashard now getting a little bit ahead.
Nuke he's being pushed out in mid lane here. Betsy's getting a good bit of damage onto him. He's running away back to the turret.
Yeah.
1-0 and 1. Oh.
You need to punish him as he goes in for the Q trades. Because if he gets the shield up for free and then follows up with another R2 laser, it's just too beneficial of a trade here for Betsy. Betsy walking in.
Yeah, both the mid lanes have a lot of gold to spend though. Nuke has like 2k, so he wants to go back and turn that into items and actually make use of that gold. 2-0 in this game. Vitality are not ahead in terms of gold.
Yeah, not ahead in terms of gold. 1,200 gold lead here on Steelback compared to Rhea. Also because he took down a tower earlier, you know, 400 gold and then bounced it. So that's a large lead here. So he will always win those individual duels. That means they're giving up lane priority on the side lanes for both of them. If you Roccat, because Echo should be able to push out Maokai. Caitlyn wins against Ezreal, and any added member doesn't change that balance. Bard is not going to influence to the point where Janna and Caitlyn will not still win. And Victor's pushing up mid, so that's why we saw, you know, Airwax kind of jungling at enemy wolf camp, because he has the liberty to do that because his lanes are pushing around him. Very tough position for Vitality.
Yeah, and last game they had a significant advantage and threw it away to Roccat, but this time they didn't even have that advantage to throw to Roccat, so we'll see what happens in this time. The Stealthy Bear is on his way top lane. He's going to find Parang and already set up the mark for Kindred, so he really wants this kill to get the extra damage over to him. Going to flash after Parang, but was actually slowed out from the Time Winder, so a bit of a weird flash from Mighty Bear. He was really hungry for that stack.
Yeah, Parang realized it just in time. Somebody was coming out to get him. Obviously, very hard to capitalize on the pushing lanes if you have just so much fog of war. So, but this time Parang backs out well. Roccat was trying to do this against Vitality last game too, where they consistently tried to pick off Nuketock on the side lane.
I mean, to be fair, Mighty Bear marked him like 8 seconds before he went into the top lane, so it was like, I wonder if there's someone after me. Yeah, so he was already walking back. A little more defensive. It's reverse mind game, because next time he'll mark Parang again and then be bot lane. So he's playing the long game.
Long con. And right now we see AD carries moving to the mid lane. It's a little different because as we talked about last game too, Betsy playing with Clem doesn't really want to go on side lane. So Sing, Steelback rather needs to play on side lanes or just group up. Betsy siege down tier 1 in mid. But he has a bit of wiggle room in terms of farm. Steelback that is. He's 40 CS up right now. And if you look at what Raze is doing, he's really just making sure that Steelback can farm. So the defensive vision right now is catered around giving Steelback access to the side lane farm. Because Roccat again is comfortably scaling with his Caitlyn Victor mid lane.
This is truly the darkest timeline. The first dragon of the game is Cloud, by the way. So we are 15 minutes into the game, and no one has taken dragon because no one really cares about it. That was an on-the-way ping, though. So looks like Kasing and Mighty Bear are after this dragon. I mean, they're taking one for the team because it means that the next one will be something more.
Well, Vitality should definitely go for his dragon. If not, just to clear it off the board and hope that a better dragon spawns the next time.
Yeah.
Because they really need to force Roccat to at least step into some of these objectives and then maybe outplay. They really need to make use of their mid-game spike here. Double teleport as well. When people funnel in for objectives, that's when you can get behind them. And some really good flank wards. But Roccat, they seem to be on top of things.
Kasing is walking forward. There's a Tempered Fate lands onto Betsy. There's actually a barrel already charged up there. Oh, it doesn't get the timing on the Cosmic Binding. Razor's going to come in here. Mighty Bear's very low. He has to use his own ultimate, but there's no way he's getting outside of this, and Roccat will find an easy kill.
I mean, Betsy was super calm in that entire exchange. Even if the Cosmic Binding hits, instant cleanse flash, worst case. So Betsy was actually just using that as an opportunity to strike back, and Vitality, there was no teleport from Nuketock. Cabo Shard wasn't really in the greatest position to punish. Like, they just weren't in synergy.
Yep. It was also mechanical missteps as well, because Kasing just didn't land his Cosmic Binding, just simply didn't have the timing down.
Yeah, but even then, there's still cleanse available, because look at it right now. So, like, Cabo Shard has to step out of that gravity field. He gets out, or he gets hit by the edge. Then he doesn't commit at all. He could have dodged a lot of damage there by committing, by spamming W. But instant TP from Parang. What a mess of a fight here, started by Vitality. I mean, your main secondary engage is stuck on the bottom lane, didn't opt into the fight. So that feels like, yeah, grasping at straws here for Vitality.
Yeah, it really feels that way. 17 minutes into this game, no one has gone for the dragon just yet. Herald, of course, went over to Vitality, and now Steelback has actually come in here. You can see Reyes just like surrounded by traps.
I mean, look at the gold. Steelback has twice the gold that Kasing has access to this game so far. He is now over, he's nearly 2,000 gold ahead of his counterpart Rhea. 1,800, give or take.
Steelback horizoned him in this game. 18 minutes in. Yeah, he's really not in good shape, but Steelback is having another good setup to this game.
Yeah, Roccat is allowing him.
KDA.
Yeah, he's allowing him to farm despite being targeted with 2 roams, double teleport. He's still getting access to a lot of farms, so his team's setting up vision so he can do that. We even see Betsy shifting to the bottom lane, may get punished for that though.
He's going to flash away, and Nuketock used the ultimate on himself. Scared from the burst coming out from Betsy.
Yeah, and if there was a world where Betsy at least had to cleanse in the earlier exchange, he may have dropped here, because to give Steelback the mid lane farm safely, Betsy's not playing on a side lane. Low mobility champion like Victor gets picked off very easily, but because both summoners were still available, he gets out of that. He didn't even have to use his cleanse.
Nope, not at all. Top lane, Parang is going to keep on pushing. Still kind of butting heads with Maokai up there. Bot lane, Betsy is still pushing up. Mighty Bear's going to find Razors rotating to bot lane. A lot of damage coming in from the Mounting Dread. And he's going to back away and to the rest of his team. So he's good to go for now.
Yeah, they try to catch up. Nuketock right there, looking for an E-Flash from Airwax, but then lurking in the brushes was Mighty Bear. Another engage here, Steelback getting caught.
Again, timing is off by Kasing. Second one in a row. Not something you expect from Kasing.
No, really gifted mechanical player, but stage nerves must be getting to him, or just not familiar with playing the champion.
Wow.
I think he was too. What happened there is that he's so focused on getting the angle right. So if you're new to playing this champion or any like setup champions, the first thing you need to do is like, okay, I need the angle so he gets stunned into the wall, right? And he's so focused on getting that right that whenever he gets into the angled position, he feels like he ran out of time. So he will send out his Q immediately. He's like, okay, got the angle, go. But he's not counting in his head the 1.5 seconds from that tempered fate.
I mean, it's difficult. It's something you don't really think about too much, but humans generally find it hard to evenly think of like seconds in their head. So he actually needs a stopwatch, so he can stop the stopwatch. With
it's all
the
game
play.
feel, and it's all comfort, because a lot of players, when you talk to them, they don't go like 1, 2.5. They just go like on a feel or on a bit of a sound. And maybe it's also just like, for example, the playing with the different sound volumes. You know, white noise, when you're used to the Zonia sound gently going down in your head, and you have like almost a subconscious sound trigger associated with it, then it makes it a lot easier. It's all these little things that add up, and that's why having a pro player that plays consistently well in scrims as well as on stage is definitely impressive. Because you have a lot of these guys that play well in scrims, and people go, yeah, okay, and why can't he translate it to the stage? It's just a different keyboard and monitor, right? Like, the same keyboard in different place.
Yeah, that's not how it works. I mean, we saw that for the longest time from Roccat, actually, with previous lineups. So, yeah, being a scrim team versus a stage team is a big thing. Maybe Kasing just needs to learn the 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi.
2 Mississippi, I mean, maybe he just, like, botched it entirely. But it is a more interesting, broader discussion,
cool,
you know, going from stage to play and all these little things that influence it. But right there, yeah, it seems like he was very, very focused on getting the angle right, and then kind of rushed ahead of the decision. Because against good players, you need to land it on the exact frame perfect, as they say it in the speedrunning community.
Yeah.
If not, botched attempt.
Or in the Smash community. But we don't have that too much in League of Legends.
There we go again.
Tempered Fate, but this one, it didn't even land.
Yeah, it came from kind of far.
Yeah.
It's really hard, obviously, to get in a position where you can freely cast the ulti without getting counter-engaged on or spotted. But to do it from like 2 screens away generally means that people can step out of it. If they don't expect it and they take half a second to realize what's going on, you can still get them. I like that they keep trying though, Vitality, looking for
the
picks.
push shot, yeah.
But I want to see them set up a play where maybe the ulti is used as a zoning tool. It's like either you get hit by it or you have to dodge forward. That means their double TP can strike, because Vitality, as we talked about, they need to hit their mid-game spike right now. If not, they're going to start falling behind.
And Steelback is still farming. That was a ward, but he's still increasing his gold totals. He's on a 2-item powered bike right now. And he's already looking scary. He just chunk down Kasing. Betsy's on his way top lane to meet the wave from Maokai. And all that really does is remind me of the Anamanaguchi song. But he's just spent a lot of his game farming, honestly. Gabashar's just been chilling in top lane, just beating away at these minions.
Yeah, Ray went for kind of the early power spike build with the Triforce. Muramana turned into Triforce as opposed to...
Yeah, changes to Triforce, of course, on 6-11. More attack speed, no crit anymore.
CDR though.
Yeah, got that CDR. So better for some bruises in the top lane. We're seeing more carry top laners come back in. We're even seeing Parang once again go for the Rod of Ages, so a bit more damage on him in the top lane. But of course, Roccat banned away 2 carry top lanes from Kabashar in this game, taking away Aurelia and Olaf.
Yeah, and Betsy's build also catered to just peeling in these fights as well, you know. I mean, pretty common to see this Rhylight Crystal Scepter on the Victor, but just a lot of slows here. Imagine if you're a Vitality, you have to walk towards Steelback, going through Monsoon, Howling Gale, Victor, Gravity Field, lasers, some barrels flying around, you know, Parang's Q, Time Miner, right? Ran out of the ability names.
It is, Time Winder.
But yeah, it's just like so many slows here, so they definitely need to get access to flanks. Get behind enemy lines, flash W, Frozen Tomb from Nuke Dog. If they come from the front door, it'll be too easy for Roccat to kite. And there is a timing window, which generally means before Mikhail's Crucible. Otherwise, it gets even more complex.
True. 2 and 1 in this game. We've had 3 kills in 24 minutes. Rhea is received some damage from Steelback. He's just testing how much damage he can do to Tier 2 ultimate on Ace in the Hole. Steelback he's still farming. We've said this multiple times, but it hasn't stopped in this game, and at some point Vitality are going to feel it. As the Tempered Fate onto Airwax is going to open up into a fight. They're going to pull the trigger. Mighty Bear is chasing forwards onto Raze. Nuke's going to come in. He's battered away to that tower. Airwax is going to surely fall. Finally goes down to the ultimate. In fact, that was actually Raze, and now instead he falls. That's a 2-for-1. And Steelback will fall to Rhea, who comes in. Betsy's coming into the mid lane. He's unhappy with this result so far. That's going to be the Lamtress by keeping both of them alive. Parallel conversion from the sidelines will not result in anything. That is a tower in mid lane and 3 kills to Vitality.
Yeah, Vitality stole storm through the heart of the fight. They get one pick off two, and then they just go on through. Betsy and Perang both stuck on the side lane, so a lot of the damage and the peel, all those things that we were talking about, were not present there to help Roccat beat just the unrelenting assault here. The battery almost on Steelback. Eventually, they got him down. Especially again, good opening here because Airwax uses dash, and then Mighty Bear is hitting Race, which is really good. Lupa gets tossed around. Let's see. The ulti does go on Airwax, takes down Raze with the AoE, and then Ray just shifts in there. That's obviously stronger power spike. Even flashes, I think, to secure the exact location of the Q. And then Parang and Betsy were nowhere to be found. So this is Roccat getting lulled into the same false sense of security that Vitality did in game 1.
Yeah, maybe something about the blue side, something in the air on that side of the stage, I don't know. Swamping up here, but 3-3 in towers has been evened up by Vitality, but those kills have swung the gold into their side of the map. Banana goes off screen, and hey, that's Banana I was talking about earlier.
The banana.
There we go. But
Not quite a troop.
no, not a troop of bananas. Only one in this game. No Soraka, unfortunately. Roccat are now in the mid lane, all grouped up. Now I think we're thinking about sending people to the sides, and yeah, we have another Cloud Dragon on its way.
Yeah, but
So-
I think Vitality want to use this Baron to force a play. They're talking about it, but they haven't really cleaned out the vision
I wasn't lying.
because you see that Vitality have Cabochard hiding in the base. So they know that they need to get something done here. So they're looking for those little wards, right side of mid probably, to get a teleport on. And looking to pull the trigger right about now, I think.
Mighty Bear took a lot of damage from that Baron. He's very low, but
There
they
we
have
go.
called out Betsy. Airwax over the wall. Explosive cast will save him for now. Nuke Duck comes in. Rhea is going to finish off Betsy. Surely he's going to back off, and finally he goes down. Nuke Duck will find the ice shot for the kill. Everyone's going to back away into the Lamb's Respite from Mighty Bear to shut down over onto Nuke Duck, and Steelback has arrived. Double kill coming out. Cabochard jumping away onto Airwax, and Kasing is trying to cover his escape. Barrel comes down, and they'll all back off.
Yeah, beautiful setup. Kasing, can you please learn how to count to 2.5? This is the third consecutive Q that he's missed on a Temper Fate setup. This was a beautiful setup from Vitality. They sprung the trap, great Temper Fate, but then the follow-up was abysmal. It may have been the game here. Cabochard desperately trying to get to the wall here. Steelback going out of the pit to fight Cabochard. This is a really good move here. And Kasing has to disengage. What a counter from Roccat, but it was, the error was on Vitality's side.
Yeah. Once again, that was a disappointing fight. There's two-shot barrage, shot in the dark really to try and secure that one. Roccat will get away with it, and they'll all teleport back to base. Once again, Roccat just picking up this game off a mistake from Vitality.
Yeah, they don't want the Baron, they just want to use it to draw people close. Temper Fate was great, and then here, just... I think he's so focused on finding the Q and the connection to the wall that he's just not hitting Betsy, and Betsy survived that on like 10-15% HP. That's enough to have one slow from bar Q and an auto, which would have been enough to just take him down. So I think the priority seems to really be on the angling for Kasing as opposed to the timing, and it's costing them too much.
Really disappointing from a player you'd expect way more from.
I mean, I've gotten schooled so often by this guy. He's such a mechanically gifted player, such
Yeah.
a smart player in terms of timing, awareness, movement, but he just doesn't seem to be in his element on this bar pick.
Well, of any game and any caster to call them out, it would be you.
I mean, like any caster can call him out on that. That's a street temper chase in the queues. They're just trying to delve into the rationale, maybe why it's happening, as opposed to saying like
mechanics.
you're boosted.
Yeah, well, Vitality, they do have a lot of animals on their team, but none of them are helping them right now. Moral support in this game is not going to win you one. And Roccat with this Baron pushing down this mid lane. Well, the minions are gone for now, so he's going to take another minion stack. But look at the damage Steelback's getting onto this tower. The trap line at long range and Raze with the shields.
He's even saving some more traps because he can just hug one side. He doesn't need to cut everything off. Stepping in on every wave. I think we'll see Cabochard move up on this wave. But yeah, good zone. I love the zoning here from Roccat. Really smart, stepping forward at the right times.
Really well played. Roccat going to take that tower down and now move on to the inhibitor itself. Looks like they're gearing up to back away after this pickup, but Vitality, is so little they can do there. They step into the trap line, they're dead, so just couldn't respond. And Roccat, they know how to play from ahead.
Yeah, at this point, it's worth for Roccat to probably take down the Cloud Dragon, because it'll just indicate, or it'll guarantee that the Elder spawns as early as they can, while they still seem to have a lot of map control. If they're afraid of Vitality still playing towards their mid-game spike, Apex a little early.
They're not playing.
Their next game, guys.
Soon. Don't worry about it. Anyway.
It's like the weirdest time to have a unicorn.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's going on? It's like a fire
play.
It's just like a fire drill. Do we need to get out of the building? Why are the crowd going up?
We're just being tested.
Yeah.
Like
Anyways, Elder Dragon.
yeah.
Vitality. Yeah, they could maybe. That's maybe their one ticket back into the game. Well, when is that Cloud Dragon going to spawn? Anyways, this is next Dragon Cloud. It's still a while away.
Yeah. I can say with confidence over 2 minutes.
Over 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Definitely take that out as soon as you can, I think.
To try and get that spawn. But Roccat are going to siege up the top tower. Like, these towers are just made out of paper. Like, you don't even really need the trap line at this point. No one's really going to defend it from Vitality, and you can just stand there and take the tower
Just a habit at this point for Steelback.
Yeah. I mean, he's got the traps to spare, right? Like, they're coming off cooldown so quickly. Mighty Bear's going to pick a little damage onto Airwax and jumps back in, so it takes a little bit more. He's down to half already. Kasing, again, not connecting any Cosmic Binding. I've got to say, those cues from Kasing have been more like comic bindings this game, to be honest. But,
It's a good ulti.
Played onto Steelback. Can they capitalize? Is the TP into top lane?
Raze always
the tower.
steps forward too. At this point, you almost need to just temper fade Raze plus somebody else. Nuktuk is having issues dealing with Parang though.
Oh, Glacial Path, he'll take it to safety. Parang will just let him go for now. There's the trap line again. Nice spacing out from Steelback. Will be helping my OCD, but forcing Vitality back. Kasing looking off to the side, but
Parang's probably going to TP on a minion here. He's basing, but doesn't really coincide with the push, so a little bit late. We'll need to wait for maybe next wave.
there's one coming, maybe another 10 seconds, but he can TP to that minion that's being hit by the tower. That tower is so low though. Like Vitality, if they're going to pull the trigger, they have to do it on this push or just concede the in-hit.
Temper Fate is down, Frozen Tomb is down, so I think this is going to be it.
Yeah, not a lot of tools really for Vitality to work with. He's in the hole.
Yeah, there we go. Invulnerable minion, tower being sieged. Counter threat here from Vitality.
It's going to be the engage, but Nuktuk instantly evaporates. Mighty Bear is still staying alive. He managed to chunk down Steelback, but he has the help from his team to take him out. There's the double kill for Steelback, and look at the regen as well. There's no way they can take him out. Parang and Airwax are keeping everyone Vitality occupied, and that's just allowing the triple kill for Steelback. He's going to find the next one onto Cavashot, and this is just going to straight up be the clean ace. Another quadra kill for Steelback.
Yeah, another quadra kill for Steelback here, enabled by his team, but what a stellar performance in both games here, and finally they break the ties. Roccat finally go 2-0.
This is the 2-0 now coming out from Roccat. Finally they find it over Vitality, and Vitality handed their first full loss.
Yeah.
Well played.
Jumping out of their seats. They kind of felt it coming though, always in control of the second game. Not so much the first game. Roccat had to struggle really. A tie would have been fair, ironically. But yeah, both teams here have some things to work on, but Roccat definitely coming out as the better team.
But still, different from game one. Roccat, yes, it was another like small throw from Vitality, but they were more in control of this game. And even though there was those two gangs coming in from Vitality onto Steelback, they didn't shut him down. He was farming for like 25 minutes. And as soon as he got into the fight, he just taught everyone a new one. And what could Vitality do? That last fight was a 5-0.
Mighty Bear still getting used to the handshakes.
Yeah.
Such a jolly guy, so I don't think that was intentional at all. It's just, I mean, we gotta criticize where we gotta criticize. The Cosmic Bindings did not connect on the Tempered Fates, but other than that, there wasn't any plays linked to it though. Even if they connected, I feel like the TPs could have been synced up a little better. Roccat finally realized, or maybe were forced to realize, that they need a little bit more engaged in their draft. So Airwax a lot more present in this game as opposed to the Kindred game he ran. And I like what comp they built here. Very good meta comp on 6-11 by Roccat, and the Janna pick is a little bit weaker on the tier list, but it works when you play around such a good player like Steelback in these fights. Everybody's working together to make him shine. Yeah,
Roccat, it was very clear they knew exactly what to do. Once they were ahead, once they were in those fights, once they were in everything that they needed to do, and yeah, pretty much that's the tale of the game, really. Steelback, two great performances on Caitlyn, sieged well, and Vitality just couldn't fire back. First game was obviously that big mistake, which resulted in the Baron. Second game was an accumulation of smaller mistakes.
Yeah, neither of the Quadra kills are indicative of his performance, in my opinion. It's like they were both kind of fights that were already won and then resulted into a Quadra.
Yeah.
But it's just his ability to farm safely a lot of the times, come back from a 0-2 start, completely unfazed in this game, and just his positioning in the first game, especially in the later game team fights, was stellar. Steelback played well. Betsy just did a lot of work too, you know, so much damage dealt. Let's see if we can get the damage graphs here. Overall, Roccat worked as a team.
Yep, pretty much. That is the story of it. And it's just surprising, really, to see Vitality come in, get those 3 ties, and then immediately get handed a loss on their 4th day of games. So, yeah, Roccat, though, looking very good, standing up to the best of the teams and now taking that 2-0 over Vitality.
Yeah, it also shows you the kind of the system that we're running here. Roccat just have now got as many points.
Got good.
They got good, and they got as many points in one single game day as they had the entire season so far, you know?
Yeah.
3 ties gets you 3 points, just a single victory, 2-0, clean cut. Also 3 points. They're now, you know, doubling what they've gathered together and getting closer to the leaderboard.
Yeah, working their way up, and it's just so interesting seeing like the teams and expectations for the teams change as we've gone on. I want to take a look at the final fight that happened in that game specifically, and it was just getting rolled over, honestly. Like, Vitality had to pull the trigger at some point, and they chose this time,
They pulled the trigger right before Nuktuk's ulti was available too, so he just instantly got splat in the background, then Tempered Fate connected, but it was only on Steelback, and everybody kind of fans out away from him. He takes the Tempered Fate, and then they step forward for the zone. We see Raze continuously stepping forward. Betsy kind of goes untouched because everybody, including ourselves, are talking about Steelback, but this is still a late-game victor with access to a lot of farm, and he was dealing plenty of damage. Look, see, damage dealt to champions. Like, he was...
A lot of damage.
Yeah, it was just under Steelback, but he was still pulling his weight there, dealing about as much damage as the highest member on the Vitality squad, and that was actually the Kindred.
Yeah.
So Vitality could not get damage in from Lissandra and Maokai, and that's something we talked about in Champs League 2, mid-game spike, but after that, not really working. If you then fall behind in the mid-game, really hard to make this roster work unless you get those double teleports rolling, and they didn't.
No, they really didn't. They couldn't really put the pressure down in that mid-game. That was a massive problem for them. But still, 2-0 over Roccat today for Roccat. But either way, we're going to send it over to Quickshot, who is sitting by with Airwax.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Good cast on the day. I am sitting here with Airwax. First of all, congratulations on your first 2-0 of summer. Game 2 was very clean, but I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about Game 1. How is it you guys managed to come back? What was it that allowed you to actually win that game?
Well, we had a pretty good comp for late game. We played the same yesterday, I think, or almost the same. And we just knew that late game we are unstoppable, so we just farmed for late, and that's how we came back.
So you farmed for late, but it looked a little scary. Vitality got that Baron in about 26 minutes, despite you guys getting some kills after. What was the team comms like, you know, knowing that your opponents had Baron and now you've got to stall and slow down? Is it quite scary?
It wasn't scary because we had good late game champion. That's why we weren't scared. Like, we knew that we were going to win late game, so we weren't scared at all. I think we were confident.
It definitely showed through. You guys held your nerve, won the game. You've done that a lot already in summer. We've said it on the caster desk a few times that Roccat are not particularly good in the early game. Is that something that you think is a fair assessment of the team?
Yeah, I agree, totally. My level right now is not the best, and that's probably why we don't have the greatest early game right now. If I catch up, I think we can be the best team in EU.
That's a really good, honest statement if you can catch up. So if it's, sort of on you, how is the rest of the team performing? I asked a question just before we came on about how you guys adapt to a new patch. A lot more change in everyone else's lanes. So how is it that Roccat approached 6.11 coming into this week?
We just had a team meeting, talked about the nerfs, Vladimir, Swain, etc. And we just tried in scrims, and it went pretty well with the champions we played, and that's why we played them.
Well, it seems to work out for you guys. Congratulations on the victory. Sitting pretty comfortable now in the standings. You just made a statement, if you can improve your level, you feel you can be the best in Europe. What's your opinion on the overall strength of teams in Europe? Because you've seen some mixed results over the last 2 weeks of games.
I think U is not good at all at the moment.
Ooh, do you want to expand a little bit on that one? Why not?
I think except G2 and Fnatic, the rest is not really good right now.
Okay, well, listen, you said it yourself. If you can improve your level, maybe you can also step up for Roccat. Look, congratulations on the win. Congratulations on the 2-0, and we'll send you back to your team in a moment. For now, we're going to head back over to the casters to round up the player of the game.
Thank you very much, Quick Shot. And that was a bold statement coming out there.
It's also a beautiful transition, swooping.
It was, yes.
Great camera work.
Here we are. But we are back for player of the game. And drum roll, it's going to be Steelback.
Yeah, it's going to be Steelback again. I kind of just want to keep touching on what we talked about there, though, about just Europe not being good right now. I think we need to delve a little bit deeper into that statement. I had this discussion earlier with Deficio too. Europe generally doesn't do well at starter splits. Also, a lot of these teams over in North America that are being praised right now, or NA over EU, had a long, not excessive, just intensive boot camps over in Korea, for example. So that means they're not really working on the same basics that Europe's working on right now. Let it be no excuse. I think European teams should have made those boot camps as well. But before we're going to call Europe utter trash, I think we want to wait until like week 5 and 6, and especially gearing towards playoffs, because then obviously maybe some of these teams that went on very intensive training schedules may get a little burnt out. The statement still stands. Right now, Europe is showing a lower level, but I don't think it will be the end-all, be-all. But it's interesting to see that even the Euro players agree, because usually they're like, nah, it's not that bad. We're still working
on it. International competition, and it's just like, maybe. But no, it's still a very interesting topic. I personally believe as well we need a couple more weeks to really see where everyone settles. Everyone is still learning the patch. Everyone's still learning going into these couple new teams as well. People are still trying to figure out like what's good. As you mentioned, like Champions Select, for example, still people are figuring out where like Zyra, for example, fits in. So
I do think NA does have a leg up over on Europe in just the average level of gameplay there and how well prepared it came. So props for a lot of those teams just putting a little bit more work. Going back to what happened in this game, Steelback, I think we can look again at some of the kills that he made. And this was one of the examples of how Vitality also lost, the setup. Just didn't quite get the double connect there on the Q. And then Steelback swoops in. Guess what? He's untouched. Not that hard to finish this one off, but you know what? We got to praise him for the easy ones too.
You can see the setup as well from his team. It was just like, there you go, have this kill. But it was also like the headshot being lined up. But I think the other fights as well kind of demonstrated that point. It was pretty much what we were talking in game 1. It was pretty much the same story, and it was almost the same composition where team was setting him up, and he was just knocking them down one by one.
He was knocking the pins down, but for this game, it was mostly Vitality, I think, just failing to play to their composition strength and maybe slightly being outdrafted, but I think the draft relied very heavily on to getting a 2v2 getting the bar earlier in the game, because imagine if Kasing could start practicing these tempered fake Qs a little earlier in the game. Maybe that's a factor they really weren't thinking about. Nevertheless, game and the series ended on 2-0 for Roccat.
Yeah, definitely felt they were a little lacking in that game. But either way, while Roccat and Vitality are done for the week, there's more LCS coming your way in just a few minutes. It's Giants versus Unicorns of Love, so stay with us.
Because we're staying.
We're staying. Yeah, we're not going anywhere.
Where are they?
Away to that tower. Alex is going to surely fall. Finally goes down to the ultimate. In fact, that was actually Razor. Now instead he falls. Well, Nuke Dog comes in. Rhea is going to finish off Betsy. Surely he's going to back off, and finally he goes down. Nuke Dog will find the ice shot for the kill. Everyone's going to back away into the Lamb's respite from Mighty Better. Shut down over onto Nuke Dog. Harang and Airwax are keeping everyone Vitality occupied, and that just allowing the triple kill for Steelback. He's going to find the next one onto Cabashot, and this is just going to straight up be the clean ace. Another quadra kill for Steelback.
Welcome back to the LCS studio in Berlin, Germany. Next up on our stage is the best of two clash between Giants and the Unicorns of Love. There's a lot of fans out here in force.
You would think with the introduction of Schalke 04 to like a German-based League of Legends Liga, they would have the biggest hooligans, but it seems like the Unicorns come out in full force, even when it's not their game. They're being rowdy already, so definitely like the support.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to hear, and even through those headsets, I'm sure they could hear that one. But
I mean, it's hard to miss these guys. They're literally standing in the middle of the stage.
Also dressed in pink, doing a great job here today. Great to hear from those guys. But as the teams get into picks and bans, let's run down the rosters real quick. So starting on the blue side of the Rift, in Game 1, we have Giants. In the top lane will be Smitty, Jungle Maxlaw, mid lane Knight, ADC Sunstar, support Hustlin, and Coach Lozar.
Yeah, Giants going up against the crowd favorite here. Massively considered the underdog. Still looking for their first win, be it game or match or series, whichever you want to call it. Giants haven't won a single match of League of Legends so far, so they're looking for redemption, and it's definitely going to be this match. Unicorns look weak. They're pretty high in the standings, but they leave a lot to be desired, and Giants, it may be the game for them to take it home.
I mean, that's pretty much it, right? Like, if you're going to pick up a win here against any team, it's going to be against Unicorns. To be fair, they've had a strong strength of schedule so far, but it's really important now to try and get these wins early on into the season, because later on it will be tough.
This will be a gauge for how good Giants is as a team, how well they've developed the fundamentals, as well as a precursor to what could be a match that decides, 7th spot, 8th spot, relegations or not, seeding going into relegations. That is something these organizations have to sadly already start thinking about.
Yeah, because maybe some of these players, well, we've seen like some shining lights on that team. Like Knight has done okay in his matchups, has been against very difficult matchups. In the bot lane, Sunstar has made some very questionable decisions. And I don't think that was determined by who was he playing against. It was just kind of
a lot of it is communications. Right? These guys have solid basics of the game. That individually they're not bad players, but the team play is not there. The communication is not there. Yes, they had a really tough strength of schedule. Let's just repeat again. G2 Esports, H2K, Fnatic, and now they're finally playing against the Unicorns of Love. And this is the first match where you're like, maybe Giants, 2-0 wouldn't be the biggest surprise in the world. I think it would still be unexpected. A 1-1 is definitely something you could get out of this matchup. The other ones a lot rougher for the Giants.
Yeah, it's been a tough journey for Giants, but yeah, really this game and this series, this set, maybe they can show what they're made of. But yeah, it's not really been like a lot of individual mistakes though. I feel like the team as a whole has been kind of making some problems, but they still have like had good moments where the team fights have been pretty strong, getting like maybe later into the game, but often they've kind of fallen by the wayside before really getting there.
Yeah, the biggest problem is just it seems that Sunstar is not on the same page when he needs to arrive at these team fights. Very often they're fighting when he's in base, running back to the fight, joins a little bit late, falls behind in CS in lane, so you have no pressure, and it's so hard to play without pressure. It's so hard for any individual good player to shine sometimes on these lower tier teams because he has to do double the work. A good player on a good team can shine. A good player on a bad team has to kind of overcompensate, and he will develop bad habits too, and maybe not be able to capitalize on every play either because there's just simply no backup, or he doesn't have the faith anymore, and then things start spiraling downwards.
Yeah, it's interesting because we're almost getting a lineup which is very similar to the last Giants lineup, where like the guy in the mid lane is carrying a lot of the weight, but we'll see as we get into game. And on the opposite side though, it is the Unicorns of Love, who, as you mentioned, appear to be the crowd favorites here, just a little bit. Top lane Chachi, jungle Move, mid lane Exile, ADC Veritas, support Hillisang, and of course their coach Sheepy.
Yeah, Move and Exile, definitely two players you want to talk about. They're enjoying the crowd cheers right now. They played a very complex 1-3-1 composition that actually looked like they were pulling it off for the majority of the time, but then the stage nerves got to this guy on your screen, Exile right there, with the Yasuo. He just kept going for fights he didn't need to take. There wasn't any cross-map potential. The whole 1-3-1 strategy started falling down, and Unicorns went back to kind of their old self, stuck in the chaos, stuck in kind of improper gameplay. But there was a beacon of hope for a very short time.
There was. They've also tried a lot of different things. We saw the Yasuo, we saw Chachi bust out the Alawi. We've seen all these different picks come out from the Unicorns. I'm not sure if they're just trying to live up to what the Unicorns used to be which was, you know, these crazy picks and try and make them work, the Shakos and the Udias and all of that type of stuff. But sometimes you don't need to go crazy. You can just play what works, you know?
Definitely look for comfort picks if you can. And this may be the time, Pulsey, that we finally get the Ilawi coming out.
That would be the dream, at least for me. Because we've had 2 so far, and I actually had one on stream, earlier today from, I believe, Wonder. So, come on, Unicorns, don't fail me now.
We also have Maxlor chanting along with the Unicorns chant in chat in the game lobby. We're about 30 seconds out, maybe a minute, guys, before we can get there. He's spamming out Unicorns, Unicorns. All players are in the lobby. I just add a couple of safety 20 seconds just in case, but it looks like it won't be needed. We're heading into Champ Select, Unicorns versus the Giants. Let's get this show on the road.
Let's go. Okay, getting into the Champion Select here. And looking at those first couple bands coming through. Man, the crowd is already hyping Champion Select. I want to see what they do when we're in game and
well, they're
people
going to
start
scream.
dying.
At this point, they're going to scream regardless. It's like, oh,
That's
Summoner's
true.
Rift, Tower.
I mean, I'll be honest, it's about pacing, right? You want to make sure that you scream at the hype moments, but we do have those bands now coming through. It will be LeBlanc and Trundle coming out from Giant, so taking that away from the Flex and also away from Exile in the mid lane. Fizz also aimed at Knight, so taking that one away, and the Rise.
Yeah, very often in these kind of lower tier games, you just want to remove the possibility of individuals single-handedly carrying the game, and that's why picks like Trundle taking off here. Exile's LeBlanc that he did so well on last week, taking off the table, but we still have to give attention to the generic OP mid lane picks.
Sure.
So this last ban may very well be a Vladimir on the side of Unicorns as well. Wouldn't be all too surprising.
Yeah, not at all. Vlad and Rise seem to be the go-to bands right now for these teams, and Braum was the final one actually coming out from Giants, taking that away from Hillisang's pool. Last band's going to be Sip coming in from Unicorns, so...
A lackluster Sivir from Sunstar still being targeted, leaving open to Vladimir. This is questionable. Let's see if Giants can play this Vladimir and bring it home.
We've seen lots of interesting picks go into the Vladimir, but he has a really oppressive laning phase, which is difficult to play around. First 2 pickups coming in from the Unicorns will be Caitlyn and Maokai, so playing more meta right here. We're not going to see the Ilawi this game.
Ooh. I like thinking about drafts like this and be okay, so you have 2 champions that do very well in team fights that can also kite the Vladimir. Great, but I wonder if what happens if Giants, and this is almost too hypothetical, draft like super winning lane, so they get like an Echo early that can challenge the Maokai in terms of push. Vladimir can push in a lot of lanes in the mid lane, and then you go for like an Ashe plus a range support to deal with the Caitlyn, and then suddenly you can just snowball all over Unicorns of Love lineup.
Let's see if that is the case in this game. Next 2 pickups from Giants will be Nidalee out for the jungle and Gragas as the flex, but we'll be going to top lane this time since we've had mid and jungle picked up.
Still a more oppressive top laner. Gragas should control the wave and push in Maokai early. He won't make it into solo kill 1v1, but he can set up for a good jungle game for sure.
He will indeed. So Giants have their first 3 picks of this Champion Select, looking towards Unicorns of Love now, and their next 2 pickups. Support still available, jungle and mid lane. May even leave support till last. We see more and more teams do that now. And what will it be? Lots still available in the jungle. Grave, Kindred, Rek'Sai.
I mean, the opposite of Rek'Sai, they're playing double tank, which means they'll need a lot of additional damage from the mid lane, and that almost has to be done a Victor, I feel, to really get to the high damage output. Kind of like what Roccat was pulling off. Caitlyn Karma, incredibly oppressive lane. But if the Caitlyn somehow falls behind, tricky.
Okay, it's going to be Rek'Sai and Karma. A lot of excitement for that Karma pickup coming in here. And Unicorns will take that one away. So, could be flexed, but still waiting on a mid lane pick, most likely. And looking towards what Giant going to pick up now. They use an ADC and a support. Sunstar, I feel, has been pulled out a lot. I think a lot of decision making, but
I don't like the Jhin.
No.
Just for exact reasons that you were to mention and expand on as I interrupted you right there. But yeah, if he's getting caught all the time, having a champion that has to stand still and just like ultimate, it seems to be very easy for him to get caught out. I like the Ashe a lot more.
Indeed, he can play a little further from range and of course set up fights with his ultimate. And that was the support as well from Hustlin. We've seen actually Hustlin default to Nautilus a lot of the time. It's kind of his pick.
That was started week 1, though he hasn't really brought it back week 2, realizing that it was a bit too much like paper, too little impact. Conditional engage is better, the ones where you can actually opt in whether you follow up or not. going for the Nami lane.
Yeah.
I think it can definitely hold its own against Karma Caitlyn if you play correctly.
Crowd going crazy for Draven Ori, but Hillerstein does that every time. It's like playing homage. But the pickup will be Yasuo. Back for Exile. Picked this yesterday, in fact, and going to give it another shot.
It's actually really cute. Hillerstein always does it for his girlfriend.
Yeah.
I think her name is Dory, that's why. So it's very endearing.
Not Dravori.
Not Dravori, no. It's short.
It's short.
Dory
yeah,
is short for Dravori.
Yeah, so Yasuo coming out once again and coming up against this Vladimir will be
Yeah.
an interesting match.
Not a fan here, Pulse.
No? Why is that,
No.
Crappo? Explain to me.
I mean, Yasuo, I think just gets hard countered by Exhaust for one. Exhaust Yasuo wasn't really that great to watch because the damage at the end of the ulti animation for Yasuo, which means it's the easiest exhaust for supports live, and then there's just simply a lack of damage on the side of Unicorns. They really need to snowball. It's snowball or bust for them.
Yeah, pretty much. Get into that mid game and hopefully the laning phase has gone well, because otherwise Vladimir is just going to scale up and just murder your entire team. And Giants do not have any problems getting into a fight with Gragas, Ashe coming into this lineup as well. And Nami even getting into this one. But before we head into game, guys, jump on Twitter and tweet at LOLesports using the hashtags GIAWin and hashtag UOLWin. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of tweets coming specifically from this crowd for the Unicorns coming into this game. But get in on that and we'll be checking in later into this game. But we will be heading now onto the Rift. Our second series here in the studio will be Giants Gaming up against the Unicorns of Love. What are they going to be doing in this game? They're going to be heading off the spawn pad and heading into their jungle. A lot of hype for this one. And
a lot of hype as I spill half my water over my shirt.
That is unfortunate. At least it's something that won't stay in Crepper, so hopefully it will dry by the time we're back on camera.
Hoping for a long game here.
Yep. Well, at least it's not the worst color. Wearing what, purple today, so.
No wet t-shirt contest today, sadly.
Oh, maybe it was it was intentional.
Oops, I'm not.
Oops.
You know how to happen, spilling water again all over myself.
Why are you putting it over your hair, Crepper? Yeah, so Exile walking into this mid lane here. Knight's going to go onto the bottom side, and just wards are coming out. Of course, we can still have a lane swap. We saw that in the first game where Roccat were just chilling on that side of the map and then swapping up a little bit later, depending on what they wanted to do. But
Hillerstein aware of having to snowball too early, ignite on this Karma pick. Can be used to reduce the healing from Vladimir, so it has at least influence in combat. Swapping away this Maokai from the Gragas I think would be wise for the Unicorns. But at the same time, getting more experience funneled early into the AD carry
Minions have spawned.
could be dangerous if the support roams, but at least they're not going to be roaming and going to be keeping him down.
Yep. Very true. Top lane, Veritas is going up there with Hillerstein.
Still on the Unicorns.
Yep, still on
You would
Unicorns.
forget sometimes.
Exile into this mid lane as well. So, sitting in this bush right now. Actually going to head out onto this ward, so now Giants have that knowledge. Going to ping it out. And Exile going to start off his jungle as well. So, fairly standard starts up here. I'm just going to see Smitty up there try and get some of that farm.
You know what, Pulse?
Walker Repo.
I'm getting a little tired of lane swaps.
Yeah.
And I used to love lane swaps.
Look at this aggression from
There we go.
Gonna be getting him under this tower. Thunderlord proc as well. Look at the damage. What
That's
a play.
But that's actually a big play.
Yeah.
Like, he puts so much advantage on the side of Move, who's going untouched. Maxwell right now has to start doing Raptors, which is significantly harder than Wolves very early.
Maxwell versus
Yeah, he's struggling.
this is the chicken.
Like, he has to group
My
with
money's
his-
on the chicken.
Let's go, chicken.
Oh, Max Law.
Imagine if he dies. He's got it, though.
He's got it. He's good. I think. Yep, last spear.
Oh, he canceled his auto attack. Imagine if you die on stage by canceling your auto.
And we saw the whole trade as well.
This also means if Hilsang actually uses Ignite, he could have not done that.
Yeah.
If Hilsang ignited Maxwell, he probably could have not survived that.
That's true. But couldn't have predicted strength of the Raptor coming out there. Still push into the lane. Move is going to be in the jungle as well. Mid lane trade onto Knight. Exile already
minions.
getting aggressive and he's going to put so much damage down onto Knight as he's trying to retreat. Exile was getting punished by those caster minions there.
Yeah, very dangerous to go in without the wind wall. Just have to block any projectiles. You always lose the back end of that trade. And obviously, a rough first start here for the Giants lineup because their jungler is one that relies so heavily on outpacing and out-farming his opponent. And he's just now, at 3 minutes 20, starting his second camp in the game.
Yeah, it's not looking good. He's going to have to smite that one away and try and get some health back. But yeah, he's level 2 compared to the level 3 of Move. He is way ahead in equal tempo. In the top lane, though, Unicorns are going to carry on pushing. Most likely give this one over to Chachi. Bring the spooky Maokai skin. No cats today. Exile's going to jump in here, get the easy knock-up.
Yeah, he's suffering though, behind in CS again, so he goes for these very aggressive trade patterns. But Doran's shield here allocation from Knight makes it so that he's comfortable in this matchup, so this counter pick not really working out just yet.
This has been a very entertaining laning phase. But Exile,
I'm just trying to fit, how does it fit with Unicorns?
I don't really know, but I'm enjoying it regardless. I don't think it has to make sense, really.
Well, it definitely doesn't.
No. Exile turning this mid lane. I want to see if he's got any of the sick Yasuo techniques where you do the air blade. I want to see someone do that. But right now it's going to be tossing out.
Airblade was like a fancy name for like a vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, the
Dyson Airblade.
Yeah. It's going to be maybe more exciting than that. I don't know, maybe you find vacuum cleaners very exciting. I'm not judging.
There was that one guy that did an AMA on Reddit. It was like a vacuum cleaning and repairman. It was one of the most fascinating AMAs ever.
Wow. I didn't catch that. Maybe I need to go back and
go back in time.
Yeah. Well, Knight's going to be walking up and trying to push back the Dyson Airblade.
Oh, he's a little frozen. He's a little frozen right there in the lane. So it worked yesterday a little bit. I'm still behind the CS, but definitely Knight watched that game. Like, yeah, I think I can do this better. Picks up the door and shield, and Exile on the pick, the cornerstone of this composition. You know, flash in from Visit Chachi, Q, 3 members, knock up. You know, move, flash, double knock up, and then the Yasuo ulti to follow up for maybe negative damage at this point. Yeah. Exile needs to get back into the game.
Really has gone for those double Darren's Blaze just to try and stop the bleeding in mid lane, but he's so far behind in CS right now.
Yeah, and Blaze generally don't do that well at stopping bleeding.
That's true.
More often than not, they already cause.
Well, I mean, right now, Exile's really just trying to suck up this farm in the mid lane.
Yeah.
But he's struggling to do so, so he's stuck. But Chachi, he's in the bot lane. He's level 2 versus Smitty J, who's level 5 right now.
Hell happened to this lane swap?
Yeah, I actually don't know. 30 farms of 4.
Wait, how does he have 4
What
CS?
happened?
How did we miss this?
Yeah.
All
right, we're going back in time. All right.
I'm really going back in time and going double speed here.
Yeah, let's see. 6 farm. Yeah, Chachi is not in good shape. Exile's just seeing if there's anything in the jungle. We're not hitting any targets, so we'll see what's up with that one. And double Darren's picked up by Chachi here. Top lane still is 2 versus 2. Got these Australia lanes on the go. Maxwell is able to get away at this pink ward, so still big advantages for Giants.
Alright, I just watched it again in 8th speed. It's actually bounced first wave because he was behind the tempo. He ran into the freezing bottom lane of Smitty J because the lanes were matched up and they were like counter swap, and he just couldn't get access to the wave. Smitty J was just keeping him away, and there was some jungle presence too, so Visit actually just really ran around and did nothing for a while, hoping that the wave would eventually push out. He would deny so much farm here. That's kind of the downside of matching, you know, top laner versus top laner in this phase of the game and sticking on a tower each as opposed to the counter swap. So Giants definitely with a big punish there, and 2 key members falling behind already on the side of Unicorns of Love.
Hey, you said it in Champion Select, like if Unicorns of Love don't get snowballing in the early mid game, then good luck.
It does come at a cost for Sunstar. You always have a price to pay. When you get 1 member ahead, usually it means on the other side you're the opposite member falls, and that's in this case the AD carry.
Exile going to jump.
Knight is fine here, by the way.
Yeah, he's going to jump away with Hemo Plague and back on out. So eventually Vlad will out-sustain the Yasuo unless he kills them all in one go. So that's kind of an issue right here.
By eventually, we mean immediately.
Yeah, right now. In the top lane, Smitty J, he's just going to town on to Chachi, but he did use a flash for that.
That's
a bit weird because he wasn't really in kill range for a top lane Gragas.
That is still a Maokai, so both teams definitely showing why they're lower in our expectations here. Questionable decision making. Maxwell really wants to drive this home. Design as much farm as he can.
Nice sidestep, and gets the takedown, which is not a takedown onto Chachi, but he's able to now zone him away and help helps Smitty take the tower. But there's only one lonely Castle minion there.
Now there's one thing that came with the price, and obviously that was Sunstar, and he fell behind. He obviously went for a high mobility setup too with the rush on the swiftness boots. Slightly worse on this patch too. And he's dropping in CS right now. He was a little bit somewhat even right now, but he can't challenge Caitlyn, and now he's getting roamed on by Move.
Smooth coming out from him and Hillasang. Sonsar's gonna get snared down. Soulflare comes up, not quite enough to finish him off. Smitty J into the fight. Gonna have to back off. Not really a fight for him right now. Chachi TP's in.
Why don't you
very
cancel
late.
that?
Yeah.
It's like Chachi doesn't want to have any farm. Look at the bot lane right now. It's going to slowly push out away from him. Just take a look over on your mini-map. That wave is arced right in front of the tower, which means the Unicorns of Love creeps will get there first, gently push it out and stack a massive wave that Smirjay can then go collect, collect fast start, get your 2 on the farm, and go up. This was a really bad TP from Visit Chachi.
He is not going to be a happy little tree in this game. 9 minutes in and he has 25 farm.
Yeah, look, Veritas now has to go push out that wave. It's an AD carry that has to walk up essentially for maybe 6-7 creeps. Maybe then the back end of the wave that comes out, but that's a huge loss in terms of catch-up. Look, this wave was parked in front of the Unicorns of Left Tower just a while ago. Veritas now has to patch up on a play that they initiated themselves, and that's the mark for me for a weak team. It's when they start a play and they don't see what's going to happen on the back end of it. They operate in the vacuum. Not one of those Dyson Airblades.
Exile down mid lane, and we've taken away this farm. But has a little bit of time to farm now. Well, Knight is not here, but there's so big CS advantages in the mid and top lane right now. At least Veritas is getting some farm for himself, and we can see what a fed Caitlyn can do with also 2 levels over Sunstar, but
yeah, and they're gonna look to like use this wave to siege. Siege is never gonna work, so Unicorns will probably come to the realization that's not gonna work, and they'll likely go for the dragon instead then, right after. So they're peeling off Visit Chachi too. They're actually going for a good old-fashioned bot lane party instead, but they want to cut their losses. But again, this is costing farm for their top laners. So yeah, they traded for an objective, but at one point when you funnel too little CS into your top laner, you may pay the price for this later on.
Bot lane tower is eventually going to go down now to Unicorns of Love. That's a TP out from Exile to stop the push from Smitty. So actually that's really nice, getting a lot of farm in the top lane to try and even up the mid lane.
Yeah, I like this solution from Unicorns.
Yeah. So
I think it's a good creative adaptation, but it still doesn't excuse the fault they made earlier. But I think this is one of the more creative ways to get out of this little trap they set for themselves. And now the goal is equal. There's the tower advantage on the side of Unicorns.
And move goes into the mid lane to clear out the rest of those minions. So how are we doing in terms of items? Knight's actually going to pick up the Exam Guard going up against Exile, Move and Veritas. So they're going for the Spirit Precision. Obviously in this game there's no big AP threats.
Maxwell finds out that his enemy jungler just took away the red buff.
Yep.
So Maxwell right now is catching up on Move, getting Scuttle Grab too. There's a lot of pink wards here on Giants, so fundamentals of vision definitely there. Yeah, Sunstar is just a little bit stuck right now.
I feel like that's the story of every game I see with Sunstar, and unfortunately...
Not his fault though. I mean, I don't think there's much to be done, because if you want to praise Smitty J for being at 45 CS, you got to praise Sunstar for being only down slightly over 25.
Yeah. It's difficult to spin it really. But Maxwell has been catching up as well, as you mentioned, overmove. He's now a level overmove, despite how the early game went for him. After Hillasang made that play onto him. Won't be able to get the steal on to Raptor mid lane. Hillasang is pushing up.
Yeah, it's because Unicorns just have a tendency to group up quite a large amount of times. You saw that play that was initiated on the bottom too, both Hillasang and Move showed up for a gank there on the animated carry that was already behind. Didn't pay off, and then Visit Chachi finishes his teleport.
And you see the trap max once again by Veritas. Very few Caitlyn players maxing the Q nowadays. And we'll be placing down that wall in the mid lane. So 12 minutes into this one, we have basically no advantage to either team in terms of gold, but that 1 tower advantage to the Unicorns of Love. And the first dragon is Cloud. We have the is the Cloud day for us, I feel, Crapper.
Yeah, well, a Cloud, very little silver lining for us in terms of dragon selection.
Yeah.
That's why teams kind of passed by the Dragon 2. Unicorns could have picked it up. They didn't really opt into that. We need to judge how are they going to execute the 1-3-1 composition, however. Yesterday, they had the fundamentals down. Good pressure on each lane. Backed out when they needed to. But then Exile kind of got into his own head and looked at himself. He's like, I got to be the MVP. I'm really one player of the game here. Started going for outplays and failed one after the other.
Arrow in the mid lane. Swing and a miss. It was, I'm not going to say that was a dodge, because Veritas was literally just like going for the minions and like, oh, an arrow, alright.
Yeah, that's
So-
actually a really good point that you make right there.
Uh-huh.
If you want to hit skill shots a lot more and you're starting as a player or even just like you're an experienced player, you want to coincide it with predictable events.
Yeah.
You know, so on lower elos that means predictable stage takes, but it's almost as easy as coinciding it when people kind of lock in the auto attack frame because it pauses them for a fraction of a second. When you predict that somebody's going to go, especially for range creeps,
Yeah.
it's a lot easier to see when people are just going to step in forward, go for a range creep. That's when you can really just predict an arrow in their face and you can work around those timings. You can also predict that when this guy goes through the range creep, that is when we're going to strike and everybody's on the same page.
You can see that when the health of the minion, of course, goes low, but it's slightly harder from a long range, of course, but when you're in laning phase, that definitely becomes a thing.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting small mechanics that we never really see and talk about, like contesting every minion and that type of stuff in laning phase, but something to kind of take for granted when you watch pro play.
It's a lot of these things, and then it becomes layers of decision making as well, where this guy is not walking here because of something the other guy could do, so essentially they don't do anything, but it's like a double mind game, right?
Yeah.
A whole reason of why there's no action on the bottom lane, why there's barely any 2v2 kills. I mean, one of the reasons is there's barely any 2v2s left in the game.
Right.
But there's not many. Yeah, that's a big one. Don't clear taps if you're support.
Yes.
Just accept that the wall is there, or he'll make you pay for it.
Yeah, you don't want to be taken down the wall, really. You're not a Titan. But taking a look at move, he's going to go for the Cloud, hoping the forecast for today is cloudy with a chance of Infernal. That would be great for unicorns. But he's going to make sure that he pushes this one along.
Yeah, he wants the sunshine that's behind the cloud.
That would be good. But then the next one happens to be Cloud as well. We'll see. It's we open up the present. And what's it going to be? Infernal! Yes. There you
That's
go.
it.
There's the
We
sunshine.
already saw that one.
Yeah.
Yep.
We predicted that.
This is where Disco Inferno starts playing in
Yeah.
the background. Sadly, we don't have the rights to that song.
Also no Victor in this game, so no disco
Yeah.
ball. Oh, Exile jumping onto Knight, going to get the ultimate as well. Last
Oh,
breath will
guess
get
what?
the arm penetration, but with a TP coming in, will be cancelled out from Smitty J. I believe Chachi got on top of him, and he'll carry on laning.
But it was enough to
Yeah.
kind of get
Assert his dominance.
the Yasuo
in
off
this-
his tail,
in
too.
this lane, yeah.
Yep.
Top lane, going to be tanks fighting against each other. You can see these intense mechanics as Hillesheim joins the fight. Going to be the ultimate burnt by Smitty, but move is coming down from the bottom side to cut him off.
I hate that tunnel. Like, why would you ever do that? Tunnel
Preemptive.
into a lane.
Yeah, meanwhile in the bottom lane, Exile's going to jump back onto Knight, charges up Ties of Blood, just dancing around him.
Yeah, that's what you want to do in this matchup. You want to go in, force the Ties of Blood to be casted, then go out, make it miss, go in again on the creep. Hopefully there's some creeps left here. Veritas takes a big spear. I heard it out because here's a collapse coming in. Looking at a big fight here, Pulse.
Yeah, he's going to be backing away.
Not looking at a big fight here, Pulse.
No, we are not Crepo, but Maxwell jumps over the wall. They're still within range where they could hit each other. So
Let's increase the tension in our voices.
We are indeed. There's a ward there, so Unicorns know where they are. They're pushing down the mid lane. Spear lands onto Exile. That's a lot of damage. But they are
arrow
getting
comes
the
in,
arrow
Exile.
onto Exile. He's dropping low. He's going to have to back up, but he has a Hemo Plague. He's going to die for certain. Good bubble onto Chachi. Knight comes into the volley, into the fray. First blood over to Knight. They will follow after with a volley as well.
And to many of the fans' dismay, it's actually Giants picking up first blood here. Fantastic arrow off screen from Sunstar. And the composition is catered all around enabling Exile with many knockups, but he's the first one to drop, just like yesterday.
Spear off to the side as well. So Giants completely zone him away from this tower. We'll take that tower down, evening up the tower total. And
The one Giants fan stuck in the herd of angry Unicorns fan. Yeah, I appreciate you.
oh, and now Giants will be back in the way. They will bounce back, I'm sure. So great arrow from
I mean, Exile is simply overextending. I mean, when everybody is watching you and you have Boom Ball available, that's just a mistake. You can't be that far up. If you are, you better be a really quick reactive player and have that wall ready for the arrow. So you could have been tracking the Ashe. So again, this is Exile, I think, getting caught in the moment, just like he did yesterday.
even just preemptive placing it down and backing off when it's worn off. But that will just result in the mid tower and also the kill, of course, to Giants. So that will accumulate into a 2,000 gold lead for them. So they are ahead in this game. That gold went over to the Knight. So we'll swing that over to his side against Exile. Exile is very much itemizing to fight against Knight.
Yeah, but so, I mean, Knight was rather itemizing correctly too with the Zonias. He was a Knight in Shining Armor. In that particular fight, you know, goes in, gets the combo off, and then turns golden.
He did indeed. That was what happened. Next dragon is Infernal, but going to be a little ways off that one. Trap line has been set up mid lane by Veritas. A little wonky again. I like the curve is fine, but the spacing is a little suspect to me. Exile spot lane doesn't land the Q, the Steel Tempest Tornado. Knight definitely has the upper hand in this lane now. He's gone a little bit ahead. Max Law clearing out this crab as well around Dragon area, but still a while until that one spawns.
And we're starting to see why Vladimir is such an oppressive pick overall, and why when you ask a lot of pro players about their opinion on this champion, they go, "Nice champ, by the way." Because he's such an annoying laning pattern. It's like you hit him once and suddenly he's full HP every single time.
When he's behind, he plays defensive. When he's ahead, he just dives you under tower, combos you, Sanguine pulls out, and there's like nothing you can do about it. Like your tower becomes the inner tower at that point, and then it's just like, well, what do I do now? And Knight definitely has the advantages in this lane up against Exile, so really hurting him. And we're not really seeing that snowball from Unicorns of Love that we were talking about in Champion Selects. And I just feel later on this game's going to get harder and harder unless Exile can find the outplay. Going to guess wrong.
Yeah. Brings in the Ghost here too in this matchup. You know, added mobility. Worst case, he goes for the turbo pool out of there. No creeps to chase for Knight, for Exile rather. Giants setting up preemptive vision control right here. They definitely want that Infernal on their side. Let's look at Vizicachi where he's at right now. He was down a lot early. He's catching up slowly, but still down the odd 40 CS there in the top lane, so that's a big gap.
And at this point, we will say goodbye to the Herald, who has returned to the Void.
He couldn't watch it anymore.
No, he was I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm done with this.
There's so much bloodshed, you know? One entire kill in 20 minutes. He's like, nah.
I can't deal with this.
This is European LCS. I'm not used to this.
Yep.
Usually I don't see a single kill all day.
Yeah.
Where is the excessive lane swapping?
I don't know. What is even going on in this game? It's a bloodbath. Oh, Move is on his way into the mid lane and or tunnel back in. You can see a lot of tunnels on his side of the map. He's been setting up that network. Sunstar is catching up in farm, but still not in the place he'd really want to be. But despite that, mid lane and top lane are still maintaining their gold advantages and their CS leads that they had from the laning phase, so they are still ahead. Chachi just being annoying and stopping the recall. But as we approach mid game, what do we need to see from Unicorns of Love? Because they don't have that stepping stone.
They need to
from the early game snowball.
Combine the pieces. Really, they need to get access to a multi-man knock-up, whether it's from Exile himself, Vizicachi's Q, or moves unburrow. And then obviously you need to combo that in the Yasuo and see that somebody dies. And I think they can't even get Knights into it because they won't be able to kill him. They'll probably get out of that. And Hustlin has a great exhaust, so it's going to be very hard, I feel, for the Unicorns to even get out of these team fights if they happen.
Even at this stage, it's like so hard to kill Knight. There's an arrow. Doesn't land once again. But still taking these pot shots. Max Law just going to pounce away, but Move will predict it right into the ultimate from Exile. With the wind wall coming up, and Knight comes in. Looking to disengage Veritas, takes a very risky route back to his team. Will net back to Move, takes a spear. It's going to go onto that Rek'Sai.
Yeah, good attempt of a pick-off, and Max Law doesn't drop, and more importantly, Vizicachi doesn't TP in at the start of the fight, which makes it so that Giants gain momentum. They now have rotation to mid that can be used to force the Unicorns to react. Then they'll likely path back to the Dragon. And a surprise arrow may happen, because right now for Giants it's down, but we've seen it so often. When people think Ash Arrow stays down forever, Sunstar may get access to it later.
Yeah, here comes the TP coming out from Exile. Oh, that was to the tower, so... Okay, he's not really going to get flank or anything. They can't.
No, he teleported on the tower instead of the ward behind, because he was so afraid of, you know, getting turned upon.
Chachi went very far forward. He's going to jump back into the fight onto Sunstar. There's the combo, but only lands onto one target. This is not looking like a good fight for Unicorns just yet. Giants is going to return with some damage and put more onto Move. There's a good Q coming out from the Yasuo, but Unicorns are so chunked out, and no one's really taking critical damage from Giants.
Later in the game, this may be enough when Veritas gets strong enough to single-handedly carry these fights, a la Steelback, but right now it wasn't enough. There's still a disengage coming out from Giants. But we're still in a point of the game where the base damages are high enough for some of these non-damage dealers to have an impact, you know, like the Rek'Sai, like the Maokai, but later on, it's going to get a lot harder for Unicorns to win fights like this.
Really interesting in this game, honestly. When I saw Unicorns of Love going up against Giants, I was expecting fight after fight after fight. Super sloppy and messy game where lots of kills are going down, but one kill in 23 minutes. And now there goes the Infernal going over to Unicorns, so that'll be the second Dragon for them.
Well, they could definitely use damage amplifiers in this game.
Yeah, for sure. Going to be weighing a lot on that Caitlyn to get snowballing in this game. Get some... Snowball's the wrong word. Get more farm. Mid lane, a wave clear coming out. Knight's gonna get... Oh, Veritas. Ultimate goes down on him from Sunstar. He's bounced all over the place. We'll have to back away. And Exile jumps in. Chachi will pick up the kill onto Hustler. Now Unicorns have to make their way out. Chachi's gonna be the sacrificial tree. And Exile still trying to escape, but he's not gonna escape from the Grag as body slam flash.
The surprise arrow, you just completely forget about it when you're sieging and it hits you in the face. Ironically, Veritas got saved by the tidal wave, canceling one of the best ultimates we've seen today there from Smitty J. Knock up, Veritas is going to fly into the enemy turret, but then flew straight into a tidal wave, saved him.
Yep. We have the jungle battle, and Move will come out ahead, get the smite down.
The crowd is loving it.
Yeah, that was good move by him. Oh, Maxwell over the wall. He's going to find one back. 88 gold over to him.
Yeah, if your smite's still up, the other guy just smited the other buff.
Yeah, maybe he missed and it goes down to very low, but alright, we're going to see that mid lane trade.
Yeah, so Knight's kind of posturing at the front of this fight here. Smitty J's, they're setting this up. Sunstar's communicating as the arrow. Look at Veritas. Knocked in. What a beautiful ulti here from Smitty J. Sadly gets cancelled, but then Exile commits too. They commit everything to kill Hustlin. They have to use the flash too, so much is used here. And good body slam. Smitty J really played this fight extraordinarily well.
Giants starting to get the upper hand a little bit in these fights. Coming down to Sunstar on those arrows, so really doing a lot this game. Knight has picked up the Proto Belt. Cool to see that on him.
Yeah, it's going to influence this matchup a lot, because while we were talking about how Exile was dancing in and out the range of Tides of Blood, Proto Belt is one of those influences. When you respect a certain amount of zone, Vladimir can surprise you by now dashing forward, getting the bolts off for more damage, and then suddenly shifting the entire scope of the battle. And then at one point, when you're behind in the trades, you can no longer challenge anymore either. You're closing the window for maybe an all-in. So, really cool item when used well.
Yeah, I'm seeing that a lot on Vladimir. Went for that immediately after the Zhonya's Hourglass. So we'll see what the next item from him is. Looks like it's going to be Rylai's coming out here. He is ahead in this game. There comes a TP out from Chachi. Sunstar has been located, and the tree is on the way, but Huston's just kind of flop away from him and back off. So with the top tower going down to Maxwell and Knight, and Unicorns aren't really getting anything from this. Now pushing down the mid lane.
They're going to pick up the middle tower, so that's definitely going to happen because they invested a teleport into it. Smitty J still stuck in the bottom lane. It's all about Giants getting back into the mid lane to defend, but they're actually going for an aggressive pincer.
Yeah, Smitty J is coming in. Arrow does not connect onto anyone. Smitty J over the wall, lands onto two. Veritas dropping low already. Human Plague is on top of him. Hustling coming in there. Knight picks up a kill onto Veritas. Ultimate in from Exile. It's not going to be enough to pick up a kill just yet. Move trying to get out of this fight as Sunstar is free to do everything he wants. Protobelt comes out, double kill to Knight. And Chachi's also going to be slaughtered here. Triple kill for Knight. 4-4-0. And Knight's turn to Baron.
Yeah, Knight picks up the triple kill, but it was all due to the setup of Smitty J here. Fantastic teleport, good timing, forced them into a bad decision too by pressing the sideways, and then he plays the perfect pinball machine with Veritas' body there. Fantastic play from the Giants. Fantastic pincer.
Yeah, Giants are very low here, but I mean, it's only Hillisang who's alive, so he's trying to line up the perfect Soul Flare for the steal. Not going to happen. Smites away by Maxlaw, and everyone will get out alive with that buff. Great fight by Giants, and he gained a lot from that. So let's see the start of it once again. Yeah,
so right here, teleport comes in. Knight doesn't get caught engaging too far. Arrow whiffs, but look at it hurting Veritas. And I don't know where he's positioning and why. He gets knocked around and just drops instantly. He's maybe done 2 all attacks in this fight. And then, yes, there's a 2-man ulti on Maxlore and Knight, but he pulls under it, and Exile just simply does not have the damage, and that is also something we talked about. Unicorns of Love, they need to be engaging these fights, finding out the squishies. Sunstar, despite having a deficit early in the game, went untouched, and he's dealing moderate amount of damage. Everybody on the side of Giants is dealing moderate amounts of damage.
I would say that Vlad is dealing more than the moderate amount of damage now. Triple big items have been picked up, 4, 0, and 3 on him. He is just absolutely huge. He's farming across the storm. And Unicorns of Love trying to defend on this tower, but the minion's just refusing to die. Knight's going to step up and just... This tower's basically gone now.
Yeah, a lot of moderate amount of damage in rapid succession.
Yes, yeah. That's very true for Giants in the last couple of fights. But Unicorns of Love do have those 2 dragons, but it's silver linings, I guess.
If it was like 80% extra 80 NAP, maybe. But
yeah, that would be very helpful.
Just the small 8, not going to be quite enough here for the Unicorns.
Not in this game. Bottom tower goes down. There's the one Giants fan. Super happy with that one going down. And yeah, like Giants are just all over Unicorns right now, making great use of this Baron buff.
Yeah, for Giants, this must feel great. Not only are you losing every game in the LCS so far, you walk here in the studio, the entire crowd's against you. And then Except that one guy.
Yeah.
Let's call him Bob.
Bob, okay.
All right, Bob's cheering for you. All right, Bob has multiplied.
He had. Fantastic.
Hang on. Hylissang gets thrown
He's
in.
gonna come in.
It's pop.
Hylissang is destroyed, and now Chachi will be chased after as well. Veritas trying to put a bit of damage down, but the tree is just completely dead. Knight's gonna come in there for the double kill. Veritas having to back off. Sunstar will slay him, and now Exile trying to escape from this, does block off the Tides of Blood. Move comes into the fight, but there's a 5 versus 2 under the tower. Double kill coming out from Sunstar, and Move is locked up when he's trying to burrow to safety. He will also fall for the triple kill in for Sunstar, and the 5-0 wipe.
An absolutely disgusting dive right there, following a good pickoff on the enemy support here. Giants take complete control of the game, and Unicorns of Love in game 2 will need to go back to the drawing board and reevaluate their choices in this draft, and especially how they want to cater playing around Exile in the mid lane with this Yasuo pick, because what was a counter pick got completely, in my opinion, dumpstered by Knight.
Yeah, 12-1 now, 2 inhibitors down. Giants in such a commanding position in this game now. 13,000 gold advantage, and Infernal Dragon is live, so most likely Giants will just pick that up before going back to base.
Yeah, and it would actually be fantastic to see at least some of the players on Giants if they can make this a 2-0. Unicorns coming in, and the standings were actually quite high. Middle of the pack, Giants dead last, 0 wins. But it can swing so quickly if you can take out your rival competitors as quickly as they take out Hylissang right here with a 2-0. Axor, the zoning spear. And they can just dive on Visit Chachi. Move is still in the base here. And yeah, Knight. We're going to see a Vladimir ban next game. There's almost no way around it.
I mean, that's first pick from Giants right there. And this was just closing out this one. 5 people under the tower. There's a couple nice things that happened for Exile. He can't go anywhere. Great bubble actually to interrupt the burrow from Move, and he was screwed either way, really. He would go right into Smitty J and Hustling regardless. But well played by Sansa, picking up 3 kills in that fight now. 4-0, 4 deaths not found, and stark contrast to a lot of the other games we've seen from Sunstar, getting caught out a lot, but not in this game.
Yeah, he was put behind yet again, this time by more of a strategic choice by Giants. They put all the advantages in Smitty J. For me, Smitty J paid that off in kind, winning some of the key fights. Right now, everybody's getting ahead, and there's crazy score lines.
Hustling feeding, though.
Hustle, yeah. 100% death participation.
Get that as
but he knows his place.
He does.
As a support, he's building the Mikhails. Serve.
Get in line, know your place. Able to clear out this minion wave for now, and like this by Veritas, he's leaving a gap open in the trap line. Oh, he's just filled it. It's like, go through here, and all group up for
it's
our
like
AoE.
one of those air traffic controllers on when they're getting to play this way, guys.
Come in here.
It's not a trap at all.
No, it's so difficult for Unicorns of Love to set up the wombo combo with Yasuo. I mean, like, you have to get a multi-man knockup from Rek'Sai, which is difficult. Chachi, again, will have to try and do the same. And here comes the arrow. The full-on engagement move is going to get locked down. Here's a double knockup from Exile. He'll be backing away. Triple man ultimate coming in from Knight. He'll be chunking them all back to base.
Triple man ulti, but no triple man death, sadly, because there's just not enough damage.
In
follow
quick
up
succession.
in rapid succession, so Knight's fine. But he can just try again.
Rip. Yeah,
and that's Hylissang.
It's very rare you see a Vladimir kill someone with Sanguine Pool, but there was nothing that Hylissang could do being slowed down. Move and Chachi are going to come in for one last hurrah, but we'll see if they can make it happen. Veritas is able to get all the damage down that he wants to, but it's really not enough at this point in the game. They're all being chased back. Smitty J will go down here, though. Knight will have to back off. He gets a lot of damage back from his Crimson Rush.
Yeah, it was a great wind wall by Exile. The inhibitor still dropped slightly over eager there by Smitty J. Did not realize all the projectiles were being blocked, but still, the conga line of minions is streaming in right now. Nobody can deal with Knight. The wall is down, and the Nexus will soon follow.
Yeah, Unicorns of Love trying to hold the line, but not going to happen, I don't feel. Or maybe going to jump back in. A lot of them are back in healthy positions. Knight's going to get chased down here right into Zonya's. Hustling, dropping low himself. We used the Mikhail to try and get away. Knight jumps back into the fight, gets the first kill, will be knocked up and taken down. There's the shutdown for Exile, and Unicorns of Love. Oh no, the minions! The super minions, can they clear in time? Solo! The minions finish off the Nexus. Giants take the game.
One of the most unexpected finish for the game. Quite an unexpected result in the grand scheme of things. Giants come out swinging, more proactive compositions, a lot of stronger lanes here. They put Sunstar behind early, but Smitty J with some fantastic flanks, pincers, and teleports, and some really great explosive casks.
Yeah, I think the most surprising thing for me was just the way it happened. It wasn't maybe as much of the result, because yes, Giants were the underdogs coming on into this game. But honestly, yeah, Unicorns of Love, there was very low action in this game between two teams I expected a lot more from in terms of just fighting all the time.
When the Herald opted out of the game, there was only 1 kill on the board.
Yeah, yeah, very true.
But they made it count.
They did, and it was well played by Giants. They had a lot of good fights in this game, and that's what we have praised Giants for.
Early game.
And early game, yeah, coming into this, getting those fights down. And this is what we were expecting, right? Like, if they are going to take any games, it will be now that they start having an easier strength of schedule. They played against a lot of the stronger teams here in Europe. And we can take a look at this composition here. Like the Vladimir first pick, most damage in the game by a long way. And it was kind of gifted over to them, because the last ban was Civ actually aims at Sunstar. So
yeah, I think it was almost a gift to Sunstar too, putting him on a utility AD carry like Ashe with actually greater impact. But I think we can also look at just what happened there in the mid lane, that team fight that resulted in the Baron, that really swung the game open too. This pincer right here. Keep your eyes on Smitty J and Veritas too. He's playing far too aggressive over a wall, and he just gets bopped in, and now Exile. Remember, we're talking about a composition that is catered around protecting 2 damage dealers, and one of those damage dealers will have to throw his face into the fight, which is Exile. That means that your Caitlyn has to play on the outskirts of the fight, like Steelback did fantastically well in Series 1 on this stream, but Veritas did the opposite. He was playing Caitlyn like a tank right there, but then he met an actual tank, and Smitty J threw him into the fight.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird game, but Unicorns of Love also trying to make the Yasuo work still. I'm still not sure how I feel about it, especially in this composition. It was so difficult to access the power.
I am sure. I don't like it. I don't think it's a counter pick to Vladimir in lane because of the laning pattern of Vladimir. It just pushes you up, sustains too much. Yes, you can get a kill when your jungler gets there, but move wasn't helping out. There was not a single time was there a proactive play from the Unicorns where they went for a knock-up synergistic engage. Wasn't there. Fizzychachi's teleports were horrible. He fell behind very much so early game, so across the board there were so many problems for the Unicorns.
I mean, yeah, it was also starting from like minute 1 really when they had the lane swell as you were just talking about, because yeah, top lane was so far behind. Mid lane, minute the Yasuo wasn't working.
If we go back to minute 1, they had a massive advantage though. Remember when Hildesang went for that invade?
That's true, actually, onto Maxwell, yeah. And we never really saw the results of that later into the game.
They were kind of hidden by some of these teleport plays where we were like, okay, this guy's getting back in the game. Suddenly Maxwell went from being a full level down to a full level ahead because Unicorns were not using their advantages efficiently. And that is something we have criticized them for in the past when they just didn't understand how to capitalize on some of their leads. Giants, they've had great early games. They failed to kind of capitalize on their own advantages a little bit, but not to the extent that Unicorns fumbled this game.
Also good to see Giants' first win overall, at least in a game. See if they can make it the 2-0 here over the Unicorns. But yeah, we are still seeing good performances by individual players. This is what we were talking about versus the team as a whole. And I think they came together, of course, in this game. But off the back of a lot of mistakes coming in from the Unicorns. But I thought Knight did exceptionally well in this game. Also with the rest of the team. Hustlin, bot lane, looked way better. I think it was harder for them to make mistakes in this game because it was kind of like they just needed to follow the train. Yeah, their job
was to play passive. They were playing on the weak side of the map very often. They fulfilled their job. I want to see how this series evolves when the Vladimir will likely be banned out next game.
Well, we shall see. With a win on the board for Giants, it's time for us to take a step away, but we will be back with Game 2 right after this.
Dropping low, he's going to have to back up, but he has a hero plague, he's going to die for certain. Good bubble onto Chachi, Knight comes into the volley, into the fray. First blood over to Knight. Ultimate in from Exiles, not going to be able to pick up a kill just yet. Move, trying to get out of this fight as Sunstar's free to do everything he wants. Protobal comes out, double kill to Knight, and Chachi's also going to be slaughtered here. Move comes into the fight, but there's a 5 versus 2 under the tower. Double kill coming out from Sunstar, and Move is locked up when he's trying to burrow to safety. He will also fall for the triple kill. And Unicorns of Love, oh, the minions! The super minions, can he clear in time? No! The minions finish off the Nexus.
the drum to what we love. Risk the fall, we have felt it all come crashing down from far above. Stars are rising, countless worlds colliding, only one will take it all. Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we make the final call? We are the ones to ignite the darkened skies, the champions of the world that we defy. Our soul right of the few who rise up high, and we all fight at the last light.
Welcome back, and as Giants look to secure a 2-0 against Unicorns of Love, let's take a look at that first game. And specifically, want to talk about the player of the game, which was Knight, coming into the last game. And I mean, he had a great performance as Vladimir, and really got his chance to shine, I think, in that last one.
For me, it was still Smitty J in my heart because of all the engage, because I feel like the setup gets ignored so often. But Knight, yeah, pulls out the Vladimir, and his job was to make it work, and he made it work. Fantastic performance. Just did so much damage. Knew when to go in the fights, out of the fights, as opposed to his direct counterpart, Exile, who only knew how to go into the fights. Couldn't quite find a way out.
Yeah, that was, yeah, indeed. But overall, just a great performance by Giants, I have to feel. They just played to their strengths. Strong in the early game. They also kind of gifted an advantage in the early game because they just had a big advantage in the mid game, in the mid lane, and also the top lane. We're gonna take a look at one of the replays from that one. It was just kind of Knight going big.
Yeah, this was the arrow coming out here that kind of Unicorns forgot about existing. It was used previously a while ago on a siege mid, and then Smitty J comes in with a great flank, knocks them into the tower. Really good setup. The tidal wave almost kind of saved Veritas there, but they find 2 kills, and that was one of the more pivotal points in the game here. And then Giants obviously went off.
Yeah, it really is also the setup, but we also miss some of it sometimes. But it really is getting the carries with those kills and really carrying the rest of the game. Also talking about Sunstar, first game where he's really had like a better game. He didn't really have to do much by himself. It was more like group up as a team, execute on that.
Yeah, this just showed you how far ahead Giants was at this point. In the end of this entire play, Sunstar gets a triple kill, but let's see, like, it's like, okay, this is where he gets involved. Yeah, he flashes for 1 kill, but at this point it's 5 versus 1. 5 versus 2 right now, and he just happens to be the one not tanking. So my judgment's still out. It's nice that Sunstar got a triple kill, but I won't go as far as saying that he's completely redeemed himself. But he played around his weakness as well. He got put behind to get a stronger player in this particular lineup in terms of gain impact ahead. He was a utility carry on Ashe. He filled that role, had some really great arrows, and that was it. That's what expected, and that's all Giants needed to do to win this game, is play their comp.
I mean, the interesting thing was where the comp came from in Champion Select, because the Civi was banned up against Sunstar, and he was just like, okay, I'll take the other utility, ADC, and then just did fine with it. Also leaving the Vladimir open on Red's side, giving that as a first pick to Giants, definitely feel was a mistake in hindsight, so want to see something different from Unicorns, but
I wonder if Giants going to ban it out. It's a good point on the Vlad. I just wonder if they're going to leave it open and say, like, Unicorns, can you guys actually play this? Can Exile play this? Because if he's as crazy to think that the Yasuo with the Vlad can be outplayed that way, maybe doesn't really know the matchups that well.
Yeah, I also felt like Unicorns were locked into playing in a certain way because they had to get that advantage early game. They had to snowball into the mid game, and they didn't really get that, so that was difficult, but we are Braum going to support, so sometimes we're seeing support picked up later into drafts, actually going to pick this very early on. And that will leave what open for Giants. Locked in the Nidalee coming into the jungle, so priority on that pick more towards Giants.
No, please. Max Lord hovering the Nidalee. Fine in the mid lane. They can still see how hard they can delve into damage in the top lane right now with a later rotation top lane pick. It's not about seeing the Maokai, it's more about seeing the rest of the composition. And Unicorns of Love prefer to wait a little bit more on the AD carry and on their top laner as Giants reveal 2 more picks on their rotation.
We'll see what it's going to be looking towards the mid lane here and possibly something else. We have the top lane and jungle locked in, so probably going to leave the support maybe now or the final pickup from Giants. But there's so much left on the board. It's we're in a very different meta where it's not like you have to pick these champions right now. And they will lock in the Karma and the Azir into the lane. So Azir still high priority up there.
Saw some changes though.
Yeah, got hit on 6-11.
Yeah, ultimate doesn't last that long.
3 seconds.
3 seconds, doesn't speed up your allies anymore when they go through it either. The speed up is now built into the Karma. A little wary though for Giants if Knight falls behind. Now they have the problem where they're very two-dimensional in terms of damage output. Maxor kind of helps that a tad though if he gets going on the Nidalee.
For sure. Unicorns of Love looking for an ADC here and looking for a top laner to really define what they're looking for here. Something to get into fights could be on the board. I mean, Ashe is still available, Sivir as well, which they're hovering, which was banned last game actually from the Unicorns of Love. And what are we looking for? So we're seeing more Nami being picked up recently, along with the Karma, a lot of these range supports. I've still yet to cast a single Zyra game, but we saw a lot yesterday.
Yeah, I think it'll be picked up next week in scrims. I think a couple, select few teams scrimmed against each other, and then the other teams just weren't aware. That seems to be what kind of happened there. I'm not a fan of the Nautilus support whatsoever. I don't think it's going to have a large impact. It can't get...
It's going to be top lane.
Oh yeah, top lane. I'm like brain lagging here.
Top lane Braum.
I'm still not a big fan of Nautilus, even in the top lane. There's a reason just so little people, so few people rather play it.
Yeah.
But, it used to be a conventional pick into Maokai because it could still have an early ramp, like an early spike, push it in pretty much consistently with Riptide being spammed out, and then having large impact on team fights. So Unicorns can make this work. So whereas last game they were kind of stuck getting their composition to work, this is pretty much straightforward. Group press R, get CC to stick and just murder whoever you see first. Only a single tank on the side of Giants and a lot of targets that are easily blown up if they get some of the damage spells connected in their face.
Interesting win rate there for Ezreal, only 22%, 2 and 7 right now. But yeah, it's just interesting to see Nautilus again because he's really just disappeared with the advent of more carry top laners coming in, just better, people who do his job better right now, honestly. And Riptide got nerf battered over and over and over again. You really can't have the same spike early game that you used to. So we'll see if Unicorns can make it work. We have the full compositions and the full lineups right here once again as we head into the second game. And just trying to, I guess, run at the opponent here from Giants. And maybe see more fights around that mid game, or maybe even the early game. We're going to see as we get into this one. But once again, use the hashtags, tweet at LOL Esports, UOL win or GIA win. We'll be tallying up your votes and seeing what you think later on. But we'll be getting into the second game now for Giants Gaming and the Unicorns of Love. We'll see if the Unicorns can make it the 1-1 or Giants can actually 2-0 and sweep this one. They've already picked up the first win, so they're on the up and up.
Yeah, but we'll have to wait just a fraction of a second longer as we have a bit of a pause going on.
So we'll update you on that one for now. Right now you can see the players on the screen all facing each other.
Yep.
These are game faces.
Technically not facing each other, but
No,
it's an
they're not.
illusion.
Yeah. Spoiled it, crap. I mean, you can see them right there, but...
Oh, where did they go?
Whoa! So yeah, just
Suddenly
waiting for
sitting.
this pause to resolve. We're going to get the information on that one as soon as possible and relay that to you guys, but still waiting here.
Yeah, we got to talk a little bit more about this game. Giants on the cusp of going for potentially a 2-0. It'll be a lot harder composition to play. Compositions without crowd control require more finesse. Sure, they can snowball one ahead, but they leave you with less options when you're slightly behind. And that is sometimes the problems. Unicorns, I like what they've drafted because they have a lot of easy gameplay elements. You know, Cocoon into follow-up. You know, Victor is a pretty straightforward champion. You can play it well, and you can expect your teammates to know what you're going to do in these fights too. Braum Sivir, however, into this Karma Ezreal might be a really rough matchup, so we might see another lane swap here for the Unicorns.
Well, we are 3 out of 3 on the day, so we'll see if we make it a clean sweep.
History repeats itself. We may be in for a snooze, a lane swap in the early game.
I want to see what the first dragon is as well and see if it's the cloud, because we've been getting... it's been very cloudy on the forecast today, unfortunately, for us here in the studio. Well, we had... Oh, you can hear the summoner has reconnected there. We have just jumping back into the game there from Knight. He had a little problem there, so we're seeing if we can get this one resolved. It looks like we are resuming the game and finally getting onto the rift. There we go. So Giants will be coming in here onto the red side, and there it is, the Unicorns onto the blue.
I have some great news for you.
What is it?
It is the dragon of choice for today.
Sunny skies.
Sunny skies there. Infernal is predicted to spawn on the map, and barring any major complications, it will in fact spawn on the map today.
Yeah, yeah, it would be weird if we just saw something else. Oh, we even got the duck coming out here.
I wonder if we could release some dragon skins. Be like, you know, Infernal Drake skin for the Cloud Drake.
Yeah, just wearing like a big onesie. It's like, well, definitely not Infernal. Oh, Hillasang is around this Infernal Dragon area. But right now, I don't think we're going to see too much in this early game from them. And let's take a look at the keystones that they're running. I don't think we're seeing anything out of the ordinary. Just, yeah, Strength of the Ages for the junglers, and top laners going for Grasp. Actually seen some tanks go towards Strength of the Ages as well. I've seen a couple of Maokais do that recently.
These guys will be in each other's melee range quite often, though, in the vicinity of CS. So it's still worth going for Grasp here, despite the nerfs that it's hit. If we get to the laning phase, because there's a good chance that Unicorns of Love want that lane swap, because that is a really tough matchup to play 2v2.
So we're going to get out of that one. We're going to see tanks up in those 1 versus 2s now. And yeah, so Huston and Sunstar. I don't know what they're really doing about the Dragon area. That doesn't spawn
they're going for a delayed invade. So they want to hide around the corner as long as they can.
For the
because they don't want to reveal on this ward exactly here. They're doing the safety checks into the bushes, and then they'll likely get some information. If they don't find anybody on Krugs, lower in lane, they can immediately know it's a lane swap, get the information to the jungle, make sure that top laner is careful of getting gibbed rather. And we have a good old-fashioned lane swapperoo.
We do, 4 out of 4. And see what happens in the mid lane. Maybe the more interesting lane for at least the first couple minutes of this game, but it is a Victor Azir, so...
Instead of judging the lane swap, I'm just going to be harshly judging the CS here.
Yeah, this one.
Ooh, he's trading.
Yeah, a lot of damage.
Trade first, CS later.
It's actually pretty good for Knight because he got the auto attack and also the cast minions aggroed onto Exile. Hustler just trying to annoy move as he walks into his top side. Doesn't land the Soul Flare, so...
He's too late. Like, if he's going to go for that, he should do that at the start. No, he's just...
Didn't immediately move up. But Smitty J in the top lane, of course, just trying to get all the farm that he can. I really do like looking at the... go ahead, Scrapo.
No, go on. He's doing perfectly fine.
Yeah, he's fine. And we're just seeing both these guys just take this one. But just talking about 1v1s, really interesting to see the small mechanics that go into it. The All-Stars event was very interesting with the 1v1s.
Yeah.
A lot of people were just like, oh, this Frog and Faker matchup's so boring, just both playing Anivia. But there's like a lot of interesting things, small, tiny things that went into pretty much every minion that went down.
Yeah, there's a lot of depth and just slight side steps. Obviously, pre-positioning for next skill shots. Touch briefly on this lane swap. The only thing that mattered of consequence is the fact that Giants did not path downwards with Smitty J, so he had to use his teleport to get into the exact same position that Vizichachi is in. Maybe slightly more experience. He also made a creep invulnerable. Exile right now. Taking some damage, still has exhaust. Gets a shield from Q.
Exhausted out from Knight, so the
he
flash
drops.
after and actually kills him. That was a lot of damage coming at the end there. I'm not sure if that was like a Thunderlord's proc or something, but I was not expecting him to die from that last soldier.
Yeah, that could have been a Thunderlord's proc or just simply... yeah, there was no exhaust counter used by Exile, so that was the full damage. But that's sloppy play here from the Victor.
Yeah, I mean...
And you're so used to that never happening when you watch some of these mid laners, so you can calmly talk over it.
Yeah.
Because every time you get hyped for the trade, it's like, ah, he's fine.
Yeah.
And he just drops.
I'm just watching him once again. He's gonna... He flashes back. Caught him on Conquering Sands, and then the flash, and then the auto attack from
traveling auto.
Yeah. So still a lot of damage coming out there from Knight, but it was really weird in terms of the play pattern from Exile, because he stepped forwards, was trying to put some damage in return, but because
yeah,
the
he tried to counter trade. Let's see, let's not watch it again. So trade starts here. No follow Blazer because that's not there yet. Walks back into the zone of the soldier. One more. Now he wants to get the shield up from Q. That's why he steps forward. And I think he tried to exhaust, maybe was out of range. And here the E connects, as you said, and then same time, well, the Q connects, I think, rather, and the traveling auto attack from the soldier hits. So that's just a late flash, honestly, from Exile. Another really mistake that shouldn't be happening on this level of play. So you can definitely tell that he's definitely new to the stage.
Yeah, for certain. But still, that one kill over to Giants and that 1v1, really not what you want to be happening. A wave ahead plus that kill. How we're looking on top lane is not as dire as the first game, but Smitty's still ahead in terms of that CS. Now, Infernal's going to be started off by the Unicorns. Giants know this is happening because they walked over the crab, so I'm not sure they can disrupt. I mean, Maxwell's on his way down. It's only down to half.
They can definitely disrupt it. Infernal deals a decent amount of damage.
Too. Spear lands on him. This could very well be a kill. Swipe the takedown. Move's going to have to back away. Maxwell's still going to chase after. He's level 5. Repel comes up. Hillisang's coming over the wall to try and assist. Maxwell's going to get chased down a little, but Knight comes into the fight. Going to come with the Emperor's Defied. Completely whiffs, and he's just getting a dog piled on. Unicorns of Love take him out.
Oh my lord. Yeah. How does one eloquently put this? That was bad.
Yeah, that was
bad and over-eager because not only was the execution of the play bad, the whole merit behind it was just over-eager. Maxlor as well, this flash is going to follow. This is great. Fantastic here. Peels them off the dragon. 2v1 out level, and then this here. If the spear hits, he's dead anyways. Like, going for this flash when the repel is still up is just a major mistake. Cocoon misses luckily. Maxwell should have been dead here already. And then Knight does everything wrong you could do wrong here and just sacrifices his life, and this puts the enemy Victor back into the game. It goes to the Infernal to Unicorns. They don't lose any tempo because they went for the risky dragon. So this could have been the final nail in the coffin. Despite all that, Giants is still more than 1,000 gold ahead though.
Yeah, it's of all the players on Giants, you don't expect Knight to be the one to do it. He's usually the guy who is mechanically very, very talented. Oh, flash out there from Smitty in the top lane as Chachi almost landed that hook, but yeah, he literally found the one place in that fight where he could land the ultimate for it not to hit anyone.
There was still a cost though. Usually teams go for that dragon after they take the second tower because they can make it a team operation. It goes a lot quicker. Because Unicorns went for the tower, it stalled out. They did not take the bot tier 1 down, and now the defensive lane from Ezreal Karma is pushed in there, so Unicorns will probably not take that tower down for quite a while. In addition to that, due to how the lane swap started and Smitty TPing a little earlier, he's also farther ahead of Vizichachi. That's where the main advantages and the goal differential is coming from. That's why if that dragon backfired a little bit harder and the Unicorns met more of a conservative jungler on the enemy side in Maxlor, the game would have been simply over.
Yeah. Next dragon's going to be Mountain as well, so we'll see if teams try and contest that once again. Most likely. Also going to take away this red buff, but Yeah, very odd start to this game for sure. Chachi's actually gone for the Corrupting Potion into Darksteel, so you usually see that out for like Echo, sometimes Maokai as well. People who aren't going to die, so they get a lot of mileage out of that, so...
Yeah, he caught up on CS now, pushing this wave in. There's no dive potential on Smitty J. Once he gets to level 6, it'll be impossible too. That window has closed. Exile got a little bit of breathing room due to that play, but Unicorn's side lanes are definitely still behind. Let's see how Giants play with this pressure.
Oh, Knight still got the upper hand in mid lane. Lands 4 auto attacks with that one soldier alone. Couldn't go in with the Emperor's Divide. Exile goes in, but Move might be able to finish off the kill. It's going to be close. Transfer of power, and Exile will eventually pick up that kill on tonight. That was, yeah, that was a little too close for comfort.
Yeah, Nightgo kind of baited in here.
Yeah.
He underestimated Exile. He's like, why is this guy trading with me? He must be like terrible. No, it's simply because the jungler's behind you. And then he tried to play his way out. And the snipe here from Sunstar. Korean Ezreals, man.
Yep, you didn't even see it coming. Banana from nowhere. All right, let's take a look at this. So Knight aggresses because he gets so much damage onto Exile from this one soldier.
Yeah, and at this point, yeah, he just commits for the play. Yeah. I mean, it's very close. If it wasn't for the exhaust that Exile was carrying, that would have been a straight up 1-for-1 kill. Maybe even make his way out of there, so you understand. And then Sunstar moves back. I like this. He just moves away and then goes for the ulti.
Out of vision.
Look, he pings it first. He's like, guys, this is exactly where I'm going to hit him in the knocker. And perfect goal between two approaching members. That's like the perfect banana.
Yeah.
That's like the Shikita of Ezreal ultis.
Yeah, Exile did not want that intake of potassium there for sure. But yeah, kind of weaved it in between. Didn't even have the damage reduction after hitting someone. So really nice Q. Really nice ult coming out from Sunstar. And small things like this start redeeming him coming into these
Perhaps
games.
he's the skill shot master.
Yes.
He's not made for CS. He just landed a lot of arrows.
Yeah,
Ulti
maybe.
too.
He's all about those clutch ults. But again, mid lane still trading off. Knight, regardless of all of this, is still ahead in terms of farm. Top line, as you mentioned, is equalized. Jungle, big advantage to Maxwell so far. Yeah, you're not going anywhere.
But equal is behind for Giants bot lane because Sivir Brawl matchup should not be an equal CS usually in terms of how this game plays out. But due to the lane swap, obviously, they managed to get past their rough point. And right now, they actually have all-in potential. If the Braum Q connects, they can actually one-shot whoever because, yeah, simple block on the E blocks Ezreal ulti, destroys all the projectiles that come towards Veritas. And now this lane is quite potent.
Tower will easily be going down. Great thing about Sivir is you can hit the tower and still clear out the wave using Ricochet. And yeah, Veritas will just finish that one off perfectly. And got that tower equalized. So in this game, there's still a slight advantage to Giants in terms of gold. First dragon, of course, went over to Unicorns of Love. Next one will be up in just over a minute. And the crab has already been secured out from the Unicorns, as well as a lot of vision around the area. So Giants will want to try and clear some of that out in a second.
Yeah, Giants definitely looking for objectives to maybe stay in the game here because they lack the engage potential to land raw damage. Need to work through mobility and greater positioning. Pressure through minion waves, if anything.
Knight's going to push in the mid lane here, get a bit more damage down. And really it's just both teams gearing up for this potential dragon coming up and just clearing out a lot of these wards, clearing out the traps, clearing out everything they can. And in terms of item build, Veritas is just working his way towards the Essence Reaper, as per usual. Not really seeing anything out of the ordinary. Chachi's going to try and jump back to his tower. Will get speared down by Maxlord. Great initiate from him. Smitty will burn the flash from Chachi. So
yeah, good flash
up there.
Needed to get out of there. Exile is still getting pressured in by this Azir. Knight really likes playing matchups in where he can push. Favored the Vladimir too, where he played decently well, pressuring at least. Giants, they want to stop the setup from the Unicorns, make sure they're not picked off anywhere. Because in the inevitable dragon fight, it's going to be rough for Hustle to have as much as an impact as Hylissang, for example.
Will be, but now Unicorns are actually starting off this mountain dragon here. And is anyone really in range? There comes Sunstar's ultimate, blocked out by Hylissang. So not even gonna really actually assist that.
Yeah, here's Chachi TP in the bottom though. He got cancelled a little bit While trying it back earlier. Now it's here.
Smites away by move, and now all Giants are coming in. Ultimate lands onto several people from Hillasang. Everyone forced over the wall. So much damage coming out from Knight. He'll pick up 2 kills. That's the 3rd kill. Actually, Chachi will pick that one up. And meanwhile, he's onto Sunstar, but should be able to finish off with the Ezreal. And Exile's now being chased down by Spinny J. His ultimate is going to time out. Hustling Flash Q will secure another 4 for 1. Giants get those 4 kills for the Dragon.
Yeah, that was a great fight here by Giants. Everybody dropped so low, and what an outplay where Giants failed in the initial collapse on the first Dragon, where Knight kind of screwed up, honestly. He had a fantastic ultimate in this fight and really carried it home. Sunstar eventually finished off Chachi in the back, so that looked pretty decent at the start for the Unicorns. It looked like Giants really arrived too late, and we're going to get kind of AoE down. Let's watch this again. Unicorns start this Dragon. The impact from this Hillasang ulti is massive here, so he gets a double knock-up. And then Maxor gets stunned here, doesn't get bursted down, and Knight buys enough time, redirects traffic for his jungler. That was a fantastic ultimate, shoving them out of the pit.
Yeah, all lined up, and they were all so low, and Sunstar was even able to pick up the kill against Nautilus, and from there on out, it was just an easy chase down. Hudson just chiming in there for another kill, but yeah, well played by Giants. Again, talking about the early game, talking about grouping up, and that's really when they start shining. Knight is hitting himself in this game, Sunstar having actually another good game.
Yeah, Knight would have had this tower already, I think, if it wasn't for the changes made to Azir. Can't use that W on towers anymore. So need to wait with that. Just actually whack away at it yourself.
Yep, try and take it out.
3,000 gold lead here for Giants.
Yeah, they are definitely getting ahead in the early game this time. Chachi, who was looking for that dredge line on tonight, but he was pathing just behind the tower to defend himself from that. But Unicorns will still have these dragons, so they need to keep track of that. Next dragon is going to be Cloud, so may see less priority around that one. Unicorns still playing around the vision area. And now backing off. So what do Unicorns need to do now? I feel like we were in the same position in the last game where they had this very snowball-y comp, which didn't snowball, but now we're in a similar position in this game where every time they go for fights, they just kind of die.
Definitely, they just need to make picks here. Layer the CC. Going into follow-up from Hillasang. Concussive blows, rather. That's all the season there.
It is.
This late on the day. Yeah, stack CC, but it's so hard because Giants seem to be ready for these fights, and Hustlin and Maxor have pretty good synergy here, constantly moving together, so it's incredibly hard for Unicorns to pick them up. Zone control is fantastic from Knight, always moving his soldiers up one by one, so he's kind of staying out of harm's way. And now Smee J peeled down. And quite some damage on this turret. Sunstar is kept in the game here. 2-0-3, access to a decent amount of farm. So he's not put behind, so things are looking great for Giants.
Yeah, pretty much. Just scaling on up. Nasty 2 picked up as well. And now just pushing in the mid lane over and over and over. Unicorns of Love. This might be trying to respond. Hustling just removed from the map straight up.
Yeah, like that's exactly what they need to do when the confidence turns into hubris, and at points people just get too bold. That's why you need to strike, though. You need to immediately punish.
Yeah.
Hustling takes the wrong path into mid lane and pays for that lesson dearly.
That was the wrong neighborhood to be in for him. But yeah, I mean, there's so much picking potential from Unicorns, as you were mentioning. Chachi, Move, Hillasang, all great ways to get that to go. But I mean, if someone just kind of walks into your crosshairs, you also want to just kind of kill them. Exile, so much damage out from Knight. It's taken from 100% down to him having to go back to base. And that's just an easy tower down mid lane. Here comes another True Shot Barrage. Close, but did connect it.
Close, but no graves.
Yeah. no kill, unfortunately, there. But Sundisk will come up, and the push will continue down mid lane. Yeah, this game is just still looking bad for Unicorns, and probably, I don't know if I want to say worse than the first game, but still not better than the first game.
It's going to be a tall mountain to climb, especially when Hustlin is doing a great job like he is right there with deep vision. Look at the wards that Giants are placing in enemy jungle. If you can see the picks coming, you can actually use that to your advantage and lure these guys into, yeah, again, false sense of security. Just be like, oh, oops, I'm a damsel in distress here. Please don't, you know.
Please don't kill me.
Yeah, please. It's a little dark, but usually damsels in distress aren't killed, but I guess in this story they are.
Really?
But yeah, they can use the favorable gameplay for Unicorns against them, lay out a trap, and then obviously Knight can swoop in.
Save the day.
Save the damsel in distress.
Yep.
Which in this case is a 2-0 for Giants.
Yeah, that would be good. 2-0, considering the track record so far. But just show that maybe they will be one of the stronger teams down Bottom half of the table, Knight has found move. Repel comes up, and there's the TP from both teams. Veritas coming in here. Move's trying to get away. Gruma will be following after. Vigitachi into the fight. Hilasang and Exile as well, but he's going to drop very quickly. He's going to flash away, try and get to safety. Ultimate comes in once again by Sansa. Lands onto 5 members. Good cocoon on to Smitty. Will stop the aggression.
Yeah, pick from Knight onto the enemy jungler move, but that was so close to getting killed there on Exile. All the return damage would have happened. Hang on, Knight.
Good dredge line on to Knight, but there was no real follow-up. And the team was already there from Giants to stop that from happening.
Yeah, Max Lor's spear was so close to connecting on Exile in that fight. If that hits, he drops instantly. And the Unicorns have to run with the tail between their legs. Instead, there's return damage and peel, and then a heal speed up, and a good sidestep from Exile. So one spear could have turned that entire fight.
Yeah, very true. Now, in the mid lane, Dredgeline did not connect this time onto Knight, and he's easily able to clear out the rest of these minions. Hilasang's going to jump to safety. Nope, you stand in front of me, and then Max Law, looking for that spear, did not connect. So, whenever Unicorns try and go for a play, they're just immediately stymied out from Giants, able to just respond with less members and completely stop the push. So, yeah, not looking really too hot for Unicorns. Next dragon is now live. It is the Cloud, so it's not even like they gain a lot of advantage from that. But if there is any way, then maybe they can secure all the dragons, then get an Elder Dragon later, and just try and win off of that. But yeah, right now Unicorns are kind of running out of options.
They're just looking for picks here, but they seem to be turned around. A very condensed kind of style of gameplay here from Giants, and usually that means major loss in farm on either your AD carry or mid laner as they try to share the same farm, but they're doing pretty well right here. Sunstar's only slightly behind Veritas, always ready to join these fights. And again, aggressive vision here, building up that on that first line of vision that they built earlier. Moving in right now, Smee Jake checking the Death Brush. Really calm approach. Maxor a little low in mana here.
Yeah, meanwhile in the jungle, just kind of going toe-to-toe, and there's a lot of posturing in this game before we get those bursts of action.
Yeah, and the next posturing phase will go on for quite a while, I think, until the Baron is live. And not only that, until we're a couple of minutes in. So this is usually where the game slows down, despite when teams are ahead, because they need something to be a catalyst for a fight.
Yeah.
Much. You can't just say, like, hey guys, let's fight them. No, like, doesn't work. Unicorns are not going to fight you for no reason. You've taken it out of turrets. It's too hard to really isolate a tier 2 tower, so you want to play for vision around Baron, and then eventually use the Baron as a bait.
Well, there goes Rifheld. He's gone back to the Void, and right now it's looking overcast on the Rift, as the next dragon will be Cloud once again. So neither team will really want to jump after that one.
No, definitely the focus will be on the top side of the map here with that Baron that just spawned.
Indeed, yeah. Benefits you really get from that Cloud Dragon aren't fantastic, and unless you're making a lot of rotations, even then it's just not fantastic.
The accelerated rotations.
Yes, by half a second per dragon per lane. But you do get a full second back if you go from base to mid lane, so there you go. Every little counts. Oh, top lane, another flash by Smitty J.
Yeah, and in the vague distance, we also heard the Sivir ulti being used by Veritas there. That's actually one of those examples. That's one of those ultis I never see. I only hear being cast.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, honestly, I don't really understand Sivir's battle plan, because she gives a lot of warnings to her opponents. It's like, hey, duck, or here, catch this. And it's just like, all right, I guess I'll just thank you very much. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, if you didn't see the giant metal ring flying at your face.
True, but maybe you were
duck.
turned around, like you didn't see it, and then she's just going to give... Because you can still duck, right, if you get the audio cue from Sivir, so... I think
Do you
that's still
trust that,
fine.
though? I mean, in the layer of mind games, it's like maybe
That's
she
true.
wants
and
you
she
to duck
didn't
into
throw
a
it.
spike that's sticking out on the floor. Who knows?
Maybe, yeah, set them up for Nautilus, Nanka flying out of nowhere. Maybe that could be the thing. But honestly, no. I think Sivir, despite being like a bandit, is actually a very truthful person. You know, every single time she is. I
mean, it would be for Veritas.
Yeah.
Must be something truth related in Latin or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no follow up to that. I don't speak Latin, unfortunately. But perhaps that is the case. Let's have a look. Hilasang is rotating mid lane here. I can see you're doing some research there, Crapper.
I was actually going to Google it, but never mind.
Did not work out?
Let's go back into the game.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, this keyboard is really hard to type on,
Yeah,
you know.
it wasn't a type of vacuum cleaner or anything.
It wasn't a type. No airblade. Wasn't actually even a vacuum cleaner. Those airblades are actually, you know.
Yeah, you probably don't want to use a boomerang for that. Doesn't help too much. 22 minutes into this game. 4-2-6, and both teams, well, as you mentioned before, don't have a lot to fight over. And bot lane,
I mean, this is
butting
literally
heads.
tea time. From 19 to 23 minutes, generally not much is going to happen other than the setup for the Baron phase. So that's when we can expand on lovely topics such as Ilawi, the architecture of that Azir turret. Quite much anything, really.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm a little sad that Unicorns of Love didn't bring out the Alawi once again. We saw it on stream 1 today. Did not catch that game, but we'll be catching up on that one for sure. But yeah, Chachi was not really successful with the Alawi pick yesterday.
Yeah, they're pinging the Baron pit, but they forgot to sweep the back, which means Unicorns of Love are going to be completely aware of this going on. There's no peak ward in the pit. Always, kids, always sweep your Baron pit first.
Yeah. Remember, oh, here comes the TP. He's coming out. Giant trying to just turn around and maybe get a collapse coming out. Smitty J teleported very deep into Unicorns of Love. He'll be falling. Sunstar will pick up a kill first off, but that's a 1-for-1 trade so far. Sunstar will be coming in, and that's another 1-for-1 trade. Chachi onto the back lines. He's onto Huston himself, but he's separated from the team. Only Exile and Chachi are alive to try and deal the damage. Maxwell's going to jump in and pick up that kill. Double kill, triple kill for Knight, looking for the final one for the Quadra to the Azir. That'll be a 5-for-2.
Quadra kill for Knight here in what seemed like a great fight at the start from Unicorns, aware that Giant started Baron. They were poked down, flying for Visit Chachi. The Sunstar got evaporated by Exile, but then suddenly Knight is still alive. A really good scoop there in the middle of the fight, and then he turns it around, quarter kill. So now, that should be the final coffin here for the Unicorns. If that plan failed, Knight's is going to go off in the next fight.
Yep, Giants now trying to convert that into a mid lane tower. Hittersang rather trying to defend it, but he is just a lone Braum, so what's he going to do in this scenario? Not much. And yeah, that Giants fight really accelerated tempo. Let's take a look at that. Smitty went very deep.
Yeah, Smitty went into the front line. He was keeping them busy, soaking up damage. Sunstar waited with his ult until the Braum shield was gone. So at this point, Sunstar and Smitty have dropped. But look at Knight here, really good positioning. Gets Visit Chachi off him, then turns to Exile, turns around to Visit Chachi, waits for Exile to step back into the fight. Well enough damage. Helps out Maxlor at the end. Yeah, really good awareness here. Target switching on point for Knight.
Oh, flash out there from Sunstar. Let's see if the hook follow-up landed, but not quite today. Really nice from Knight. Had some really good follow-ups with Conquering Sands and Shifting Sands and his ultimates, following that kind of misstep coming in from the bot side. See, actually, the damage in the last fight, even though it looked like Knight was
almost
going
feels
ham,
like inaccurate.
Yeah, because it was actually Smitty doing a lot of damage.
2.7k?
Wow. Well, he got in there very early and landed multi-man ultimate and Qs. But,
Yeah.
I mean, Maokai does do a deceptive amount of damage. People forget that.
Yeah, just because he's labeled as a tank at this point in the game, that's one of the reasons why tanks became that good, is because their base damage, relatively speaking, just do so much damage. Right now, Giants looking for another Baron burst here.
That's going to be close. Sunstar actually picks up the Baron there, and now they turn their attention to the Unicorns of Love. Hittersang does not connect the ultimate onto anybody, and looks like Giants will probably just be backing off. They're quite happy to go in there. Unicorns, yeah.
And learning from their mistakes too. Giants disengaging from this fight, not endlessly sending Smitty J forward, as sometimes they do in the weeks before right now. They're hesitating, do we pincer, do we base right now? Because we see Maxor on the outskirts of the fight, bottom left here, looking for some cheeky spears. Yielding that tower for the Baron that you got is more than fine on the side of Giants. Make sure they just don't lose a single member here. Group up, use that Baron buff. Yeah, this Maxwell, this is just not good.
Great dredge line from Chachi, but Maxwell kind of lined himself up, but now Giants are going to come into the fight. Big Emperor's Divide, he is CC'd up for now, but the rest of the Giants are coming into this one. Veritas goes down, Move is dead, Exile not even here on the map right now, and Hittersang can't even escape. He'll be dropping, trying to draw people away. That'll be a quadra kill for Sunstar, who's just picking up kills left and right. Chachi may able to set him up for the Penta.
They're setting him up, they're setting him up.
There's nowhere where he can really go, and they can CC him forever. Alright, everyone back up, let's Sunstar pick up the kill! Penta kill for Sunstar! A fish in a barrel!
Look how he walked up there and auto-attack and right-click the Nautilus. What a beautiful finish.
Sunstar turning it around.
Look at the sheer amount of emotion on his face too.
Yeah, Sunstar
Joy all
face.
around. No, but that was a really good setup. I like that
Yeah.
the Giants were doing that. Motivational moments like that, very important.
It really is. Good for the team morale for sure. That's ecstatic, but they'll be backing off to base, and that was just such a big win for them. 5 kills regardless.
I mean, you don't do this if you're Maxwell. This is a mistake. I mean,
all
it
a
flashes
bait.
out in time. Knight, again, you know, has to save this fight. Let's follow Sunstar. That's Exile 1. As he go in, just keeps on attacking. Landing a lot of Qs here. Veritas drops immediately because he's trying to tunnel on Knight, and then, yeah, really good chase here. Obviously, Hustling is constantly speeding Sunstar up, so nobody can get away. And at this point, Let's see how this happens.
Smitty J is just like, okay, W, lay the CC, make
It's
sure
like
he can't get anyone.
Body block, you don't stand in front of
You
him.
want to come this way? Nope.
Nope. W again,
Another
and here's
W,
Sunstar.
another cocoon.
Maxor actually... No,
And
he
they all
didn't
back
try to
away,
steal it.
yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
all yield.
Okay,
their pentakill overlord.
Good setup. Yeah. Sunstar right there just felt he was like in the shooting range. He like just stood still. It's like Q, auto, Q, auto.
You get a Q, you get a Q.
Yeah. Everyone gets a Q, and I get a pentakill. Well, yeah. That was a very interesting one. I don't think I've ever witnessed a pentakill quite like that before.
Just a handoff? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But 8-1 and 6. Sunstar got to be feeling happy. 16-7 currently in this game. A lot of kills happened over the last maybe 5 minutes or so. Giants are significantly far ahead in terms of gold and tempo and pretty much everything, macro, micro, everything thrown in there.
I mean, I don't think we have to throw tempo in here. Yeah, they're in phase 17 of the lane swap. They're definitely leading.
Yeah, here you can see the rotation to bot lane where they'll follow up all of the sequence of plays. Rest in peace, minion.
Yeah, Smitty J could teleport to any minion to make it invulnerable. Likely gonna wait until they hit the base. Panic engage here could happen from the unicorns. At this point, it's almost impossible to play out.
But, I mean, Giants, definitely the underdogs going up against even Unicorns of Love here, but are probably going to go 2-0 on the day.
Yeah, they're definitely poised to take the match home series in a 2-0. Take one tower down, get the spare tower back up in the background in case they randomly get flanked or need to run. Maokai's pushing topside too. Making good use of split push here. I think the Baron buff faded right now, so these minions probably going to stay up too long. It's going to be incredibly hard for them to get it on this siege.
There's still minions in the mid lane that are actually dissipating.
Yeah, Smitty's actually looking to teleport because that's why he's hiding. He's not pushing on.
Big damage out from Knight onto Exile and Veritas. He'll probably have to go back to base and try and regen that while the next minion wave is coming in.
Yeah, I think this is where Giants back off, spend some of their hard-earned money. Maybe pick up a very early Cloud Drake as soon as they can.
Yeah.
To accelerate the spawn of Elder.
That would be good for them. Another thing on the map for them to try and get going.
They have the mid lane minions pushing in right now, though.
Yeah.
Which could give Smitty J access to TP in for a flank. That might actually be a better play.
Yeah, Veritas is the one who has to try and clear that out. The tower is just
Oh,
dying
never mind, that
so
tower's
quickly.
gone.
Wow. Giants just destroy that tower. Veritas drops low. It's going to have to be the heal to try and keep him alive. Repel comes up and down. And move back on off. Giants now taking this inhibitor as well. 2 inhibs down for Giants, and this is looking almost unrecoverable for Unicorns.
Obviously, the mid lane inhibitor was down, so they waited with bated breath to the key wave components in Veritas. He had to deal with that, and then suddenly they could just walk up, no threat. You know, enemy tank engages out, enemy AD carry is no longer there. Victor can only maybe one-shot one of us as he dies in the process. So Giants good awareness, and they take down 2 inhibitors right now. The world is their oyster.
Well, at least Summoner's Rift is, for sure. Move is just trying to grasp everything he can for now. It's going to be the Gromp and goes back into the top lane, try and take this one away. But really, Unicorns of Love need to try and get everything they can. And let's try and defend what I feel is probably going to be like one last fight as Giants push in. Just under 2 minutes until Baron. Giants can happily just wait for the next 90 seconds and just put wards around the area, set this one up, maybe wait for Unicorns of Love to come to them. Like, it's so easy for them. They have so many options right now.
Yeah, they almost don't have any bad choices as long as they stay relatively grouped here. Exile.
And the Burning Summoners.
It was actually moved. I just had to flash over. Oh, Veritas actually.
Yeah.
Just forced out in a position where they shouldn't be, but at this point it's almost impossible. Let's see if they have the same patience here for Smitty J to push up the mid wave. Unicorns of Love definitely looking to pull the trigger here. Panic engages. Move. If he had flash, he would want to flash in. Smitty J. X-Smitty.
X-Mini, yeah. 0, 1, and 7 in this game. The tanks have been just doing their job. Maxor is actually surprisingly tanky, where we saw him get hooked before and just even 4 people just couldn't do enough damage to him before Knight came in and swooped in and saved the day. And Smitty is coming into this bot lane. Well, I guess Knight did exactly what we were talking about earlier. The Damsel in Distress was saved. Here comes the engage out from Unicorns of Love. Chachi, unable to get the engage off there. Exile's going to launch himself back to safety, but the re-engage from Chachi, I'm not sure the rest of the team wants this. Giants are still pretty healthy, honestly. And Knight's just going to go back to full HP. In the bottom lane, the super minions are going to town.
They call the go, and Chachi gets his Dredgeline stuck on the edge while he's trying to go for support out of all champions. What a meager attempt at an engage here. Good kiting. Sunstar almost screwed over Knight by carrying over the Death Charge on top of him.
And the Giants will, for now, back off. They still have dealt a lot of damage to that base.
Are they going straight to
Baron's
Baron?
up,
Because it's spawning in 2 seconds right now. They have the vision. Move face checking. Has to be so careful every rush, you know.
Yeah. I mean, Smitty is injured, so is Maxwell, but they have heals from both those champions. And Unicorns have looked completely blind here. They don't even have anyone really in range of a blue trinket, and they can't see inside the Baron pit. That's going to go over to Maxwell, very easy for him. Hillersign comes out, and Sunstar tries to make an aggressive play. The rest of the team is actually backing off and almost gets dredge lines in.
Yeah.
Sunstar will have to try and get out of here, but I
to
think
the highlight reel.
Yeah, he's safe. He took a very risky way, though. He went over the thickest part of that wall, so that could have gone very badly. But still, made that happen. And Veritas will try and clear out the bottom way, but this is just going worse and worse for Unicorns of Love now. Giants, honestly, it's just a matter of time, I feel, before they finish this one out. 13,000 gold advantage, 12,000, close enough. And then they have the Baron on top of that. Like, what are Unicorns of Love going to do?
Yeah, they're just going to shove in as well, take these 3 inhibs that are going to respawn, stick together to learn from their mistakes. Unicorns, they're probably going to try and flank again, obviously. I mean, this is Chachi's trying to find an opening, but...
Not even sure if they win the fight if they get into
No,
it.
it's almost impossible,
Yeah.
but you obviously never want to surrender on stage.
Yeah.
Never know if somebody critically missteps, misses a flash, flashes into the wall.
Anything can happen. But honestly, Giants just need to play this safe, and it will be the closeout to this game. There is the last Elemental Dragon before Elder, but I'm not even sure we're going to see the appearance of Elder in this game, honestly.
There you go.
Pup does not land onto the target that Chachi wanted it to, and he burnt the flash for that engage as well, plus Veritas' ultimate. And now they have to back away, and Giants will just take away everything they own.
Yeah, noble attempt to strike before Smitty J can enter the fray. No teleport was available on him, so that essentially could have been a 4v5. Look at Knight right now. He is looking, where do I put my ultimate? Do I even need to use it? Sansa shifts in for some poke.
Hillersig's taking a lot of damage. Everyone from Unicorns have taken so much damage. They do get a return kill onto Maxwell, but they'll lose the mid laner and support for a double kill for Sunstar. Let's make this the double penta of the game, boys. As we move in onto the Nexus turrets, Chachi will go in there. Sunstar's moving on to Veritas. Big damage out from the Mystic shot. We've got Elise coming in once again. Chachi's going to get chased down by the Maokai, who's going to finish him off by himself with the help of the super minions. Sunstar's probably going to get his consolation prize here as he chases people onto the fountain. Now is a good time to have him on your fantasy team, ladies and gentlemen. Giants find their 2-0 on the week. Yep, 2-0 there for Giants. And for sure, I don't think anyone saw Sunstar as a sleeper pick in fantasy, but here we are, 10-1-7.
I mean, I wouldn't even, like, if you were that guy that put him on, like, I don't even know if that was the right decision, even in hindsight. But Sansa definitely showed up here. Good arrows in game 1. Was liberated, I feel, by Knight's zoning, especially in this game. I think the brunt of the work still went to Knight. I think Sansa shined through, but like in the critical moments when the game was close, Knight was definitely the major influencer in these fights.
A lot of problems for the Unicorns of Love. Kind of weird watching their games because they'll do so well against some teams and so badly against others, and there's just a lot of mistakes.
The single Giants. That's Bob.
That's Bob right there. We found him.
In adversity, when an entire crowd is cheering for the Unicorn. One man. One palm. Slightly sweaty. Has a mission.
He's weak. He will high-five the entire team. But Unicorns of Love still got that fan support despite the game result. But, yeah, well played to Giants.
Yeah, and they'll need it.
Yeah.
Unicorns, definitely not the first or the last shaky game of them this season. It was nice for me to see for Giants that their early games that they usually play out very well comes to fruition. It's so easy to say, you know what, this team is bad or that, no communication, but they were having good early games, but they're just obviously not nailing the mark in the mid to late due to being a new team, some rookie players, some imports as well. To make all that work is rough, but all they need to do from Giants' point of view is beat the people that are likely to finish around them in the standings, and they did that convincingly. 3 points against the Unicorns.
This is exactly what we said before this series even began though, Crepo, right? They need to pick up these wins now, early on into this split, which will help them a lot when we get into the later parts, of course. But I feel like in this set, we really just saw all the strengths of Giants come together. As you already mentioned, like the early game, the team fight, Knight was having some great highlight moments, Sunstar was having a great game. Like, his team was literally setting him up for pentakills. So
I mean, I like what Smitty J brought to the table too on his tanks. You know, game 1 Gragas for me was still, I feel like he almost did more than Knight in terms of of player of the game there because his engages were just so spot on many of the times. McClure, despite fighting against that level 1 invade game 1 of Hylissang, putting him a full level behind, he stayed calm, focused on the farm first, then the skirmishes later. Yes, I mean, there was some faults there, some missed spears that should hit against better teams you will get punished for. But Giants, you know, as a bottom tier team, quote unquote, they surprised.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, honestly, they got so far ahead from those early game advantages in this game that they could make pretty much anything work. Like, Maxwell just walked into mid lane, almost, well, he got caught, and then it was just like they're so far ahead, everyone could just stop what they were doing, go into mid lane, and just murder UOL.
Yeah, and if you look at this team composition as well, especially on the side of Giants, it's quite complex to play unless you have pressure in the mid lane. And we have to praise Knight there, because when he plays matchups where you could kind of rest on your laurels and just don't do anything, he does commit to the pressure. Sometimes it comes out to bite him, but he definitely makes it so that he's always pushing and at least whittling down the enemy tower, and it allows Maxlord to maybe go for an extra invade, Knight to peel off of the fight earlier. Remember that first Infernal Drake fight that we had? Could have been game over right there because Knight had the pressure in the mid lane continuously.
Yeah, there's still cracks in the armor, but I think going over to Unicorns of Love, they were trying to run crazy stuff in the mid lane. Of course, they had the Yasuo in the first game. This time, they brought the Nautilus into the top lane and the Victor as well. But I mean, like, they weren't doing anything crazy in this game in terms
there
of
was no
picks.
comp loss here. This definitely was a winnable comp. Clear win conditions. They got the lane swap too. I think the fault is all their own. The way they approach the game, the fact that they do that dragon before they finish the tower, while taking the tower, for me is just, don't like it. It's such a risky play. Could have gotten punished even harder. They don't synergize their engages. Chachi was throwing his anchors into a wall. It was sloppy.
It was, we've seen a lot of sloppy plays today, honestly, but yeah, I was just looking at the damage graphs, and Knight was just doing so much damage. Even Sansar, actually, even though he was like collecting a lot of the last hits, he was still doing a lot of damage in those fights.
Yeah, Knight definitely had the most damage in this game, but then obviously when Sansar cleans up, he gets a penta kill. I believe we have some footage of that too. You can just look at that. It starts with Maxwell kind of overextending, and again, good. Look at the space that Knight creates in this fight. You know, he influences 3 of the enemy members. Sansar takes down 1, then he draws the aggro of the 4 remaining ones. Well, obviously now Stonser can clean up, but this is all, not all, but this is the majority of this play goes down to Knight. Solving a problem for his jungler, creating space for his AD carry.
Yep.
And of course,
the real MVPs of this game, Maxlor and
I
Smitty
really like the decision making here of the entire Giants lineup. Look at Sunstar walks up, and just goes for the Q auto. W
Huston
auto.
walks away, and pentakill. Easiest penta of his life. Anyway, we're going to send it over to Pyra, who is on the side stage with Maxlor.
Thank you very much, Pulse. I'm joined by the jungler from Giants Gaming after their big 2-0 victory. Maxlor, congratulations on your first win of the split and your first win in the LCS so far. So tell me a little bit how you guys pulled that off. There was a lot of action towards that second game especially. What in your mind were the keys to the victory?
I think it was mainly the draft. I think Unicorns of Love gave too many power picks away. Like, I still think Nidalee is pretty OP. And they gave away Vladimir and Nidalee and like this game Azir, you know, stuff like this. So because they gave us so many power picks, we were able to abuse it, and it was just pretty easy in terms of teamwork to win.
And you definitely showed some pretty solid teamwork. Your team is seeming to come together much more, a lot better cohesion. Your fight positioning was pretty exceptional in Game 1, not without a few mistakes in Game 2, but you were able to take it all the way to the finish. Talking about power picks, you guys said you had a lot of them. We've talked a lot on our desks, on our analyst desks as well, about how strong a lot of these different champions are in 6.11. What do you make of this patch, and how can you ban out teams with everything so powerful?
Just like Kiki said before, I think blue side, you're kind of forced to ban Ryze and Vladimir because these champs are just a bit unbearable. And Azir is pretty OP too and like has his perks, but yeah, I think it kind of sucks to be purple side right now because of the whole banning 2 mid laners, so your bans become really obvious. But yeah, I think actually, can you ask the question again?
Just what in general is, I guess you talked about the strategy of banning like purple side versus blue side. How do you as a team and you as a jungler adapt to this change on 6.11 where so many other powerful picks were banned, but then it opens the floodgates for all these other things like Vlad, Swain, etc.?
I mean, we pretty much just, since we're the first region to play in this patch, we may not be playing it correctly. Like, for example, we might be watching next week SKT playing something weird, but it will be like most OP. So I think anything, as long as you just play good, you'll win right now. And there are some picks you just have to experience through solo queue or scrims, just like YOLO it, and if it's OP, then it's OP, you know?
Yeah, it's always a good way to learn. All right, so for your team, you guys have finally found a win and a convincing one at that. Obviously, at a very, very tough schedule. You started off playing G2, Fnatic, H2K, some of the strongest teams we have here in Europe, so not off to an easy start. But with this win now, does it give you a bit more confidence? Do you think maybe, okay, so we're better than our record indicates, or do you think you still have a lot of work to do?
I still think we have a lot of work to do because in many of the LCS games, we sometimes get ahead early, but we just don't either play to our comp or don't know what to do because we just, like communication or just in scrims, we're not focusing on the right things. So I think this week we're going to train hard on, I think, mid-late game, which is our main issues right now.
Well, I can't wait to see how it all develops. Once again, congratulations on your win, Maxlor. For now, though, we are going to go ahead and send it back to the casters for their player of the game.
Thank you so much, Pyrotechnics, and we are back, and we are here with the player of the game, and who's it going to be? Yeah, it's going to be Knight in that game. I think he had some great setups, honestly, in that one. He had like a quadra kill, of course, but it was really like, even though the Penta went over to Sunstar, he was making all these things happen.
And it's not about just the kill score. Just at the end of the game, the stats, he dealt the most damage in the game, and he was just influencing the entire scope of the game. Just the largest amount of all players are definitely deserving, I think more so in Game 2 than even in Game 1 of the Player of the Game award.
Yeah, I mean, it was, as you said, it was the players. Specifically, even in that pentakill, it was that fantastic all over the wall, creating that space between him and the Nidalee. But we're actually going to see the quad kill here.
Yeah, and this is where Unicorns kind of had a ward in the backside. Smitty J peels a lot during this fight, but it looks kind of grim here. Normally, Zeers would just turn on the Nautilus in the backside, and then he swoops into... He finds out that Veritas is stuck in the backside, and then he gets the Exhaust on Exile. Like, the awareness of this guy on Zeer is honestly impressive. So many players would just kind of shut off the front door and then maybe focus down the Nautilus, hope to survive and kite back. But he turns around this losing fight into a quadra-kill victory that sets the pace of the remainder of the game. So that is very impressive play here. So he's very aware of zones. Sometimes he goes a little bit too deep, or when he falls behind, he keeps playing this style, but then it doesn't work. You just get like, nope, stop, you're dead. But definitely impressive play from Knight.
Yeah, very much noped in that fight. But yeah, it was actually funny because in that fight, the Maokai that did more damage than him, but it was like really just a culmination of everything he did in this series and the last one. So very impressed by Knight. That's kind of what we were saying before the series as well, hoping that he would turn up. But with our matches completed here in the LCS studio, we are going to tune into EU LCS1, where Schalke and OG are preparing for the final series of Week 2.
Game here because they need him.
Yeah. Before we get over to our next point, I would also like to welcome the viewers from stream LCS2, Giants that beat UOL over there. And right now, you guys get to join in on the pregame for OG as well versus Schalke. So welcome. Final note maybe on Schalke before we move.